So it's not exactly one that makes me nervous. Like calling somebody a conspiracy theorist is essentially saying that they demand further answers and they're not accepting the Fed slop. So I'm grateful that you came today. I don't need to, like I said, take cheap shots and discuss your manner of debate or your strategy. And I'm also grateful that you shared that you had that text message today, because everybody watching knows that I have been demanding not a debate, just an open conversation with Turning Point USA. They should be here. It shouldn't be you in that chair. It should be the person that took Charlie's place, maybe Erica Kirk, maybe Andrew Colbert. He's a spokesperson. And rather than doing that, they send us another influencer. So let's see how it goes.
Just out of curiosity, are you between 0 to 100? What is the likelihood that you think Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk and killed him?
Based on the evidence right now, I don't know. I'd say 75, 85%.
Candace?
0%.
0%.
I'm at 0. So with what we've seen in terms of the evidence, I'm at 0%.
So not only, that maybe somebody was behind him as a patsy influencing him. You're not even saying that he didn't even shoot Charlie Kirk.
Right. I would, if you said, was he involved that day, as I have consistently said on my platform, I would say yes, he was. I don't know what role he played, but as the shooter, 0%.
Do you have any evidence for
it? For what? My percentage? The
fact that he didn't shoot and kill Charlie Kirk.
Yes, which I'm hoping we're going to get to all of the evidence that he feels that he has. I mean, I'm not even convinced that Charlie was shot from the rooftop on Losi that day, based on the evidence that has been.
Do you think he was shot?
I do not think that Charlie was shot from a 30-06 from Losi.
But just shot at all.
I don't know. I think that a projectile hit Charlie, and I'm open to other people's presentations, but I have not seen any compelling evidence that Charlie was shot by a 30-06.
Can we see maybe if we're going to have an olive branch to each other, if maybe we can establish what we consider the facts of the case to be first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're not sure if he was actually shot. You're open to alternative theories.
He was definitely hit with a projectile of some description. If we're talking about was he shot from a gun, a 30-06, I would say definitively no.
Okay.
It defies common sense to think that he had a Superman neck, and even if he did have a Superman neck, which has been demonstrated, I think actually recently a YouTuber actually set up Valhalla steel cages and shot it, and it went through. So under no circumstance will I.
So at least not a 30-06.
Definitively not a 30-06 from Losi, 150 feet. No.
But you're not necessarily closing off the avenue that he could have been shot at all.
With maybe a smaller
caliber. Okay. And then there's some things that I'm going to make concessions on that I do think we need more answers on, and I'm fine with that. And we can get to those things as well. The other thing is in the timeline, one of the things that we dispute, I think, on the timeline is that you think that Robinson drove hours away to a steakhouse in the timeline. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the compelling evidence that you think you have there?
The receipts.
I spoke to the owner of the restaurant, and I have seen the receipt. I know the conversation that I had, and I think it's enough that, it will be presented, obviously, if this goes to trial. But yes, I do believe that he was in Panguitch, which is near his grandparents' home.
Did he give you an unedited copy of that receipt?
I have seen an unedited copy of that receipt. It was not given to me from the owner. But I want to, before we get into like all the timeline stuff, I want to address what you think is evidence so we can keep this on par with what your claim is.
Well, I think that that's a piece of evidence that's in dispute. And that's why I'm.
Yeah, but we're trying to get to whether there's overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did this.
Yeah,
so whether then starting
if you want to use the first part of that for the internal critique.
Yeah, we should go over the actual evidence that we feel.
The first reason that I think it's compelling evidence is that Tyler Robinson's rifle was found near the crime scene. So I would consider that to be very good evidence. And also the fact of the matter is that I dispute this claim that a 30-06 could not have made this wound. I think that that's absurd. 150 grain Remington core lock absolutely could shatter when it hits the neck of any human being. When you say that there's some steel neck and it's a smaller caliber, you have to make a counter explanation. Why wouldn't a smaller caliber also go through bone?
It could. I didn't say it can't.
Right, exactly. So if that's the case, then ammunition is going to be the critical key here. And if we have frangible ammunition, which we do in this case, a flex tip round, well, I'm sorry, not a flex tip, a soft point round from a 150 grain Remington core lock, that's just a small jacket that goes around the actual lead piece. this thing could have split apart in air for all we know, but definitely upon impact. And we have the medical examiner who confirms this in a summary. And my team can bring that up, the summarization, which means he would have to be a part of some kind of conspiracy as well.
Okay, so just to start with your point about saying that the gun was found near him, near Losey Center, or I guess off in the woods. That gun, did you watch the testimony? Did you watch the preliminary hearing?
Yeah, we covered it live. Yeah.
Okay, so forgetting what the summary of the medical report was, did you watch the testimony that was given by the Caitlin Oliver, the ATF woman, Samantha Carner, any of those people who went into the science of?
Yes, I recall. You're talking about
the bullet analysis.
Yeah, when they went into the DNA.
Okay, so that's kind of the most relevant part.
Okay.
I'm not denying, I've never denied on my platform or anywhere else that a gun owned by Tyler Robinson was found near the crime scene, right? That doesn't remove, if you think somebody set up as a patsy, you could take a gun out of this room right now and you could walk out and plant it in the woods near a crime scene.
I agree.
That's not convincing evidence to me.
I concur with the fact that that's a possibility.
So you I think have said on a platform that you were a gunsmith.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for how many years?
Many years.
For many years.
Mm-hmm.
You also said that you were an Army sniper.
I wasn't a sniper in the Army.
Okay.
And I never said that.
Sorry, your wife tweeted that you were an Army sniper.
Yeah, I don't know. Like 15 years ago, she said something.
Does it change 15 years later?
She said that it was colloquial. So
Army sniper is a colloquial term?
Yeah, I was never an Army sniper.
Okay. What did you do in the Army? Did you teach this? She then corrected it and said you taught rifles in the Army?
No, I didn't teach rifle. No, I taught rifles as a private citizen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I was an NRA instructor for many years alongside my gun show.
As with your expertise, when she gave testimony on the stand, Samantha Carner, that there was dust and there was debris that was found in the gun barrel.
Yep.
And then when we had the person who, and this was, I believe, Caitlin Oliver, who explained painfully about the DNA, the prints.
Well, let's start with a point at a time.
I'm not done. You said something, so I'm going to finish my thought, right?
You don't want to do a point in time?
No, well, sure. If you want to respond to, but I want you to respond to 2 points.
Debris.
I want you to start with 2 points.
Okay.
Dust and debris in the gun barrel.
Yeah.
Secondly, the fact that there were 5 sets of prints, 5 plus actually by the end of the testimony, 5 sets of prints for which we already had the woman who worked for the FBI forensics testify that above 2 prints, if you're taking a sample, it's no longer a science, right? She testified that when they took the sample of what was on the trigger, they saw 5 plus prints. And among those 5 plus prints, Tyler Robinson's was the most degraded. So I would like you to explain how Tyler Robinson's prints could be the most degraded when she said, actually, you could have DNA on something that you've touched. You could have DNA on something that you've never touched. And to get DNA degradation, they've looked at pieces items 20, 40 years on that don't have degradation. Yet Tyler Robinson's prints, amongst 5 plus other prints, were the most degraded on that weapon.
Yeah. So let's get into all 3 of the claims. First, with debris. When it comes to debris, firing a rifle doesn't always blow the debris out of the barrel.
Okay. You think there could be debris and dust. Yeah. He just fired the weapon.
Sure.
Okay.
Not only that, he left it in a forest. Now, I don't know if you agree with me, but if you leave a rifle in a wooded area, it's also possible that debris can get in that way. But I'm not even sure that that's what the case is. I think it's far more likely that he fired the shot, it just didn't blow all the debris out, and it often doesn't. You'll find this if you take Grandpappy's dirty rifle, and it's all dusty inside the bore, and you go fire it. You'll often look down the bore, and there's still dust.
Okay.
Happens all the time.
Okay, and the prints?
Yeah, so the prints, we don't know all of the details on just yet.
We do. It was excruciatingly long testimony on the prints.
We don't because they haven't gone to trial, so we don't know on the print front. But Tyler Robinson's DNA was on there. You made the claim that Lance Twig's DNA was on there, and it was not.
Well, when she gave the testimony, hold on. First, let's go to your first point because that's wrong. We can get a fact check on that. What do you mean we don't know until it goes to trial about the degraded prints? She testified, and
Yeah.
this is the person who took the prints.
Yes, but the problem is that inside of this particular testimony, you agree with me that there's going to be much more of the DNA analysis in the trial, right?
But you also would agree that her fact is not going to change, that among the prints, his was the most degraded.
Even
so I'm
if-
asking you to
but
address that. How could that be
here,
possible?
Let's give it, let's just grant this for a second as a possibility that his fingerprints were degraded.
No, it's not a possibility. It's a fact. The person who took
hang
it.
on. I'm just granting it for the sake of argument.
You should grant it because it's a fact that she
now,
presented.
So now it's granted. So what?
What do you mean? So what?
Yeah. So what? What does that prove?
What?
It proves that if his prints were the most degraded amongst 5 of them, you're going to have to explain how that's possible if he's the one that recently fired the weapon.
Yeah. So wait a second. You're saying that it's an impossibility that if his fingerprints are the most degraded.
I'm telling you to explain it. You're the gunsmith.
Well,
so
wait a
explain
second. How would a gunsmith give an analysis on fingerprints or DNA? Do you think that I work in a DNA laboratory?
So
with
your
fingerprints?
answer is I don't know. You can just say you don't know.
But
you
I
don't
did.
have to.
But I did.
No, you said so what?
Yeah,
so say I don't know. I
but what
actually
would
don't
that-
have an
what
explanation
would
for that,
prove,
Candace.
though, is my question.
Well, I think that what it would prove is that it is a more viable theory that people who had stronger prints on the gun may have used it more recently.
Did they say who else had fingerprints on the gun?
They named Matt Robinson explicitly.
Okay.
And this was a part of the testimony where she was speaking about how they got samples of elimination samples from the home of Amber Robinson, Matt Robinson, and Lance Twiggs. Those were the 3 names they named.
So are you saying that Twiggs?
Would you like me to
fingerprints-
finish my statement?
I just want to make sure I'm clarifying.
I'm trying to finish the answer, but it can't be clarified until the answer comes out of my mouth.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
this was a portion of her testimony where she was explaining how they got elimination samples from the home. And she named Matt Robinson, Amber Robinson, and Lance Twiggs as the elimination samples that she was using. And so she explicitly said, some of them, so we can assume 2 out of the 3, were their prints were found on the gun. She explicitly named Matt Robinson as someone who had prints on the gun, and then said there were 5 people that they had taken that sample from. And again, what's also relevant here is the earlier testimony, which came from the FBI forensics analyst. I believe it was on day 2, where she said that when you're using those mixtures and those samples and you get up to 5+, it's really hard to make any sort of a determination. So both of those things are relevant. If you can't explain why his prints are the most degraded and you're saying he is the shooter, it's not really a so what. It's an open-ended question that people have a right to pursue. It's not a conspiracy. It's actually proof of my claim that there is evidence that he was set up as a patsy.
That wouldn't prove anything about him being a patsy.
It said it's evidence to support the claim that he could have been set up as a patsy.
So this is why I said earlier, so what? Because even if it's the case, this doesn't have an explanation for it yet. That doesn't actually give you any evidence in your corner for Tyler Robinson being a patsy.
Okay,
hang on. I didn't cut you off, right? You would need to actually explain how this would demonstrate Tyler Robinson. This is tied into Robinson being a patsy. Are you claiming that these fingerprints were Lance Twiggs or that he had any DNA there?
I'm saying that it could be Matt Robinson. It could be Amber Robinson. That sort of information is going to come out during the trial.
How would that tie into the idea that he's a patsy?
Yes,
though?
because if his is the most degraded prints and the information that I shared on my platform is true, that this gun was given to Tyler Robinson as an heirloom. I had conversation with members of the Robinson family, Twiggs family, both of them. You know, like I said, we're not just dreaming. And if we're having those conversations and they told me that gun was only given to Tyler Robinson because it was a family heirloom. Okay, so it was his grandfather's gun or great-grandfather's gun.
Okay.
I don't remember the difference. I don't remember which one it was. And so he got it because he's the firstborn. So, but he's not much of a shooter, is what I was told. And so he has this because he inherited it, essentially. So if I get something from my grandpa and I put it up on the shelf and I own this, you could see that could be.
How do we get to the patsy part?
You don't let me ever get to the end of the sentence. So how could we get to the patsy part
Okay,
if I can't get to the end of the
I'll wait
sentence?
patiently till we get to
So
the
that
patsy
could be a
part.
reasonable explanation as to why there was dust in the barrel, because he doesn't often shoot this weapon and he is indeed a fisher. And it could also be a reasonable explanation for why we have Matt Robinson's prints on this. Obviously, Lance Twiggs, even if he has prints on things, they live together. That doesn't really mean anything. But that could demonstrate that somebody took his weapon and put it somewhere. His prints are the most degraded. Somebody else's prints, there's more presence of somebody else's prints. And that could demonstrate that somebody is taking items from his house and putting it into various
But it
places.
also could demonstrate nothing. So the problem that you have here is that this is pure conjecture.
No,
This is not evidence that Tyler Robinson is a patsy. It's only evidence that you have conjectured up that, well, if it's the case that these are the more degraded prints, then therefore that means must be patsy because dad's fingerprints on gun.
I didn't say must be
Describe
patsy.
how this actually links in to Robinson being a patsy.
Okay, I just described that for you, so I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you, so I'm going to move on from that. But to just go back to your point about this is not evidence, you can't make that claim because the entire basis for why you think that there's evidence for Tyler Robinson being the person that took the shot is based off of a hearing under Utah 1102 rules, meaning that they are doing the exact same thing that I am doing. This is the state. You said you're here to represent the state. Well, did you watch the preliminary
no,
hearing?
I didn't say I was here to represent the state.
The state's position you think is strong and convincing.
What
okay?
I'm here to do is represent my own opinion.
You
which
said
is
in
that
your opening
based on
statement.
Based on the evidence presented so far by the
The
state,
state has
that I find it
presented
convincing.
evidence
Only
under Utah's
only
1102 rule.
But this doesn't demonstrate any patsy
No, that's very
behavior.
important because that rule is hearsay. So you can't say at the same time,
Great.
Candace, you're not allowed
Uh-huh.
to. And what that means under the Utah rule, which I'm sure you know, because I'm sure you watched the preliminary hearing and yourself understand what that means, is that the entire hearing was hearsay. It means none of that information that was presented is going to be allowed. The majority of it, the overwhelming majority of it is not going to be allowed at the trial. They're allowed to present when it's just a probative
I
hearing.
don't think all the evidence that was put in was hearsay.
Okay, you didn't watch this case.
But not only that, no,
This is a huge point. This
I
is,
want to.
this is crazy that you don't know
for a
this.
fact check if
yes,
all the
we
evidence
need
was
more than a
put
fact
in.
check. This was every single
The
day.
team in the back is
Utah
actually
rule
saying they want to
1102.
go there. So they said there's a medical examiner's explanation of the shooting that's in the back. Rob, if you want to pull it up, and then Candace, if anybody from your team wants to pull something up, no problem as well. But they're requesting it. If you guys got it, pull it up so we can show it. And in the interim, is that it?
Yeah. So I'll read this.
Just what are we looking at, just so we know?
Yeah. So this says the bullet, or at least part of it, sequentially perforated the interior left of Mr. Kirk's neck, strap muscles of the left side of the neck. This is a summary, by the way. Left common cartoid on the left internal external jugular veins. The bullet also obliterated the left side C27 vertebrae, transacted the cervical spinal cord. Medical examiner observed a significant portion of Kirk's cervical spinal cord was traumatically absent. Mr. Kirk suffered from other severe injuries, including bilateral, apical, and posterior intercausal hemorrhages, pulmonary, apical hemorrhages, multiple disruptions to the thyroid, et cetera, et cetera. So the summary of the examination is that he was shot.
Okay.
That was what they were pulling that up for.
Okay, and I'm not disputing that he could have been hit with a projectile. We're not disputing that, so I don't know why this was brought up as a fact check. Could you bring up 1102 Utah rule? Because this is an unbelievable point that you're making by saying that I am not allowed to infer off of evidence.
You can infer. I'm trying to follow the inference.
But your entire reason, like you asserted that you believe there's overwhelming evidence on the basis of what we saw in the preliminary hearing. The entire preliminary hearing was hearsay.
Yeah, I'm fine with your inferences.
But no, you just literally said I couldn't do that. Yes, I can.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying from your inference, how do we get to Patsy?
This is how you got to Shooter. The Tyler Robinson did it the same way that you got to Tyler Robinson. Yes, you did. You again. This is something important, so we should pull up a fact check about what the 1102 Utah and under their constitution, for the sake of a preliminary hearing, they do not have to have hard evidence. They don't have to put people on the trial, swear them in. But no, that's why the entire hearing was basically hearsay. Officer Bagley
but
was
not
saying,
all of it, like I said.
The overwhelming majority.
Again, no
I mean,
disputes.
outside of the one that you don't want to give. Please don't cut me off.
Though.
Outside of that is what's in dispute. It means that your entire brand of saying you don't have evidence, falls apart when the entire preliminary hearing is based off of hearsay. In fact, Lance's testimony before they had about an hour debate, actually maybe it was more than an hour debate before he sat, and they said this is not going to be allowed. You wouldn't even be allowed to do this. We'd be able to cross-examine him. The questions that they're asking Lance are all leading. And what did he say? Well, I'm the magistrate under Utah Constitution, 1102. It is my job to allow all of this so we can see if the state has enough here that we can then move to a trial, which will then they would not allow this stuff. They would say we get to cross-examine Lance. Lance just can't willy-nilly say.
I'm not disputing.
But the entire substance of your argument is that people can't infer off of evidence.
No,
that's what you're saying
it's
to
not.
me. When you say Candace,
Here,
you
I'll
can't
give you
talk
the
about the degraded
argument
prince, which is a
now.
fact.
Yeah, I'm not
and then
saying
infer
that.
off of that
Didn't say that.
Tyler could have been a patsy.
You're just
telling
making stuff up. So here's
I'm not
what the
making stuff
position
up.
is.
I'm
I'm
not making
asking
stuff
this.
up. I'm saying that
I'm
I
just-
think you.
I'm
Let's
just
pull that up. Let's
asking
pull that
about
up.
how
I am
to
doing
get there from the
exactly what the
inference.
state did.
Okay.
I am looking at a piece of evidence, and I am saying.
But you're not showing me how you get there.
Can you
from the
describe to
inference.
the audience what Rule
Yes.
1102
So
means?
just so everybody who's watching this at home understands what I'm saying, even if he doesn't. What Andrew is arguing is that I don't have the right to extrapolate from
Never
a
made that
fact
argument.
like
Just making it up. Just purely making it up. I'm asking based on
Andrew.
based on
can
your
I show my
inference.
evidence? You just showed yours. Reliable hearsay.
You'll get a chance.
Reliable hearsay in criminal preliminary examinations. The entire preliminary hearing that you just saw was on the basis of reliable hearsay. And what that means essentially is the people who are making the statements can just say, Patrick told me that he did this on Monday. Patrick's not here. And that is, they can allow that into the hearing. That's just because it's just meant to be probative. And so it's the state saying, here's what we have inferred. So you are allowed to take a piece of evidence and then you are allowed to infer off of that evidence. Okay. Case in point, that's a demonstration that's a demonstration of what I just did. I said the prints were the most degraded off of Tyler Robinson. And from that, what I am inferring is that it's plausible that Tyler Robinson was set up.
That doesn't. That's the point in contention.
That's not a point in contention. That's
the point in contention.
It's not a point in contention. If you're saying it's a point,
it is the point in contention.
It's not the point in contention. I'm telling you that was what the entire hearing allowed for. So the evidence that he is describing,
we're asking you
that
now.
he is using to argue his case, is all based on inference, not fact.
Great.
Inference, not fact. So what they are inferring off of the facts.
So again, we're going to take this, and I'm just going to even grant it because it's irrelevant. I'm asking how you get to the inference that even if you dispute that piece of evidence, that means patsy. I'm looking for the logical chain for how you get to that inference.
What I am telling you is it's the exact same way that when you tweeted, I think that this evidence is overwhelming. When they say that looks like Tyler Robinson's car, he drives a similar car, okay? They are inferring that that's Tyler Robinson.
Can you walk me through the inference so that I understand?
It's not a fact. It's not a fact. When you show a blurry image, which you kept citing that we have images.
I'm talking about your inference that the fingerprints, even if they're degraded, equals patsy. How do you get that inference?
I didn't say it equals patsy. I think it is enough evidence that it should be explored, which is exactly what this preliminary was in the inverse.
That's not in dispute. What's in dispute is when you said, I'm using this as evidence that he could have been a patsy. I'm asking, how do you get the inference to patsy from that?
Because what I am saying is that it shows that somebody else had more DNA presence on that gun than Tyler Robinson did. So it is plausible, which is all they're doing. They're presenting plausibility based off of the facts. Okay. It is plausible that somebody just took his gun and put it there. That's it.
Is there equally
that's how it works.
And is there equally 100 other plausible explanations?
I think that's the reason why most people are exploring when things don't make sense.
Got it.
So yes, at the beginning of that, this is how the court process works.
So
just so we're clear,
if there's 100 other
evidence
plausible
and they're
explanations, then Candace, why is it that we should go with this idea that it was a patsy?
I'm not saying that we should go with the idea that it was a patsy. I am saying that there is.
I thought that was the whole your whole claim.
No,
today.
my whole claim was that there is more evidence that he is set up as a patsy.
How does that equal evidence of patsy?
I don't know how many times I can say this. Like I'm saying that I am using the exact same mechanism that you are accepting for some reason in the Utah courtroom.
Yeah.
Right. To say, I'm going to look at the evidence and I'm going to infer an alternative theory. So you just saw the states and you're accepting it. And they have not presented any concrete facts. You listed on your own Twitter that what you found to be convincing was something that looked like his car pulled into the driveway, a blurry image.
No, I didn't.
The standard white guy coming up the steps that could literally be anyone.
This never happened.
Can we get a fact check on that? Can we pull up his tweet where he goes over the four?
I didn't say that's what convinced me.
When you actually didn't say it's what convinced me, but you said this is the evidence that you found to be overwhelming, and you named, I believe, actually 5 things. I think you said it was his car. You said it was.
Well, there's multitudes of things that I find.
You just said you didn't say
it,
so we're going to get a fact check on that. You did.
Go ahead.
You said the blurry images coming up the steps. Quite literally, when Officer Bagley testified, they talk about when I'm talking about making inference. This is the most I thought was the most absurd testimony I've ever heard. And pardon me, it was actually David Hull. They asked him a question. How did you know the guy in the maroon shirt was the same as the guy that came up the stairs later that was wearing the American flag black shirt? And he said, They're wearing the same shoes.
Why is that absurd?
That's how you decided these two are the same people. Oh, wow. What a scientific. They're both wearing Converses. Okay. That's an absurd thing to say. That is not evidence that these are the same people if we're both wearing Converses. That was what he said. That's what flew on the stand.
But I still don't understand how that would be absurd. If somebody,
it's an absurd thing.
For instance, if somebody were to change their clothes but keep the same shoes on, wouldn't you utilize the shoes to try to track that person? If
The
they were
idea
changing
that
their
on a
clothes?
college campus, two people wearing this totally different outfits, but both wearing Converses can't happen is such an absurdity that I don't even need to like argue that. I'm just going to let people deal. Why is it absurd? Just concede that point. Obviously, it's an absurd thing to say.
I'm not
I know
sure,
these are the same people because they're both wearing Converse.
Yeah, I'm not sure if in context that's what happened, but
it
even
is.
if it
you
is,
can get a fact check on it.
but even if it is, again,
And it was
if we're utilizing inferences, whenever we're dealing with logic and we're dealing with making a logical inference, we're going to take the entire collaboration of evidence and then we're going to make inferences from that. You would do that with any type of logical proposition. Otherwise, you could never have a true or false claim.
You just told me I couldn't.
So when that never happened. You're just making stuff up. So anyway, when we're talking about logical inferences, what I'm looking for is the logical inferences that you have that Tyler Robinson's a patsy based on the totality of evidence that you have.
We can keep going through your other evidence, but we should find his tweet where he lists the reasons that he was convinced.
So let's start with the 30-06. I think that's fine.
Your team's looking for. Do you remember how long ago that was?
The tweets of the 5. Did you delete it or no?
No,
Did you delete
tweets.
Okay, cool. I just look for. He said it was his car. It was his. It was the car, and it was definitely the staircase photos, and it was when the trial was going on.
Okay, she has it. Perfect. If you got Skylar has it. If you want to pull it up so we can see it.
Somebody said, so give me the clear evidence right here. I want you to provide it right here. All I heard from the investigator was, we believe this to be Tyler Robinson. Is belief something you go as a fact? You wrote the car pulling in. That's a totally blurry image. Robinson getting out of it. You have no idea if that's Tyler Robinson. The fact that he is seen 4 other times on camera, the fact being just a standard white boy with brown hair was seen walking up staircase. The DNA on the roof, we should discuss that. And on the screwdriver that he left behind, it's overwhelming, man.
Yeah, but that's not an exhaustive list.
Well, just so we're clear, you did tweet it.
But it's not an exhaustive.
Yeah, but just 5 seconds ago, you should concede.
You said I only said this one thing and said that was overwhelming, actually.
That's not what I said.
It is. You could even
Patrick,
pull your own clip.
Did I say that?
Can you fact check if that was said or not? I did not hear her say
So the
this.
thing that's funny here is like we still aren't getting to any of these inferences. So
why are you pivoting?
So
but just say you were wrong. It's cool to just say I was wrong.
I'm not wrong. So back to the tweet aspect here. It was really funny. That's not an exhaustive list of why I find it.
I didn't say it was exhaustive. I just said you said it.
And on top of no, you didn't. You said that I only said this one thing and then said based on that it's over. Well, I didn't. You didn't mention that I mentioned the screwdriver, DNA, all these other things. You never mentioned any of that. So no, you're actually incorrect there. But on top of that, moving over to the actual evidence itself.
Are you?
Yes, I'm okay. Anyway, back to the evidence
if you're
itself.
Okay.
Yes,
actually, I'm glad you're asserting that you're okay. I wasn't worried about your health. I'm just saying that I just said you tweeted this. You said no, I didn't. We got a fact check, and now you're like just gonna gaslight me and pretend that I said.
There's no gaslighting.
It wasn't exhaustive. I never said that. I just said you did say this.
Zero gaslighting.
I didn't say you couldn't have said more, but I would like to address what you said in that tweet.
Time. If this is how you want to spend it interrogating my position, you can do it that way.
I'm just addressing what you asserted on your Twitter was like the hard evidence that convinced you was overwhelming. That's literally your debate claim.
That's not what you said. That's not actually, in fact, what happened in that exchange. I was here for it.
So what's your position here?
Yeah, so my position is that based on all of the evidence, which has been demonstrated, at least all the evidence to my knowledge, that I am actually not seeing anything that's compelling as an alternative theory. I'm not seeing anything which is convincing me of something otherwise than what the state is presenting as evidence. That's my position, if that's what you're asking me.
So just going back to what you did actually tweet, is it fair for me to ask questions about that?
Is that the only tweet you're going to ask me about?
Well, we're addressing your claim that the evidence is overwhelming, and this is a tweet where you listed what you felt was overwhelming. I think that's fair,
but not
right? I feel like that's fair,
but not exhaustive. Just so you know.
I never said it was exhaustive, even though you said I did.
Sure, whatever you want.
But yeah, so going back to that, all of that, as you say to me, well, Candace, why are you addressing and making inferences off of the testimony?
No, I never asked you why. You're making inferences. I asked you how, with the inference you made, you got to the conclusion.
Okay, so I would like to know how you got to the conclusion. And I'm just going to throw it right back at you because
Yeah,
for some
that's
reason
fair.
you permit yourself to do it. And that's what I'm demonstrating is that you permit yourself to do it.
Mhm.
And then you say, when I do it, it's a conspiracy, right?
No.
How are you able to infer off of blurry staircase images that that is Tyler Robinson?
Yeah. So in that particular case, what you do is you take that evidence, you combine it with other evidence. So it's not just that Tyler Robinson is seen in the staircase.
Why are you calling him Tyler Robinson in the staircase? That's what I want to get to.
Yeah, because I mean, we'll just use this. If you don't agree that that's Tyler Robinson, then you would just have to humor me. I think it is, so I'm using the name.
But why do you think it is? Because you
I'm
make
trying-
everybody, you
that's
call them
literally what I'm
conspiracy
trying to explain
theorists.
to you.
Okay.
So if you're asking for my inference, why I think it's Tyler Robinson is because Tyler Robinson said in his text messages, you'll be able to see me on security footage at the
His
campus.
text messages?
Said it in his own messages. On top of that, Twigs, yes, you can pull them up if you want to fact check that. He did say. On
Yeah, I
top
would.
of
I'm
that,
sorry. I actually think I really did miss that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I
Yeah.
don't remember him saying you're going to see me in.
I'm
in
paraphrasing.
footage.
Can
but
we
it was
pull that
close to
up?
it.
Yeah,
If
I
you
don't-
may
I feel-
have
I
it,
think
if
And
that's
by the
not
way,
pull it up.
Twigs himself said that he
You're
had
gonna see me on
some
the staircase.
maybe a tiny bit of doubt, but it sure looked like Tyler Robinson inside of this various surveillance footage that he saw.
So Lance, sorry.
There's hang
Go
on,
ahead. You're
hang
right.
on. So there's multiple reasons why it is that I believe that that's Tyler Robinson,
Mhm.
not just because of blurry footage.
Did you have a dream? Just kidding.
No, it's because I combined multitudes
sorry.
of evidences.
Okay, so let's address those multitude of evidences. The first one we're working on a fact check on because I do not ever remember him tweeting. That's me in the stair. I mean, or
Well, he didn't tweet
texting.
it.
Texting
Yeah.
that's me in the staircase. I think that
I didn't say that. I said literally didn't. What I said is that he texted over, "You'll be able to see me in footage at UVU," and I'm paraphrasing, but that's
Okay.
what he said.
Yeah, could we get a fact check on that?
You
The
can find
second
it.
thing you said was Lance's testimony, and actually what Lance says is, I'm not 100%,
I agree.
but in terms of what he wears, again, pointing out the absurdity,
Mhm.
he wears Converses, he wears sneakers. If
Mhm.
his boyfriend is not 100%, I'd like to understand why Andrew Wilson is overwhelmed by it. That's what I'm trying to get to. And lastly, I would like to remind you that Lance's statement would not be permitted. This was a huge part of the preliminary hearing, that they were leading. All the questions that were asked of him were leading, so they would be struck down at the actual trial.
Mhm.
And also, I would like to remind you that he got use immunity for that. Use immunity,
I understand.
which means like
That happens, by the way, all the time in these
and I'm
cases.
wondering why it particularly happened for Lance in this testimony. And I would also like to point out that something that's remarkable about this, again, leaning to my perspective, that Lance has a lot more, which I have said many times, Lance has a lot more involvement than the feds are letting us know. I think more
Nobody
is going to come
disputes
out
that either.
because they interviewed him
Yeah.
on September 11th. And then for whatever reason, just ahead of what was supposed to be slated as the preliminary hearing, which was initially supposed to be in May, they bring him back to do this interview,
Yeah.
which in my opinion should have never been allowed. And I actually agree with the defense that it's a violation of his constitutional rights not to allow them to have cross-examined him. But I understand Utah 1102, do what you do. It's all hearsay. But to allow it in that way for him to just be able to also have use immunity, knowing that he's not going to get in trouble. He could literally get up there and lie about anything and he's not going to get in trouble because the use immunity was given to him in April, I believe. April 28th is when they gave that testimony to the defense. I think they shot it in like April 20th of 2026. That is not compelling to me for somebody who has use immunity to give a testimony and to say, I'm not really sure, but definitely like he wears jeans and stuff.
That's not what he said.
He did. Actually, you can get a fact check on that.
Yeah, that's
Skylar,
not,
I think
he
you
said
pulled
much
it up
more
if you
than
wanna.
that.
So a couple things we have. We have Rule 801, Tyler's messages, that says it's not hearsay. But first, go to what Candace is asking about, Skylar. I think you have it. You just texted me if you want to pull it up. You said you have the text. If we can put that up on the screen. Thank you.
It was me. Look at the pictures from the surveillance
Oof.
footage. It was me. Okay. I
Oof.
literally said to you, it's not an oof. I said I didn't remember this. And I'm happy to have a fact check on that. Okay. I didn't call for the fact check saying you're wrong. I literally said I
Okay.
don't remember that from the
Well, I'm
text
just
messages.
saying to you, like,
Okay.
I'm trying to be concise
Okay.
for you.
And then also bring the 801 that you just said. What was the other
Mhm.
one?
Yep, the 801. Tyler messages saying it's not hearsay, if you have that as well. There you go.
Wait, what are we saying is not hearsay? I thought
Statements
you said
that
the
are not
messages.
hearsay. A statement that meets the following conditions is not hearsay.
It was hearsay. They said it in the trial. Like,
Hang on.
okay.
Okay. Is consistent with the declarant's testimony and the declarant denies having made the statement or has forgotten. or is consistent with the declarant's testimony and is offered to rebut the express implied charge that the declarant recently fabricated or acted in recent improper influence or motive in testifying. So then wouldn't that mean that a bunch of this wasn't hearsay?
So the issue with his
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Would that mean that a bunch of this wasn't hearsay?
So the opposing party, which down the line, like I said, they talked about this for about an hour and a half, and they discussed how if Lance was in court and he was giving his first party, giving his testimony as the opposing party, whatever, all of this would be fine. They had an issue with how the questions were being asked and that they were not allowed to cross-examine him. Mm-hmm. So that is why his video testimony would not be accepted in the main trial. And what I said to you is this entire preliminary hearing is under Utah's 1102. So they are allowed to just use hearsay. And
no,
so the
you didn't
judge,
say
when
that.
he
You said most of it was hearsay, actually.
Yeah,
the overwhelming majority.
Well, I mean, I'm leaning now into my opinion that some scientific aspects, which they kept asserting, like the federal rule 403 or 402, some of those parts were quite scientific.
Sounds like you're backtracking quite a bit.
No, I'm not backtracking at all. What do you feel like let me help you. Where do you feel like I'm backtracking? It literally was done under Utah's 1102.
Yeah, nobody disputed that. Okay. What the dispute was is whether or not most of it was overwhelmingly hearsay.
Yes,
is that the case?
It was. Yes, okay. That's a fact. I'm not backtracking on that at all.
And what are the things?
How many times did you, if you watch the preliminary hearing, it's like they constantly, I'm 1102, 1102, 1102, 1102, 1102. And the reason for that is because it's allowed. I'm not saying it's illegal. It's allowed at this stage, but I'm just reminding you that when you're going to sit across from someone and your claim is going to be, where is your hard evidence? This is what I heard and I agree with what I'm watching. You are watching the state put on a hearsay preliminary hearing. And all of those things are not going to be allowed, right? Even when they got into witness statements and things of that nature. There's a reason why they swear you in and they say, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth. Did you, write this statement? So it's the overwhelming majority of what you saw was hearsay because other people were representing other people's statements. They were saying they had conversations. We don't know where it came from, all allowed at this stage. Okay. But it's hearsay. So
but even a lot of that stuff may not fall under hearsay under what we just read, right?
But the evidence that you're speaking about, like when you say that we're going off vibes, you don't know Tyler Robinson. Okay. His boyfriend is not 100% it was him. So I'm going back to your points that you made that this was overwhelming evidence for you. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, overwhelming just means
you can't consider another option that there could have been another white guy wearing Converses on campus.
Yeah, do you agree with me that I said that what overwhelming means to me is that it's just very convincing to me?
Yeah, and I find it to be completely unconvincing.
And that's fair. I understand that.
I looked at those blurry photos that they presented and said, your statement on right now is that he's wearing Converses and he also that's just crazy.
But these aren't the evidences that I find the most convincing.
Well, you said that in your Twitter.
That's not the only thing I've ever said on my Twitter about this case.
Right, but the question that was asked of you was pretty direct.
Yeah.
Right? What did you find
this is not an exhaustive list of all the things that I find
Well, that's not what you said
convincing.
In the tweet. You can tweet longer too. It's not like we're limited now to 240 characters anymore.
So anything that I tweet and all other tweets that I've ever made are now excluded because I used the word overwhelming in this one.
Well,
even though all of this information I've said so publicly over and over and over again is what informs my position for why I'm convinced on the case. That's bizarre to me.
I feel like this is Andrew versus Andrew. Somebody asked you a question. What are the points that you find to be the most overwhelming? And you answered.
You mean from that day, from that particular day of the hearing that I was responding to?
This is something you find to be more overwhelming? Let me ask you that question.
Yes,
okay.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, go ahead. Go on. What do you find to be more overwhelming?
Yeah.
Can we do this? Do we want to get into it, or do we want to do a quick ad break? Are you guys good to keep going, or
I'm fine to keep going, but we can also.
Would you like to take a quick break?
Doesn't matter to me either
if
way.
we're going into a different topic, that may be another 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't want to stop you guys in the middle of it.
Let's end it on what you find to be more overwhelming.
Yeah. So if we're for me, it's the confessions, the text messages, all of that is what I consider to be. From my opinion, that's the most convincing for me.
Okay, we should discuss the text message confessions when we get back, if you'd like to.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Folks, we're going to take a quick ad break. We will be back in 3.5 minutes. Thank you.
All right, you guys, for nearly 2,000 years, Christians have lived continuously in a small village just outside of Jerusalem called Taipei. They remained through the Roman Empire, the Crusades, the Ottoman Empire, and countless changes of power. Today, that Christian presence is in serious danger. One father on the West Bank was simply, he said, quote, "I don't want to leave. My family is buried here. My church is here."
Commercial?
In Taipei, the church is more than a place of worship. It's a school, a medical clinic, a food distribution center, and a safe gathering place for families. When the church can no longer serve the community, families begin to leave. and a living Christian presence in the Holy Land begins to disappear. But you can help. Just $35 provides a full day of protection and support for vulnerable.
There we go. Yeah. So what do you think so far?
Yo. I think she's winning for sure. I'm doing my little
Yeah.
my morning exercises while I listen right here. But yeah, from just the sound of what I'm hearing right now, it seems that she definitely has the upper hand. I think she has a lot more to say. It seems like he's just kind of like short answers and shit.
Right.
And she's
Does
like
it
asking this
feel?
fool to
Does
like
it seem
elaborate.
like
He's
to
not.
you like he don't even like he didn't really like get caught up to everything? Like she knows this shit like the back of her hand. She's done the investigations herself. She knows all of this stuff like to the
Well, I
T.
think that's why when we actually, cause we got started late because I didn't know, we didn't know obviously
Right.
what time it would start. So that's was the first thing that I heard when she pulled up. She was like, I don't know why the fuck they sent you. Like they should have sent
Yeah.
3 or 4 other people. Like I don't know why they sent the influencer. And
Right.
yeah, she's cooking though for sure. I don't think dude
Yeah.
was the right one.
Yeah, all he's used to doing is debating 19-year-old OnlyFans girls. Shout out to those girls because there's nothing wrong with those girls other
Facts.
than the fact that they're 19 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And he just likes to go and slut shame and do all this nonsense.
No, that's
Like,
a that's a. I mean, it would be simple for a dude of his age to fucking go at a 19-year-old. Like, of course, you're
right.
fucking way
Exactly.
more fucking evolved and advanced compared to a fucking child. But
Mhm.
yeah, I like she said. I mean, she's obviously like winning convincingly. I think maybe she probably would have had a harder time with somebody else. Because
Right.
it's not even
Well,
really the truth. You know, well, that's the thing. Like when you debate someone like that, it's not even really making your point clear. It's kind of like you have to have the skill of fucking arguing your shit to make it believable.
well, you know who taught her how to debate, right?
I'm like, I don't even know. I've never seen anything from this chick.
Charlie Kirk is the one that taught her to debate, how to debate.
I
They
didn't
were
know who
very
that
good
fool.
friends.
I didn't know who that fool was until he died. Like in my
Yeah.
Discord, they were like, "Hey, Charlie
Yeah.
Kirk got shot," and I was like, "Who the fuck is Charlie Kirk?" And
Yeah.
then they
No.
showed me like his picture, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I noticed the face, but
Yeah.
I wasn't really up on who he was as a like a
Yeah.
internet
They
personality,
were
if you want to
they
call
were
it
good friends. They toured the world
that.
actually,
Oh shit, I don't know that.
debating across the world together. I
Dude,
forget
there
how
is.
many years they did that, but they were
Oh,
very
okay,
close.
yeah. I was never. I mean, obviously, YouTube recommends the shit that you watch to you, so I was never really
Yeah.
watching this shit. So like, I never even got a recommendation on this stuff. But there's
Mhm.
212,000 people in their life.
Yeah, dude. So she's like one of the top 3 podcasters in the world, Candace
Mm.
Owens. And then he's popular on the whatever podcast, but I
I've
don't
never heard
think
of this fool until today.
yeah, yeah. What's his name? Wes Watson was on a live panel with him, like an in-person live panel,
Oh shit,
and
damn.
with Andrew Tate. I think Andrew Tate
I hate Andrew
was it
Tate so
Andrew
much.
Tate?
Well,
One of
not Andrew
those
Tate. I
guys.
was thinking, why did I fucking think about fucking Andrew Schultz when he said that? I hate that motherfucker and his stupid ass
Andrew
haircut.
Schultz.
The
Andrew
comedy
Schultz.
guy,
Which one?
the
Oh yeah,
comedian,
no,
but he
no,
has a
no, no, no.
podcast too, and a fucking stupid
No,
ass
yeah,
like
not
little
Andrew
Hitler
Schultz.
mustache and a
Yeah.
bowl cut.
Oh, yeah. So Andrew Tate and what's the other guy's name? He's more dark skinned. What the hell is his name? I feel like he might be an Andrew also. I can't think of his name right now. But they're all
Mm.
kind of like in the same circle, you know?
Oh,
And
okay.
they talk crap. They want to educate the dudes like on college campuses or whatever. Not so much Andrew Wilson, but who's the guy? I can't think of his name right now. My bad for not remembering. But Andrew Tate, he's part of Andrew Tate's crowd on their
Mm.
podcast that they have. It's not the Whatever podcast, it's a different one that's similar to the Whatever podcast. Chat, if
Mm.
anybody in here knows what I'm talking about, please put it in there. But yeah, so they want to slut shame all the time. They want to talk shit on OnlyFans girls, but then they date OnlyFans girls and webcam models and
Oh, for sure,
porn.
of course. Because why
Yeah,
would they date fucking a random ass chick that got fucking
right, right.
financial problems and
So
fucking is overweight?
So Andrew Tate is actually, I think he got arrested again, if I'm not mistaken. He's still in
I did hear
custody.
about that. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
fucked
so
probably.
he's already done so much time, and he's not allowed to go back to Florida, but he went to
But
Florida. They
what people
arrested
want
him.
to know is did he PC up though? That's what this crowd wants
I
to
don't
know.
think so. I don't think they had PC over there where
So he's in
he
good standings, then what you're saying?
good standing. Good standings. So what his thing is that he openly admits to pimping out girls, and like if they don't like it, like he openly admits to being abusive to females and pimping them out on OnlyFans, like the wildest shit that you
The
could
fuck?
ever fucking imagine. Yeah.
That's wild admitting to shit like that. Fools love telling on themselves these days.
Oh yeah. So what's her name? Daddy Wells. She's part of the alpha male, the
Oh
fake
yeah,
alpha male
I think
channel.
you told me about her one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to her, but she did a really good video talking about Andrew Tate, and
Mm.
and she played clips of him talking about how he pimps out girls, and dude, the shit that he does to these females, these young females, is like, wow.
Well, I mean that
It's
is part
not
of the pimp
okay.
game. I mean that is what pimps do. If he's
Yeah,
admitting to it, I mean,
but
yeah,
you
that's what they
keep
do.
that on the streets, you keep that on the low
Yeah.
low or
No, this is
whatever.
the
You
era.
don't,
People want credit for doing dumb shit these days. Like that's just
yeah,
what it is. Motherfuckers want to be known for being, doing shit they shouldn't do, and
right.
then they get caught up, and it's like, well, what the fuck did you
Yeah,
think was gonna happen, idiot?
right. Exactly. So he's like in the category of the fake alpha males,
Hmm.
and yeah.
I think I
I
want to
mean,
be one of these
but
fools.
Candace Owens has done a whole Q&A, an interview with Andrew Tate. She had him on her show, and she totally supports him. She doesn't agree with what they're doing to him and arresting him and his brother.
Hmm.
So Candace, she totally she was against the whole Me Too movement. She stands on her own 2 feet. She stands on what she believes in.
The
She
Me Too
didn't
was
like,
like when what was it? The Me Too was when they were like all like what was that again? I remember that shit.
when somebody, sexually
Oh yeah
assaulted so and so, and then me too,
yeah.
just kind of downplaying for real victims. I mean, I kind of understand what she's saying. Like, people jump on bandwagons all the
For
time, and
sure.
that's not okay.
I'm
That's
surprised
not
they're
all
not
right.
showing
And Hen-
like self promotion
Henry
right here.
Weinstein, she
Oh yeah,
also
yeah, yeah. The movie
had
guy.
him. She interviewed him, and she was really,
Well, look at that shit. That fool just fucking donated two
advocating
hundred
for him
bucks.
while he was. What's that?
Like the chat is fucking like
Oh yeah,
breaking like
people are
everything
gonna
is a fucking
donate
a super chat.
so
Like
much damn
someone
money.
just dropped 200.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they do over there. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, cause it's Candace's channel.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, she's about to make a fucking fat ass bag. But there's
I'm telling you,
fucking well, I
she's
mean
the
they're dipping out
number
now.
in the top three. Yeah, she's in the top three podcasters in the entire world. That's how big she is.
I think they lied. Oh, here they go. They said 3 minutes. Back to my fucking my little exercises so I can get buttery smooth chesticles. But I'll be in the chat.
Rutina.
Nah, shit. Let me see. Let me see. Put this up.
And helps him grow his business. If you're watching Candace, I think there's 225 to 250,000 concurrent right now. We'd like to see that 300, 400,000 number on there. Click that button as well to subscribe and share it with your friends and family. And if you're watching it on PBD Podcast, do the same there as well. This allows us to have more conversations like this. The mainstream media hates the fact that we're having these conversations right now. Just so you know, they want to control it. This is free for all. This is what's best for the audience. That's why we like freedom of speech. Having said that, let's go back into the text conversation you were having, right?
Okay.
Let's stay there, and then we'll go into the cross-examination stuff in about 30 minutes.
Okay, that sounds fair. Okay, so yeah, I used basically three pillars for the totality of the evidence. Okay, so if you want to know exactly what those three pillars are, this is going to be the testimony with the text messages and the confessions. This is going to be the physical evidence, and this is going to be the totality of the summary of the case. Okay, so Right now, we're focusing on one of these pillars in my defense, which is fine. I understand that I have to defend my claims as well. So when we're talking about the messages themselves, they seem totally valid. I have no idea why they wouldn't be valid. And I have not heard any good
the words
explanation
they
for why it
use?
is that these messages
Uh-huh.
should even be questioned. The defense hasn't
Oh,
questioned them, as far as I'm aware.
Jesus.
Nobody has actually questioned that these messages came from Robinson to date, except perhaps you and
Everybody has questioned
other people who are kind of
who
in that
uses
camp.
the word
But why should I
automobile.
question these
as opposed
exactly? I'm
to
not sure.
Okay,
car.
so first let's just go over legally what the point is of a probative hearing. The defense is not putting on, they're not there to say or to argue or to defend themselves at all. They have to address what is being presented by the state. Okay, so they're not here to then say, let me give you an explanation for these text messages.
Agreed.
The relevant portion of what the defense did do was actually before we got to the preliminary hearing. I had mentioned that it was initially supposed to be scheduled for some time in May. They asked for an extension. That reading through those filings of why they were requesting an extension and why I actually believe their extension should have been granted, because they did not receive discovery on their text messages. That was one of the reasons. There were many reasons why they wanted to have an extension, but this was crucial, right? So forget just the general sense that these messages feel off. And yes, you are allowed to have an intuition. You are allowed to have a sense and just go, this is very weird. We're being told this kid had like above a 4.0, Tyler Robinson. He wanted to get away. I mean, the text messages almost run head to head with themselves. Like he wanted to get away with it. So he thought the best thing to do would be to text a full confession of what he did, down to what I didn't even remember, saying, yeah, and that's also me in the surveillance footage. It felt a little too on the nose. People have common sense. You just don't text message. But then we're also supposed to believe that he put a note under and burn this and get rid of the evidence. But don't worry about that because I'm about to text you a full confession. That it felt off. It felt weird off the bat. The manner in which they were texting, we're told he's like a gamer who's using a Dremel to carve expressions, catch fascist. But then suddenly he's writing like a 1700
Also, as a Helldivers
novelist.
player, he did actually get the 500K code correct.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer, so we'll say that if we start debating that, you'll be way over my head.
But yes,
but my point being
yeah.
is just that first, it's a general sense of why people had a reaction to these messages that seemed like they were written by Jane Austen rather than like a kid who games and writes catch.
Yeah, but do you see how that's intuition?
That is, I just said that. I said just parking aside the intuition of just something feels wrong here, which you should follow your intuition. You should actually do that. If you say the COVID vaccine is running out, feels like it's coming out too fast and there's too many celebrities telling me to do it, I'd like to take a pause. That's good. That is, you are allowed to do that. I believe in intuition.
But hang on. Let me respond a little bit here because you've been going for a minute. Let me at least respond to a little bit of this. So the first thing is like when people bring up the COVID vaccine, not trusting the COVID vaccine en masse was the science. That wasn't just intuition. That was the science. There was tons of competing science. Now they tried to suppress it. That's true. But there was tons of competing science for why you shouldn't take a risky mRNA vaccine and mass and things like this.
Kept telling us was 100%.
Now, when you're talking about intuition, though, when you say trust your intuition, I'm actually giving a different message. You actually should be very wary about trusting just your intuition. It is true that intuition can be useful, but it has to be tempered with logic, reason, explanatory power, and evidence, not just intuition.
That's why we're parking it aside. Intuition's the first step. Something feels off, right?
Okay.
That was my first step with COVID. I don't like the way it's being pushed. It shouldn't require a celebrity campaign, by the way. Another element of that is why people don't feel good about the Charlie thing. Why do we have so many influencers saying things? It's over. Why are you guys all using the same adjective? Can you switch it up? I'm overwhelmed. Like, chill. Like, you could say, I found some
kind
parts
of like
compelling. I think this should go.
Like
I found some parts compelling. Maybe we should, see at the trial. That would be kind of.
Don't you think Fed slop's a buzzword for the counter industry?
But everyone on the same day of watching this trial, which was, I would say, not overwhelming at all. Nobody came in medium, right? No one came in like there were some interesting aspects. This was a little suspect. But I do think it's enough to go to trial. They all came in like they were passing away and we're going to die from being overwhelmed.
Well, they're trusting their intuition.
Okay. Well, actually, in that scenario, they're looking at the preliminary hearing and have a reaction to it. It wasn't their intuition. But like I said, parking aside, just getting to the substance, parking that aside, aside just a general intuition that somebody's not writing second messages. Then we look at the filings, which came from the defense, and they were requesting an extension saying, we have gone to the prosecution and we have requested all of this stuff in discovery. Yes, you are saying that you took Lance's phone, okay, and that you collected his phone on September 11th, and that you sent it off or whatever. You took a picture of the text messages, and we are being given these text messages to review. Crucially, Kathy Nestor said, I have not even been given access to my client's phone during this hearing. She said, I haven't even been given access to my client's phone. She can't tell you, as a part of their discovery request, is it's not enough to say to me, Candace, I just got a text message from Candace, and I say, I didn't send that text message. Maybe that's what her client's saying. We don't know because we're not at the trial, right? Maybe he didn't send those messages. Could there be someone who logged into his Discord? Could there be someone who logged in to his Apple? George could be sending text messages right now. We are married. He has every login that I have. And remember, he's up for a death sentence. So if I'm able to sow reasonable doubt with common sense, he may come during the trial, and when they actually have to address these points, say, I did not write those messages. I was here. Lance, my boyfriend, was logged into my phone, logged into my Apple ID and my iCloud, sending messages. I know that we have the capability because my husband does it. He has the capability to send messages from my phone. It is not convincing to the public when, for whatever reason, the FBI would not, FBI combined with the SBI, it was not the prosecution's fault. They made that clear during that hearing, would not allow them that discovery request to be able to see where did that message come from? Because you're saying my client was here, right? I want to know if that message actually was generated from his iPhone when he was waiting to retrieve his, rifle, hoping that the pooch doesn't have a bad sniffer, like just weird messages. I want to make sure that, yes, it was actually him. He was holding his phone, and his boyfriend didn't just log in to his computer when he was home. Lance was his boyfriend. That is a crucial fact here. That discovery was not met by the time we got to preliminary hearing. So I remain unconvinced by these text messages. Just as you feel convinced by them, I feel unconvinced by them.
Okay. So then the idea here is the reason that you don't think that these are valid text messages, and you don't, right?
It has not been proven that these messages are valid, and they don't sound valid to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone, even if someone was selling like a, I don't know, pot on the corner, would be smarter than to write a full-fledged confession. He even writes, I thought I would get away with it, and I was hoping never to tell you until old age. And then we're being told that he wanted to commit suicide. And okay, but he just said he wanted to get away with it, but he's not smart enough to, I don't know, maybe not text it's such a confession like we've never seen. I think this would be like the first time ever somebody has start to finish written an entire, I'm in this surveillance footage and I'm here and I'm wearing my Converse, I'm being a little facetious here, but it was a little ridiculous. It didn't pass a sniff test for me.
You have kids and you love them more than anything.
I do.
If it was the case that you thought that your kid was innocent, wouldn't you be out telling everybody and their brother that you thought that they were innocent? And also, wouldn't you maybe recant and say, hey, he didn't actually confess to me. He didn't actually, none of this happened the way that the state is presenting it. What would have prevented the parents from testifying?
Well, two things I can answer that. And if you watch my show, I keep telling you it's not vibes. So right after the shooting happened, Lance Twiggs, the FBI put him into a safe house they paid for. They went to the parents as well, to Matt Robinson and Amber, basically said, your life's at risk. There could be somebody who jumps up and wants to avenge Charlie Kirk. And, we're going to watch you. And they went into a federal safe house. What happened next is that they started thinking that the feds were maybe gonna, maybe not as honest as they thought. And
how do you know any of that?
So you gotta watch the show, right?
Yeah, no. How do you know that?
I had a source within the Robinson family.
You have a source, an anonymous source, of course. So there's no way for us to verify that what you're saying right now is actually even true.
Do you find it to be reliable hearsay?
No, I don't find it to be reliable at all. It's just a source.
I'm just doing what the prosecution
What you're doing is a cool story.
It's not cool. Well, you must have hated watching the preliminary hearing.
You're giving us a cool story. Wait, you're saying that according to your sources, that the reason that the parents haven't recanted any of this.
Recanted what? They have no statement from the parents.
Wait, I just want to make sure that if it was the case, it was being reported in mainstream media that your father came to you and said, hey, is this you? What's going on here? And then he and one of his buddies took you in where you turned yourself in. You wouldn't go out and be like, no, that's not what happened.
That isn't what happened, though. You're just wrong on this.
Okay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing. What am I wrong on?
What is sorry, just so I'm clear, where is your evidence that the parents turned him in?
Well, no. I didn't say that.
You said it the mainstream media?
I said with a sheriff friend.
Yes.
But the father did confront him.
The father confronted what?
Tyler Robinson.
And where did you learn this? That the Tyler
Well, I mean, that's
confronted
part
him?
of the official documents. Our fact checkers can pull that up. But yes.
But I'm saying, but when you say official documents, do you mean you saw this on CNN or you saw this play out in the hearing?
No, this was one of the things that I went through and fact check pre-debate.
Are you talking about like the charging documents?
I think it was it could have been in the charging documents, but I do. We can pull them up.
No.
And yes, are you disputing this?
Do we have that in the back to pull it up?
I can already tell you what you're talking about, the charging documents, because
Okay,
this
go
is
ahead.
where we had to figure out where this story came from, because everyone was operating under the assumption that Matt Robinson turned him in. Until we got to the preliminary hearing and we understood, like I
Clearly has
said,
not
even
watched all
for
of the
that,
live
when you are charging
podcasts.
someone,
An
you can use
idiot.
hearsay. It's all probative, right?
Sure.
Nothing. So they didn't have statements. It's not like Matt Robinson, even though he was interviewed that night. Amber Robinson was interviewed that night by a Fed, separate rooms. Tyler Robinson was interviewed by a Fed. They did not produce statements saying, my son did this. I believe my son did this. But what happened was they did interviews, but also the crucial person here who you just brought up is Mike Mitchell. Mike Mitchell is the biggest unknown in this entire case. Everyone keeps saying they heard
No
from Mike
record.
Mitchell this, they heard from Mike Mitchell that. So when the person wrote up the report that night, and it was Brian Davis who wrote up what became the charging document, he after
Yeah.
they transported
I agree.
Tyler Robinson from the Washington Sheriff's County office up to, I think it's Salt Lake City. I think it was 4 a.m. in the morning that they got up there. He then writes the what becomes a charging document. So he's basically saying, we all spoke to a bunch of people and here's the information that we got, right? We've not seen that. So it could have come from Mike Mitchell. Mike Mitchell could be saying,
I don't know how this negates the point, though.
it
Why wouldn't
truly
the
negates the point,
parents?
because you don't have a statement from the parents.
Yeah,
you are going.
Why wouldn't they just correct the
It's not correcting. That doesn't
misinformation?
negate the point. The point is that we now got the preliminary hearing. If the parents were the ones who said, I'm turning my son in because he's guilty.
I didn't say they turned him in.
I think you're talking about the over. You said it's been the narrative. Everybody's known this. The narrative initially, which I think you agree with, was that, Matt Robinson knew his kid was guilty and turned him into the police station. What actually happened in terms of Sheriff Brooksby, who was present there and gave a press conference, what happened was this Mike Mitchell character essentially peer pressured him. And we can get a fact check on this. We can find Sheriff Brooksby's press conference. And he said, they know it's you and you're going to come in peaceably, or people are going to be banging down your door. He was a undercover cop, which I don't like that. I don't know what he did undercover. It's very hard to find anything about Mike Mitchell, but he worked with them for 20 plus years, the police officers. The reason why Tyler Robinson knew him was because he lives nearby and he was also his Boy Scout
How
leader.
does this negate that the parents could write this second? And by the way, if you had
I'm
the
going to
evidence,
address that point. I'm just saying that your first point, which is that the parents did this.
Yeah.
We don't know that the parents.
I didn't say that they did ever. Never
Well,
happened.
you're quoting the parents as having said. You said that Matt Robinson said that his kid was. You say involved. I don't want to misquote you.
Confronted him about it.
Confronted him.
Yes.
And I'm telling you that we have not seen any evidence that that is true.
We can fact check that.
Okay.
Because we do have evidence.
And I'm saying it's the charging doc, which could have been
Mhm.
derived from a statement Mike Mitchell said.
Two things I have ready in the back. One
Cool.
is the charging doc, and the
Yes.
other one is a video of Kathy Nestor saying she hasn't seen Tyler's phone.
Okay, we can
Okay,
run
which
Kathy to
one
go
would you wanna
back,
see
and then
first?
just to
You
go
wanna see
backwards
Kathy first?
Kathy first in court saying she didn't get her client's phone. Yeah, and then I think we'll go to the. If
A
you're
thing
okay with
not,
that.
a thing not in dispute. These are all things that I'm not even disputing.
Okay, so we don't
And
have to show it.
We never get to the thing that I am disputing.
Well, I was just providing an answer. We were coming back in from a break because you were talking about the text messages, something that you felt was concrete. So it was just my rebuttal to you
Mhm.
that it's not concrete because they haven't had a chance to actually answer that. And she didn't even get to see your client's phone. So that's effectively, again, the state saying these messages are real. You don't get the discovery on these messages just yet. She will during trial. They will actually get
Don't you
discovery on
think
the
that, that
messages.
would make their
I feel
case
like
fall apart if it was the case that they
both
weren't able to actually pull
prosecution
the data off
and,
text messages? Do you think the
defense
prosecution
team,
would
they're
go to
both
court with
holding back
fabricated text
on
messages?
It's called
information.
winners and losers. They may not be fabricated, but by the way, as what they are saying, like I said, if there was somebody logged into his phone, they may not be fabricated. That's the
Okay.
point.
So let's get to the
They just
let's
could
get
be
to the
somebody
parents,
else.
the parents fact check. That
Yeah,
was
so
the
I
other
was
one,
saying,
right?
I believe what you're talking about was derived from the charging doc, which was signed off by Brian Davis.
Let's pull it up.
Let's see if that's correct.
Mhm.
What are we looking at here?
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, I'm sorry.
Can you zoom in a
Is
little
this
bit?
the charging
I
doc?
can't see it. Robinson's
yes.
father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched the rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle, which makes sense with the text messages.
Mhm.
Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home.
Yes. So this is proving my point. This is from the charging document, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that 3 people got interviewed on that night. Mike Mitchell got interviewed,
Yeah.
Amber Robinson got interviewed, and Matt Robinson got interviewed. Of the 3 of them, only one of them actually wrote a statement, which was referred to in this preliminary trial. He came in, I believe, in March, Mike Mitchell, and he wrote a statement, which I find to be very shady that they
Got
decided
it.
to bring.
But why aren't the parents disputing that?
No. Well, first off,
That's the question
First
I've
off,
been
the
asking.
parents are not going to ever play in court, play to the cameras in court when they have a legal team that is going to be advising them
Right.
not to speak to the court because your son could go to prison
But they're
forever.
playing to somebody else who's your
Exactly.
source.
I'm not going to address that.
They're
'cause
playing to
I don't-
someone
I don't-
else
I
who's
don't
your
think- I don't
source,
think
but
it's-
won't go publicly tell the
It's-
media this
yes.
is not true.
Well, what I did not say to you that I just said I have a source, so I want to
Uh-huh.
be very clear and take it from somebody who is involved and permanently sued. When I have to take my lawyer's advice, I mean, there's so many things that I want to respond to when people are speaking about.
Yeah, but it's bizarre that they would utilize a source which would get the information to you, but wouldn't just go to the media and be like, actually, that's all wrong.
I am
No,
telling
it's
you that
gonna
you would
jeopardize the
nary
case.
find a lawyer who would advise you to go to the media,
Exactly.
this mother.
especially when your son is
If I
up
thought
for
that my kid
was up for death.
if I thought that my kid was in any way, shape, or form going to be up, you couldn't shut me up.
What-
Or my wife, she would be like, that's not true. That's ridiculous. There's no possible. That never happened. These people are lying through their teeth. They'd be public whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's for you and your wife. But when a judge issues a gag order in a case and your son is
same
up
wife that
for death, and your lawyers could be
they're not
advising you that if
allowing
you say anything, you could
Ann
blow the
Wilson
case, you
smoke
would
in
have a
her
more
home.
responsible consideration.
I see.
And we're speaking opinion here. You're like, well, I wouldn't care. I'd violate it, and I'd violate the judge's orders and see
But
what would happen.
if you have a
I'm
source,
not.
it seems like they're
I'm not-
violating with them.
Wonka.
I
Facts.
didn't. I'm
Facts.
not speaking to a source, but what I am saying to you is speaking just relevant to what this is. We have not seen any proof
Mhm.
that statement that is included in this charging document. I think it is highly likely on the basis of the preliminary hearing that all came from Mike Mitchell, and Mike Mitchell would be a part. He's
Based
saying,
on
"Oh,
the statements
Yeah.
of
well,
the
it's him
parents.
saying the parents told me this. The parents could dispute that. That's going to come down the line, right? They're going to be able to seat the parents. I will say this, putting together context clues. If the state had it on, 100% certainty that Matt Robinson and Amber Robinson said it, a 5-day preliminary hearing would be a good time to say we have enough evidence. And I can tell
Right.
you why Matt Robinson made this statement, and here is his statement that he signed. That would have been a good time to present that evidence.
That
and
would
the
also
public
be
on
a
your
good
side.
time for the defense to say that's just totally
No,
fabricated.
it's not. It's the wrong time.
Why couldn't they?
That is completely the wrong
Why
time.
couldn't they?
Because what
They're
they're
not gonna
doing
show
is
all
they,
their
they
cards.
already said they didn't receive discovery. They literally can't. They literally can't because they can't. They did not
You're
receive
saying that they
discovery.
didn't receive that information?
No, they just received the text messages. But in order to
That's not the text messages.
the probative information,
Yeah, we're talking about the information that we just reviewed. That's not the text messages.
they never presented it. The state never put it on.
Yeah, they didn't. The defense could easily still have presented this. Yeah,
No,
they could have said they're
No,
no,
you're-
no, they're not
no,
allowed to. Are
no,
you
in a-
sure?
Why would they play
preliminary
all their
hearing,
cards?
Yeah.
Why would they
the
show all their
defense is
cards?
engaging with whatever evidence the state decides to put on.
Uh-huh.
They did not
Yep.
put this on as evidence. Brian Davis was up there.
So they're not allowed to present anything.
They don't need.
They're responding to the state's
I'm asking,
evidence.
are they allowed to present anything?
They are allowed
They
to
don't
Like
say
if there was a conspiracy that they could prove right then
Mhm.
and there, would they present
Oh.
that in one of these hearings?
no, it wouldn't be the right time for
I
that.
disagree. I think
It's
that
not
they
disagreement,
I think
you're-
that they not only could do it, but they would do it. In fact, when I talked in depth with my attorney, they said that's exactly if you had actual evidence that there was fabrications by the feds, that's exactly when you would introduce that.
So when in the document that they filed yesterday or a couple of days ago,
Mhm.
the appropriate, like what you're doing at this stage of the hearing is the state is saying we have enough evidence
Yep.
that we think this needs to go forth to the trial. Hence the reason that there's this extraordinary, we allow hearsay because it doesn't really need to be perfect. It can be enough that we feel like we can move forward, right? And okay, I disagree with that in general when somebody's rotting in prison, but whatever. The next phase is for them to meet in court and for the defense to essentially present an argument to the state that says we find this filing to be defective in and of itself, we don't even have to defend ourselves because you, the state, have enough, you know what the laws are on the books, and this filing is defective and you should get rid of these charges because they don't make sense based on what you can decide based on a law on the books. So then that's why they then file the dismissal, right? So in the dismissal, what they're doing is they are engaging, and this is what was widely misinterpreted.
Well, yeah, they're engaging as though as it's a hypothetical. If this is hypothetically true, then
so
X.
they're saying all of these
but
charges.
I'm not disputing any of that.
So that's what you're asking. Why you're saying could they just
what
put
I'm
out?
asking specifically is like who could shut parents up who are like, no way, there's no possible. This never happened. This is ridiculous. They would be shouting it on CNN. They would be shouting it from the rooftops. They would be losing their minds. And you're like, nope, the gag order would be enough to keep them quiet. Not enough for them to talk to your source, but enough to keep them quiet. I think that that's quite ridiculous. But I'll even concede this whole point to you. Let's just say maybe this was misconstrued, right? If there's a little bit of reason to doubt it because we're still waiting for the evidence for trial. If that's the case, then why not take the same standard for the evidence that you present? You're just waiting for trial.
Well, you didn't do that.
Wait
That's
a
the reason
second.
we're here.
Wait a second. I just want to make sure that I got this right. That's your argument to me, right?
My argument to you is what?
Your argument to me is that, hey, wait a second, Andrew. There's not enough here that convinces me, right?
Well, that's actually my rebuttal to you, is that you are saying, why are people engaging in what you term to be conspiracy theories?
No.
I term it to be thinking. They're just thinking because they're recognizing there are a lot of holes in these stories and that this is not strong evidence, right? This is the reason they're doing it. I'm explaining to you, this is the reason that they're doing it. I'm addressing what you view to be overwhelming evidence. And by the way, I want to be clear.
That which convinces me.
But thus far, every point that you've brought up, every point that you've brought up, did you feel like this is beyond a reasonable doubt? I mean, you realize
remember what I said in my opening.
Going to be
it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's just what I find convincing is what I find overwhelming.
So why are you so upset when people say they don't find it
if
convincing?
That was the limitation of the claims that you made, if it was wait a second, there's a little bit of problems. There's some problems in this case that I have questions for that I want answers to. Nobody would have a problem, actually. Least of all me. I would be the least likely person to have an issue with you, any of your fans, anybody saying. In fact, I've had tons of Discord calls about this. My position's always been clear. Of course, conspiracies exist. Some of them have way better evidence than others, but I've seen them myself. I know conspiracy. In fact, the federal government has hundreds of thousands of laws about conspiracies. They see them everywhere. We both know this, right? That's never what the problem is. The problem is when you make claims outside of, well, wait a second. I'm just questioning evidence here. I'm just questioning what the state's case is here. I'm just asking questions. It's when you make claims outside of that, where you claim that there's good evidence or good standards you should believe because, and then it turns out that it's all nonsense or it's wackadoo stuff or it makes no sense. And when we have a chance to cross-examine your evidence that you've presented, I'm going to show a lot of that. A lot of this conjecture that's based on literally nothing, that leads from no inferences whatsoever. Like you couldn't even infer it logically. That's the problem. The problem has never been whether or not you just said, you know, there's not enough in this case so far until we get to the trial. I remain unconvinced. I'm sure there's tons of people who remain unconvinced yet until we get to the trial. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. There's people who are convinced too. That's never been my problem. My problem is the claims which are external to that.
Okay. I'm not sure I really care if you have a problem with what I think in my own spare time. I don't understand this like lecture that you just gave. But beyond that, what I'm saying is that the state is allowed to use. This is what my problem is. You guys are not allowed. Yeah, you guys think while it's illegal. You can. You are allowed to do that. So, but anyway, going back to you saying I wouldn't have a problem. I think I just demonstrated pretty thoroughly that what you claim that you have a problem with is exactly what the state is engaged in at this stage. So it just doesn't make sense.
That's not the case. In fact,
so people look and they say, I'm looking at the gun and I see, and I'm inferring this. And someone else says, I'm looking at the gun evidence and I'm inferring that. They're both doing the exact same thing.
They're not.
You're just saying, I want to do it for the state.
That's propositionally false.
That is not propositionally false.
I'll explain exactly how. It is the case that every proposition is going to have a true or false conclusion, period. That's just logic, right? It's the law of excluded middle. All propositions are going to be true or they're going to be false. when we get into when we're making inferences based on propositions. We can actually come to true conclusions with false premises inside of a proposition. In fact, what we're talking about here is not whether or not you feel that you're convinced by this evidence,
But you felt like you were
right?
convinced.
Sure. But here's the thing. When you ask me my reason, Andrew, why are you convinced by this? I can give you my reasons why I'm convinced by it, why it seems reasonable and rational to me to be convinced. You could even say, but Andrew, I'm just not convinced by it. If that was the limitation of your claims, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. That's why I wanted to have the conversation, in fact, was so that we could move into your actual claims that you've made, which transcend the idea of I'm just asking questions.
Before we get into that, your team has one thing they want to show before you go into
Okay.
that. So if you want to pull that up, this is the prosecution filing showing defense had full discovery by April 1st.
Oof.
They did not. That's not true.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
To date, the state's prosecutors have disclosed all evidence that is presently and reasonably available to them as required under Rule 16 Utah R Criminal, to be more precise, as of April 1st.
Yeah, that was not 100%. That's why they're caging that by saying what's reasonable. There was an entire, and we can pull this up. Like, we should now play the Kathy Nestor clip because that's from there. So, and they were basically saying you don't need it at this stage, meaning it's not reasonable that you're asking for this when we're going into a hearing that's just going to be based on hearsay and stuff, things of that nature. But of course, by the time a trial comes, you're going to get all the
Where it's
discovery
just show
documents.
cause.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying.
Yeah, I
there.
understand.
Okay. So that's
I'm even fine with
yeah,
it.
that we all know. And then, by the way, just now that the hearing is over, and you can also fact check this, they now at the end of the preliminary hearing dropped like an insane amount of the discovery stuff they gave to them like the week after. You guys can give me the exact amount. I don't want to say because I don't know my I don't remember how much it was. It was an absurd amount of stuff that they gave to them right after the preliminary hearing that they had been asking for. Because that was one of the things that I kept saying on my show is as we were watching that preliminary of the preliminary, why not just give them the stuff now so they can engage in these arguments? Because I feel like it's like, I want to hear what they have to say about the text messages. Why can't you just give them what they're asking for so that they can actually engage you? And it didn't happen. So, but the judge ruled that it wasn't necessary at this stage. And that was the whole point of that
because it's
preliminary to the preliminary. Yeah.
Would you like to play the Kathy video?
Well, he's saying he's not disagreeing, so I don't think we need
There's
to.
no point here.
There's no
Okay.
disagreement
Yeah, right,
that she said that.
Yeah.
So so I guess the disagreements now would move into the evidences that you have stated on the record, which transcend elements of reason.
Why are we having
a
a transcendental conversation now? Because
because
first,
they're all
because
related to this case.
your entire thing was about looking at the evidence, which never made sense to me, again, because all of the evidence that you felt to be overwhelming was hearsay. That was bizarre to me.
You told me that I could take as much time as I wanted to question you on these things.
I'm just asking you just to lay the groundwork of what you're saying is
because
problematic, that
many,
you decide that
claims.
it trips into something else. And I do still want to hold you for going through, because we've discussed the gun, we've discussed your...
and you can hold me to those things, but I would like to get into the things
we should
that you
discuss
said.
the screwdriver as
So,
well.
and I'll explain exactly what the groundwork is. When you make claims which pass the idea of I'm just asking questions because the state's evidence is not convincing, I think you have to answer for those claims because they are in regards to this case. You're saying, I have a claim. It is in regards to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which is what we're talking about, not just the case of Charlie Kirk, his assassination. You should have to answer for the claims that you've made in regards to the assassination itself. You should, agreed. So if that's the case, then I would like to finally dive into some of that evidence and dive into it.
Well, just to be clear, and I'm happy to have you talk about, like I said, publicly, you want to engage in some conspiracies, but I said I want to make sure that we get to the substance of our debate. The substance of our debate
is the major
is me demonstrating that all of the quote unquote evidence that you feel that you have, which demonstrates that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
You don't find convincing. I get it.
It's been invalidated by the testimony that we saw. And in your answer for when I explained to you that he had the most degraded prints was, I don't know. Okay, well, there lies my ability to process that.
It's just fine for you to not be convinced up to this point. All of your viewers, everybody watching, you're conceding. Nobody's giving a dispute that if all your claims ever were just up to now, the evidence that the state's given, I'm just kind of not convinced. That is not what's been happening. What's actually been happening is that you've made tons of claims in regards to this case, And in regards to the Kirk assassination, which are far above and beyond, I just doubt the state's theory.
Okay, yeah, I mean, sure.
those are
I
the
do
things
doubt. I
that
do doubt the state's theory. I also am
I get it.
welcome to say what I think. If you want to move into opinions, if you want to talk about Erica Kirk, if you want to talk about
Yeah.
Turning Point
I'd
USA,
like to talk about all
and
of
get
it.
into it, I'm
Yeah.
totally happy to do that. But I just want to say that, like, I do not feel, because I've said what's important to me is that we exhaust this topic
Mhm.
first of our actual debate claims. I do not feel that you sufficiently have argued that the evidence is overwhelming.
sorry.
Candace, question for you.
That
What,
Tyler
But I am
Robinson.
sorry you feel that way.
Candace, one question. What evidence do you need to see for you to say Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
That's a great question. So I actually expected in this preliminary hearing, actually, the inverse of what he was saying is true, right? So this is now the time the state is putting on their evidence. That's the purpose of this hearing, right? The
Mhm.
state is using hearsay, but they're also putting on their evidence. So I was just expecting some sort of a slam dunk. Like, we got him on camera taking the shot. At least we have him clear on camera. You're telling me this guy drove 13 hours all around. Like, we can definitely show you a picture that it's going to be beyond a reasonable doubt before we even get to the trial. People are going to see and go, oh crap, like, it was really Tyler Robinson. I was expecting to at least see evidence that, because I had reported early on that the source was saying that Tyler did not step foot on campus that day. It is my perspective that he had something to do with something. I do believe he was disposing clothes at this stage, at this phase. I do believe he was disposing clothes. He was involved somehow. I find Lance to be more suspicious, if I'm being honest with you. And also, like I said, the use immunity that was given to Lance by the feds, the fact that the feds didn't ask him any questions, the fact that I spoke with Lance Twiggs' family, and they were like, it's very weird that the feds are not asking him more questions. He's exactly the person that I would imagine to be involved in some stuff. Allegedly, I'll say allegedly. But when we got to the preliminary hearing, there was not a single piece of evidence that I felt was slam dunk. I was waiting for that, a photo. I mean, anything would have made me go, all right, I think this could be the guy. If they had handed over the discovery on the text messages, since that was their big ta-da, we've got the text messages, that would be the first thing that I would hand over. But actually, who was holding them up? Like I said, it wasn't the prosecution. They're right to say we were handing things over, and we heard the defense argue on behalf of the prosecution, saying it's not them and it's not the SBI, it's the FBI that's holding on to things. Is the FBI took everything. The FBI took the gun. The FBI took initially the screwdriver. And then when I heard testimony about the things that they found that were suspicious, example being the backpack, that's something that really bothers me, that they say they traced the shooter, they traced the route that he went on, and then there was an abandoned, we know it looks like he's wearing some sort of a backpack. We know that there was an abandoned backpack found at the bus stop in front of a library, and they felt that this should be taken into evidence. They took it. The FBI, this was the testimony of Amanda Baker, I believe her last name is, but you might want to fact check that because I think I'm blending last names. She was the forensics for the FBI. And then she says she gets a call on the 13th and they stop testing on this backpack because they find that the backpack actually belongs to somebody on Charlie's team. But if you know the map of the layout of the campus, you're going, well, what the hell are they doing all the way up? This is nowhere near anywhere. And by the way, that's not an acceptable answer for why you just gave it back. That's like, why would you give it back? You're acting like no one's ever been killed by somebody on their team before, right? So I found that to be very strange that it was on the exact route that the alleged gunman ran, and that their excuse was, we just gave it back because we heard that this belonged to somebody on Charlie's team. So that to me is, this is why the investigation itself feels underwhelming. When you learn, and this is completely crazy to me, that some of the artifacts that Charlie was wearing were immediately returned to Erica. That's absurd. That is absurd. Everything should be in evidence. When you learn that the car that they carried Charlie in to go to the hospital, they had immediately towed, cleaned, and back up for resale. That's absurd. That should be sitting in evidence. And any police officer that you speak to will say, or a person that's been involved in a crime will say, I didn't get my stuff back for years. It had nothing to do with anything. It was just around. And they kept it into evidence until the trial was over, and it has to be approved. I think somebody said by the attorney general has to sign off on giving you those objects back. And we were told this is all fine. And we see, this is just one example, Erica holding the crucifix.
The necklace.
That should be in evidence. Irrespective of if you feel bad for her and think she should have it and it's sweet, that should be in evidence. immediately
Even
paving
the
over the
bloody
crime scene.
microphone.
This is like the craziest thing ever. It's like, this like defies common sense. You immediately, and when you heard the guy who did it actually go up on a podcast and explain, I got the call. They said it was a paver emergency. I've never in my entire career heard of a paver emergency. They had already had someone come up and dig up the dirt. So by the time he got there on Sunday, the dirt had already been dug up for him to lay down pavers. That is what people are looking at and going, this is weird. There needs to be answers for why this was done. And he tells us the call came from the feds and the governor's office. UVUs washed their hands of it. And what he's saying sounds true because we heard during the testimony, one person described the regions of who was in control of everything. Mm-hmm. The feds were in control of the courtyard. So in order for anybody to have paved anything, that was federal territory, so to speak. I'm maybe not using that in the best cop term, but the feds were in control of the courtyard. So these are things that I think should be answered for. Why are we doing things differently than you would in any other criminal scenario of keeping the evidence until we know more, until we're confident, the various decoys. I did it. It just doesn't look right.
Okay, so go back to the question. So what would you need to see for you to say
something? If they had, I was expecting, here we have him, he took the shot, here it is. And then I'd be like, great, a clear image of him on the staircase where I'm like, that's definitively Tyler Robinson and he was on campus. We got nothing. We got literally nothing but hearsay of people saying.
But you basically get no case.
What?
You basically no case on planet Earth. You get the,
sure.
Oh, we got a picture.
Okay,
Here's him with the murder weapon.
Right.
Here's him taking the shot.
Most of this doesn't take place on a college campus that has surveillance everywhere.
Yeah,
one clear image of his.
But I don't understand when you're
his
asked
car plates.
If you're asked the question, what would it take to convince? It'd be the same question be asked to me, Andrew. What would it take to convince you that the oppositional is true, right? That he's a patsy or something like that. Just good, clear, concise evidence that's been presented, right, and is being presented that I could go through and link all together to see if there's actually some clear picture of there being a patsy. That's what it would take for me.
Okay.
Just
I don't disagree with that. We haven't heard the defense
just
respond.
a good evidentiary standard. And then, of course, I would change my mind.
So just to qualify this. So there is a possibility in the next few months that you may come out and say, guys, it's done. Tyler killed him. Yeah. So you're saying yes to that.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for the audience here.
Without question.
For you, is there anything that you could see for you to say, yeah, this guy was a patsy?
Of course, I'm going to always follow evidence.
Perfect.
So my whole thing is just this. It's really important to me. I don't mind people being truth seekers and justice searchers, and the internet has helped solve tons of crimes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? However, there's also people who, they not only don't solve crimes, but they just come up with conjecture and what's called flooding the zone. You flood the zone with tons and tons of conspiracy-based ideas, and they go nowhere, right? And in fact, they actually take away from legitimate investigation.
Idiot.
Now, I'm not even saying anybody here's purposely flooding the zone. That's not even the claim. All I'm saying is that the claims made absent, this is just me not being convinced by the state's evidence. Those become claims, and claims have to be defended. Just like mine have to be defended, yours have to be defended. And that's what we're going to get to now, yeah?
You want to get into it? Would you guys like to take an ad break?
We'll take an ad
break.
And then we'll talk Erica Kirk and TPUSA.
And the conspiracies that have been conjectured by Candace Owens in regards to this case in the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Folks, we'll take a 3.5-minute break, and we'll be back soon.
All right, you guys, you have probably seen all the buzz around red light therapy lately.
All right,
but what's even more compelling are the stories from people who say it completely changed their lives.
About it.
One example starts with a woman named Natalia. She sat across from her medical team and got an ultimatum most of us will never have to hear. Aggressive chemotherapy, steroids for life, or amputation.
Totally.
5 years earlier, a plate of ceviche in Peru triggered heavy metal toxins and parasites that she never recovered from. 20 specialists and hundreds of thousands of dollars later, nobody addressed the cause, just the symptoms. With the support of medical journalist Jonathan Otto, she refused all three and went after the root cause instead.
Clearly, he hasn't watched all of her podcasts. He doesn't watch it. Okay. He doesn't even know. Literally, there are holes in the official story. Story. I totally agree. Yeah. I don't think this guy came prepared. I don't even think that he knew what he was walking into. I feel like he just felt like, oh, I got TPUSA. I got Erica Kirk backing me, so I got this. Like, dude, Did you not? You should have been watching every single one of Candace Owens' podcasts, every single one of them, and he would have been better prepared. And actually, I feel like if he had watched every single one of them, he wouldn't even have decided to do this debate.
But do you
He's-
feel it possibly might have been like kind of a, in a sense, like an easy win, because her shit kind of, it can be said that neither of them could prove shit really.
right?
You can't
it's
really
still
say
all the
definitively which one is
Really
right.
fair. I mean, I feel like based off of the evidence that she has investigated and disclosed and shown, I
Right.
feel like she's fucking hands down,
No,
like
for sure. But I mean, from his side, like we said, we talked about this on the battle boxes thing. Not to fucking bring that shit up again, but I mean, whoever people want to believe,
yeah,
nobody's gonna change anybody's mind. You know what I mean? People
right,
who
right,
think
right.
who
But
don't like
this
this
is
chick are gonna say, nah, she's bullshit. She's bullshit.
this is the whole purpose of the debate. And so far, I mean, what has he got? He's got nothing.
No, he getting
I
cooked for
really,
sure,
yeah.
for sure.
And I don't understand what I just feel like he felt like he really truly had, oh, I have Erica Kirk and TP USA behind me. That's not good
Mm.
enough. That's the widow. The widow. If you guys watch Candace
Mm.
Owens live podcasts every single day like I do, you know what I mean when I say the widow. The
Mhm.
widow, should be right there with Candace Owens, wanting to know what the hell happened. Who did this to my husband?
That
You
is a
would
little
think,
bit odd how she did not side with this chick who
yeah,
trying to put
she's over
point out
here
inconsistencies that her
with
her shit does
freaking.
make sense.
She's Candace. I mean, what's her name? Erica Kirk is over here with street. What? Fireworks going out. In the
Yeah.
show or whatever the hell she's doing. Like
I think whoever like was promoting her, I think they
the
regret
publicist.
putting her
Yeah,
out there like that because she just made shit
right.
look fucking bad. Like I don't
Yeah,
really follow that
Candace
shit,
has
but I
been
did
saying.
see like all the skits about her, like the Drewski ones.
Oh yeah, that shit
I
was
seen those like
hilarious.
because those were promoted so hard. But I mean, yeah, it just seems like it just
Shit was
pointed out,
hilarious.
how kind of like phony she seems. Like
Yeah,
she looked like a fucking AI, like a fucking
yeah. She
biological AI
has no
robot.
soul behind her eyes. Yeah,
No, that's a good way of
clearly
describing it.
there are gaping holes in the official story. Yep, she has proven there's lies and cover-ups. Exactly, she's proven the numerous inconsistencies and fallacies. Just because she can't explain what did
No,
happen doesn't mean what she claims.
she's doing a good job of pointing out the
Um,
like just the inconsistency, like you said, like, and also just like there's so much shit, like there's so many things to point out that were done wrong,
right.
and it kind of seems like why
Totally.
the fuck would you do that? But like I said,
Yeah. Why did they
but you can't
renovate the
prove it.
quad area immediately? Why did they sell the vehicle that he was, immediately that he was transported from
Yeah,
when he got shot to the hospital? Why did they get rid of that immediately? Those are things that they would keep um in in the in the evidence
for
until
investigation,
the
yeah,
case is
for further
yeah, until
investigation.
the case is over. It just doesn't make any sense. And then even that sheriff guy, the officer that took Tyler Robinson from his home and turned him in or whatever, you can't find anything in his background of him being a law enforcement. Like there's
Mhm.
so many. That's just the tip. Like that's just
I think
touching.
at the end of the day, it's obvious what happened. I mean, it's obvious to me. Like I'm just trying to point out both sides here, but I think
Yeah,
it's obvious what did happen. Like he was purposely fucking taken out. It's just kind of
right.
weird how like
Sad.
I don't know, like it was done in
It's
public, and I think at the end of the day, they knew what they were doing was
right.
gonna be called out later. But at the same point, what would it change after the fact? He's not coming back. The job is done.
Well,
Everything's
because
already set in stone.
he had such a huge influence on the college generation, and
Mhm.
um, they didn't want America first. They wanted everybody to be like in alignment with Israel, and we gotta support Israel, and this and that. And he
But
was changing his mind about that. He
I mean,
literally was changing
I
his
think
mind.
the fact that they made him a martyr made people kind of more so interested because it did put him in a spotlight, and it's highlighting all the shit that he said. So he did complete his objective, to where all this his crowd is obviously going back and fucking running back his old videos, and like it kind of does like kind of magnify that brain who would actually be considering what he was saying, if it's true or not.
Right. Yeah, he was going to be the next Republican candidate, and he had such a huge
Oh, that's a
influence
good point.
on the younger generation. So
That's a good
that's why
point.
they were very concerned. And he had a lot of political influence, and so did Candace
Mm.
Owens. They're the ones that helped get Trump into office. And now, fast forward to now, Candace is like, wait a minute, I don't fully agree with this anymore because of the whole Israel
Mm.
uh, influence in Netanyahu and all that. And so Charlie was about to voice his opinion on that change that he had. And that's why they were like, no, we can't do this. We can't allow this to happen. We can't. And so
Mm.
that's
It
kind of
is
why they took
interesting though how they chose to put it on a fucking live thing. I mean, they could have just taken that fool out fucking walking from his car into his house.
they had to make a huge
Make a
impact. They
yeah.
had to make a point, I feel like.
Mm.
I mean, I could be way off, but I feel like, it shocked the world.
Yeah, they
It
wanted it to
truly
be on
shocked
camera.
the
Like, let this
world.
be a lesson to any motherfuckers.
Right. Yeah.
This could be you too. But I mean, like I said, I'm kind of unaware of everything, but I did see the video, and I did record
Yeah.
the screen record it when they actually showed him getting hit, and like when you slow it down, you could
Mhm.
see the fucking thing coming out of his shirt from the
Yeah,
bottom.
and they've
It's clear as
shown
day.
that plenty of times. Yeah, it probably wasn't even from a weapon like far away. It
I
was
think it was
probably
like a little,
something that was
I think it
yeah,
was part of his
something.
mic. It was part of his mic.
Right, right. That's what they're saying. And then also his security, like they were doing all these weird ass things right before the shooting, like, giving us signs. Like people on his team were acting hella weird. And I never
Mm.
used the word hella, but they were acting weird as fuck. So it just makes you, wonder. And why wouldn't you want to question everything, all the weird shit that's going
Well,
on?
I
If it
think they
was
obviously
if
threatened
I
his
was going
team,
to
like,
my
bitch.
husband, I'd be like, why were they doing that? What I need to find out what the fuck. I would want to exactly like what Candace is doing. I want to know everything because this shit don't seem right. Like what's going on and why Erica Kirk doesn't question these
So
things is
has
beyond me.
anybody like tried to hunt down like his team and interview like the people that were part of that, or they
Yeah,
just fucking disappeared?
like his security team or what? Because
Yeah, like
they've
everybody who was
okay.
involved in like
So
there. Like, so what happened to those people?
like for example, the dude that had already captured on his phone seeing
Mm.
somebody on that rooftop, they never interviewed that guy. No law
So what happened to
enforcement
him? You think?
ever to this day interviewed. Candace has spoken to him.
Mm.
What else? There's so many things.
No, I'm just curious as to what happened to his team, who was like signaling and shit, like you said. So I mean, I'm
Oh,
kind
the
of more so
security
curious.
team.
I'm more so like
So they
asking,
did an
what do you think happened to
interview.
them? Did they get paid off, or
Well,
did they get intimidated?
no, I don't know because they said at Chatwaga, I don't know how to pronounce it. Red might be
Mm.
able to know, but there's a military base in Arizona where
Mm.
the the head of his security was spotted with Erica just right before the shooting. They were spotted there, and Candace Owens interviewed the guy who saw them, and
Uh,
it was a whole weird thing where there was like in that military base, whatever, there was like a building that was like, there's nothing, it's just a building, but there was heavy security, heavy, like big time security, and
mm.
somebody came out of there, but Erica and the head of security were spotted there. I think it was the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So
Mm.
what is that all about,
So it's kind of
And
interesting how, and I'm gonna put this out there. You probably won't like it, but
no, you go ahead.
either this chick Candace is also being paid off and part of the fucking show, because or she just has extremely fucking large balls, because if she's really doing this and
She
putting
has
that
large
his
balls.
message out, like there's a high
Well,
probability that
there has been
she would get
death
taken out too.
threats. There's been death threats on her. She had a hit
Oh, I
out on
believe it.
her. Yeah, and then
But I mean, you
Yeah,
still have to fucking
she just
operate and go about your day though. Like every day must be fucking she can't go to a fucking restaurant and sit
well,
down.
her husband is a very, very wealthy, high up dude from Britain. So I
Oh,
feel
okay.
like she has, besides the
Yeah, she
fact that
got the
she makes
security
a
team for
shit
sure.
ton of money, she has her own money, but
Yeah.
her husband comes from a very, very high up there family. And
Hmm.
so she can afford all the security that you could ever imagine.
Right.
But yeah, she's had death threats out against her just recently.
Where are
Uh,
they streaming from right now? From her pad or where, like where are they at?
yeah, from her pad. Yeah, she
Where
has
she live? She live in America or over there?
yeah, she lives in America. Yeah, she
Oh, that's
lives.
crazy.
I'm not really sure exactly where. She's been doxxed by
I
another
mean,
podcaster.
oh, okay. Yeah, I read. You know
Yeah,
what? When it comes to shit like this, that is this huge, and there's that many like twists and turns to it, you have to consider all possibilities. And at that point, kind of like everybody is a suspect. And you know, it's sometimes it's the person you would least expect that is behind the bullshit. And I'm just putting it out there because you have, like I said, you have to consider all possibilities.
yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's
controlled
sad.
opposition is a real
It's
thing.
yeah, yeah. That's what they
Because look at
say.
when Martin Luther King got taken out, like there was a bunch of shit that said Jesse Jackson
Mhm.
helped take him out, which is a very high probability as well.
The other the other thing that's very interesting is
Malcolm
the
X too.
head of the FBI. What's his name? The Indian. What's his name?
What?
The head of the FBI. What's his name?
Oh, the Cash guy.
Cash Patel. Cash
Yeah.
Patel. So Cash Patel, we all know about Cash Patel. Like he's using the freaking government jet to go see his country singing girlfriend, who we never even heard until he started, talking about her. That people
Uh,
were not being nice to her. Whatever. He's using the jet to go see her sing the national anthem at a hockey game or whatever the hell. He's using government plane and government money,
right.
and he could not stop saying it only took 33 hours for us to find the the murderer, the person who
Mhm.
murdered Charlie Kirk. Only took us 33 hours. This fool is so full of shit. Like, wow. Like, are you kidding me? I'm surprised this dude
Well,
is
that number
still.
has like a lot of symbology to it as well. That number is
Does
very.
it?
Oh yeah, fucking totally.
Yeah,
33
same
and
number.
47 for sure. Because that's what I mean. I put 47 on my
What
YouTube
it,
shit. But I mean,
yeah. What does a 33 mean? Oh,
33 is like fuck. I can't really explain it. Maybe Red could explain it better than me. But it's putting a lot of shit. I don't know if it's like
I feel like
not it's not
red
one of those
because
prime numbers or
red
nothing like that. Like
red is ex-military. Shout out to Red. Thank you for your service.
yeah, no,
Big time.
I used to go down the fucking the
I
YouTube
feel
rabbit
like
hole and I watch all those videos and conspiracy theories and shit
yeah,
like that. But there's a lot
I
of
feel like
symbology with that 33.
he has more that he probably could share with us when it comes to all that stuff. Like I
Mm.
forget what it is in Arizona, that military base over there.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
have Red
forget
come up
how
when we
you
do a
say it,
Skyla and Wonka collective.
the name of it. But yeah, Erica Kirk and the head of
Oh shit,
Charlie's
they're back on.
security were spotted over there together.
That's
And
what's up.
then now this dude, the head of security, is suing Candace Owens for like all kinds of bullshit. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know. And
this
he
shit is far
did.
from over. It's gonna be
Oh
like a
yeah,
lifetime thing, like JFK. Like it's gonna be like all that shit. They've been
right.
talking about this shit for 50 years now.
The
The road
difference
to
is that Candace loved Charlie like a brother. Like they were
mm.
such good friends. Like she's not gonna stop. And once you get Candace going, she ain't gonna
Shit,
stop.
she got the money for the security and the backing. Fuck it, go hard, homegirl.
Oh
Oh, I'm
yeah,
not.
she's not worried about that. But I feel like she stays true. She stays genuine, and she, in her heart and soul, like she's not gonna stop until she gets to the bottom of this. And that is because that was her friend, and I feel like she would want people to do the
I
same
think
for
the fact
her.
that she's cooking this fool so hard, they're gonna come back with somebody else that's gonna, and they're gonna prep that motherfucker like 10 times as much as this fool. Because like she said, this fool is not even with it like that. So I'm pretty
Right.
sure they're gonna set it up for another debate with somebody else who would
I
make
don't think there
the
is anybody.
opposition's opinion seem a little bit more credible.
I don't think there is anybody. I don't think there's anything that anybody could investigate more than she has, that truly put their heart and soul into this investigation, truly.
Right. All right,
And
let's put it
even
back on.
Joe Rogan was like, when Andrew Wilson went on his podcast and was saying whatever he was saying about Candace, Joe Rogan was like, hold on a minute, but Erica Kirk literally had sparklers on the fucking stage right after her husband died. Like she
Right.
should have taken some time to
Been like in
mourn him.
mourning at least.
Yeah. Like it just doesn't make no sense, you know?
Yeah.
And
All right, let's
then
put it back on.
Charlie was all about um, you know, traditional gender roles. The woman should stay home and tend to the children. Then all of a sudden he's murdered and she's CEO of the company, and then there's these questionable, like, who should be in charge, god forbid he passes. Like that's all questionable too. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not confirmed yet that he actually truly wanted her to take the reins if god forbid something happened. It just doesn't
Right.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't
You ready
make
to
any
put it back
sense.
on?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Andrew, there's a viable death threat against you, and that person definitively has the rank to be able to tell you this. And you say, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to report that to the feds. Then I go, what's your evidence? It's like, well, I got the information and I gave the information that I got from who I got it to the right body of people. And that's
Okay.
what I did.
Got it. I just want
Cool.
to make sure.
And so
I'm not
it-
trying to trap you.
Well,
I just want to make sure I got it clear.
and that's why I say I want to know what you're doing now, because this has always been the thing. It's like, we actually can't win on the overwhelming claim. So we're just going to go and bring up everything that I think can try to embarrass her. I reported
I'm
exactly
not
as I
trying to
received
embarrass
it.
you. I just want to make sure that I get your
Yes,
positions
I
clear.
have not said,
Oh.
yeah, go ahead.
And now you have
By
stated
far
multiple
they've
times
tried
that you
everything
believe
to
that
embarrass
Israel's
her
involved
and
in the death of
smear
Charlie
her.
Kirk.
Can you give
Yes,
me?
we can pull up the clip.
Can
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I finish the sentence?
Go ahead.
Can you give me the context for what are you talking about? Like when I say, generally speaking, why people think that Israel's involved?
hmm
Okay, where's your question?
Yeah. Do you have any positive evidence whatsoever that Israel killed Charlie Kirk?
Well, I couldn't say Israel was on the ground and shot and killed Charlie Kirk. I would say that there are various things that we're trying to establish, one being a motive. And since I don't believe that Tyler Robinson and his transferee is a convincing motive because he was fired up about politics, which Lance testified that he never spoke about with him, nor do I believe that he was, so into LGBTQ issues, since Lance testified they never spoke about LGBTQ issues, that he stopped and ate at Chick-fil-A, which if you are into LGBTQ issues, wouldn't be your lunch before you go kill Charlie Kirk for LGBTQ issues, because,
Yeah, but do you have positive evidence?
I'm answering the question as I feel like I want to answer it. Like I said, you don't get to for an hour and a half.
But the question I'm
questions and
asking
tell
is
me.
about positive
I'm
evidence.
telling you that in any case, establishing a motive and
Mhm.
and again, I already explained at the top of the show, but the reason why people find Israel to be an interesting question is because truthfully, Charlie's perspectives were changing on Israel.
Sure.
And he was starting to realize how much pressure was being put on not just our government to constantly fight their wars, but also being put on his organization personally. If people had come out and been honest about that, rather than rabid claiming he never flinched and everybody's lying and this is not true, you would probably have people that just go, that's life. People change their opinions.
I understand.
And then there was the rabid, not even that. It's like everything was about trying to convince the public how much he liked it.
So then, other
Israel.
than intuition, how you feel about things, do you have any evidence Israel
I
was involved in
have-
killing Charlie Kirk?
I have already said, and if you're watching my show and the context of what I said, this is the general sense of why people think Israel's involved. Nobody has made the claim that Israelis, there were also, obviously
Ian
Joe
Carroll
Kent.
made the claim.
Well, Joe Kent, who I think would have the right to assert it, noted that there were 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground that day. I think most people would like to probe that. Now, it could be maybe they were students, and they were Israeli students in Utah that day. But we'd like to probe that narrative because what we've seen after coming from the Israeli government, the Israeli prime minister, kind of denying that he did it, which wasn't really necessary, was quite busy. The phone call that happened, which no one wants to discuss in the Hamptons the week prior, or not the week prior, I think it was around August 5th or 6th that took place.
Mhm.
And again, the almost desperate lies about Charlie shifting opinion on Israel lead us to believe that there could be an Israeli angle in this. But we cannot say for certainty that Israel called the shots, and this is how it happened. But it is definitively, I think, a thread that a lot of us would like
Do you
to see
say there's no
pulled.
positive evidence?
Whatever you want to say, however positive, negative, however you want to say it.
Well,
I
like
don't
positive
need to, I
evidence
can just
would
have a
be
conversation.
Material evidence and other
Yeah,
evidences which would
what we've
point you
said
to it.
is on our show is what we said, which is this feels like a conspiracy building. There's no reason to lie about these things, and yet people are lying. BB ain't acting right. The Hamptons thing was weird, and the way they tried to shove the Israel narrative down our throat immediately. I mean, the day he died, posting a picture of him with an American and Israeli AI'd photo on the president's feed doesn't feel right. So,
Do you have any evidence that Erica Kirk or TPUSA participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I've never said they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk. So how could I say that I have evidence they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Okay. So then you don't believe that they did?
I never have said that statement. So I'm not going to get you to ask me personal questions about things that I've never said on record.
Okay, fair.
Your team is sending messages in the back saying they have a video they want to play.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what the video is. If you're, yes, you said that there's a video you want to play that Candace said she has full confidence Israel was involved.
Yep.
He said evidence that they killed him. I said
Go
this
ahead
is
and
why
play it,
people think
though.
their involvement.
So she
If they have the clip,
Yeah,
they
they
can
got
play
the
the
clip.
clip.
Yeah.
They're referring to a clip.
Yeah.
He's over here trying to cook taco. Sorry, guys. Hold on one
Via
second.
who? My guess is Pierre. Erica. I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence.
Okay.
I also involvement.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you
That's-
think you with full confidence you think that
Yeah, I think
that
Israel's
France
involved.
and Israel.
Yeah, I mean, the person that gave me that thing that I reported said that French Foreign Legion were on the ground that day.
Mhm.
Again, this would be at a professional limitation for me to then go and probe that information that I handed over. I can't do that. I'm not
But
the
you
United
don't have
States
any
government.
positive evidence of
Okay,
that.
okay.
right?
Liz, I don't. Can you just stop? It's
You,
actually just
Taco,
like
not
annoying to
even
hear you
your
keep
wife,
saying
bro.
positive evidence. I've just asked me what I think. I just tell you, yes, I think
Well,
they are
that's
involved.
a claim.
No, I said here's what I think.
I have every
I
right
think-
to ask you about your
Go run
claim.
Yeah,
back
And if
but
there's
I said-
positive
I-
evidence
They're
for
the
your
only
claim,
ones that
I literally
accept
just said,
you.
I
We all live in
think,
reality.
and I am allowed
And
to
we
think.
see
yeah,
it.
you're allowed to
saying, do
think,
you have
but you're making
positive
a
evidence?
claim.
I have tons of positive
grip on
evidence
your
that I'm
life,
allowed to think.
bro.
Yes.
I agree. You're allowed to think.
Okay. So
Nobody's disputing whether or not
yeah, but
Candace
like
Owens is
you're-
allowed to
you're-
think. What
you're-
I'm asking is if
but
you have
what's your issue then?
positive
What is your issue with the statement?
evidence.
I think
Uh-huh.
that Israel.
And Taco, how many
is
bitches
involved.
do you
That's
I
not
do.
what. That's not just what you said. You
How many
said
bitches have you ever
I
had
did
that
say
in
I
it's
your
think.
with
life?
it's with full
Zero.
confidence.
Yes.
Like you.
That
You
I'm
would think that
zero.
if you had full
Can you have confidence
confidence,
to think when you think?
if I said, for instance, I think I'm going to be late to work, right, with full confidence, I would say my evidence for that is that I'm 20 minutes away and I need to be there in 5. That's how you would know whether or not you had
I'm
full
just going to
confidence.
tell you something.
Hang on, hang on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Leave
Let me
Wonka
finish.
alone, bro.
If it was the case that I said I have full confidence I'm going to be late to work, I would say my evidence that I'm going to be is that work is 20 minutes away, right? And I have to be there in 5. So I have full confidence. That's why I would think that. So I'm asking if you think that Israel and France were involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and you say with full confidence, I'm just asking for the evidence, or at least walk me through the mindset of why it is that you could think that with
I actually
evidence.
don't have to walk you through why I think. I can give you something that I think with full confidence. I think with full confidence that you know you lost the substance of this debate, and now you're moving toward things that I have said that I think,
came out
which I can do. I'm
immediately.
They're
allowed to
pertinent
think
to this
that.
debate.
He tried to
Yeah,
act like
it's
him
not
and Charlie
exactly
were
pertinent to this
It's
debate.
100% pertinent.
It's not
Remember
pertinent
that I
because
had
our
to
These are
debate
claims
claims.
made about
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's the complete
But
substance of the debate.
you
So
know,
we don't
actually,
need to know
would you like
about
to remind him of
anything
what
that
our
comes
debate
out of your
claims
body,
actually
like,
were?
And would you like to remind
You
that you
said-
said I could ask you about any of these things
I
to my
said
heart's
feel
content?
free, but you do not get to structure how I'm allowed to reply or ask me
I'm
why
not
are you allowed
structuring
to
how you're
think.
allowed to reply. I'm just asking you direct questions.
I have full confidence that you do not feel that you represented your claim well. And so
Nothing
now what you came
That's
prepared
nice. I
to
just
do is
wanna
to
know-
present
Act like
yourself
you
like
know
a professor
anything
of
about
I
fallacies
just want to know.
and to say you're not allowed to say that. You can't. It's
You
my
can
podcast.
say whatever you want.
Well,
Nobody's
I said
disputing
it.
that.
It
I'm
about
seems
me.
like you are disputing
I'm
it.
asking
I think
specifically
that
why
this
you
is
think
all said
that.
and done. I've
You,
already explained to you.
Taco,
I explained at
that's
the
a
beginning of
dummy.
this
Mhm.
why I think Israel is ultimately going
France.
to be proven to have involvement in this.
Mhm.
I just explained to you in the middle, and now you're wanting me to structure the sentence or provide evidence. You don't have to. You're just allowed to think. And I've explained to you my thought process. I don't need to structure it in a sentence. If you feel like a professor today, you picked the wrong day.
Don't you think that like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people would want to know what Candace Owens' positive evidence for why it is
No,
that Israel and
we all
France were
watch her
involved
live podcast
in the most
except
traumatic
for you,
public assassination
obviously.
of Gen Z's lifetime is?
that's why they watch my podcast.
So you're just going to drip to them? Like, here's why
It's
I
not
think
dripping.
that?
Every time we come across any of these discussions, they're watching this in context and they know why I'm saying it. So, for example, when you're bringing up, Candace, where's your evidence for France doing this? I just told you someone who was high ranking in the French government, right?
Who's nameless?
Of
Taco,
course.
who
Of course.
invited you?
Of course.
Of course.
But
So there's good reason
so
to
it's not a
doubt this.
conspiracy, though, if I then took it to the federal
Don't you have
government. Like, you
anything
can't
else
just go
to
out
do
there
right now, Taco?
making a claim to the
I
federal
would've
government
thought
to get in
you'd
trouble
be
for making false
sleeping right
statements and things of
now.
that nature. So, and then you go, well, I'm going to probe
Not
that.
like
Well, how can you
would
probe that?
normally be
This
sleeping
happens
I can
to
ask
me.
you, well,
This
that's
is
not
my
what I'm probing
podcast.
specifically.
This is my podcast. I am sharing my life and my experiences and what has happened to me. And you're basically coming in like you're gonna regulate how I'm allowed to say
Nope,
it if
I'm
I'm
not trying
allowed
to
to
regulate
say it.
anything. I'm
Well,
asking very
you're
pertinent
sounding a bit
questions.
like a professor trying to regulate and say,
What the
Candace,
You sound
you
very
can't say I
defensive and
think.
like you just don't want to answer questions.
I did answer your question 3
You
times. I just
literally-
didn't say it in the way that you wanted
You
me to
just
say
kind of
it.
obfuscate and you run away from it. But I would like for you to
Let's just
actually
go through
focus on
every
it.
clip that you guys have prepared because it's pretty. I
Anyone
think with
with
full
the name of
confidence, people will
Taco Stain
recognize the
is a
strategy that you're
lame.
trying to employ.
That's how dumb you
Get to the
sound,
next clip you have
idiot.
prepared.
Sure. They can pull up whatever
Yeah,
clips
whatever
they want.
it is
yeah.
that you guys have prepared. So let's
But
go.
there, but I would still, on this point, I just want to make sure that you have full confidence that France and Israel were involved in the assassination of Charlie
I
Kirk.
think
And
The
the
only
you have
reason you
no
woke up
evidence
this
for it at
early,
all that you'll
Taco
give us.
Stain, is
Well,
because
the
it's
higher-
real
I-
hot
I
in that garage you
already
sleep
did
in,
tell
huh?
you where it came from. Like I said, I can explain
The
it to you.
cat
I
was
can't understand
Did
it
that
for
probably
same
you. So
higher
we
up
need
tell
to,
you
if we
that
need
he was
to,
going to kill,
You were
or that
like,
France
oh
killed
my
Charlie
God,
Kirk, or
I
just that
can't
you were in
sleep with
danger?
this
they said
heat.
that the
Like,
French
cat,
Foreign Legion was
you're
involved and
in
on
the
the ground
cat
that day.
space.
I've
You're in
already
the
said that.
garage.
You just
That's
don't
the
like
cat
hearing it.
space.
No.
Candace, just out of
Not vice
curiosity,
Yes.
when
versa,
you
Taco.
pass
That's
down
how
that
that
message
works.
to a Tulsi or Trump,
Tulsi's office, yes.
Tulsi's office, are you giving them
Taco
who
Stain
told you
said
that,
Candace
or you're
Owens
just saying,
might have
here's what I
swallowed.
heard from
And I
somebody?
have this information.
Sure.
And of course, if they wanted to open a file on it, which I thought was quite mysterious, that Trump's office never got back to us. It was kind of weird about maybe they're not the correct office too. I did receive a
Oh my
response
God. Yeah,
from
that's what
Tulsi Gabbard's office, but I don't think
Huachuca.
there was ever
Yeah,
any
that's what I was
investigation
saying,
into what
Red.
I
Got it.
said.
So the call
How you
was,
pronounce it. Yeah, I
hey,
forgot.
I've been
Emails.
told
It's-
the email.
Yes.
Email was,
And
I've
that-
been
those
told
I have
planes were
somebody.
flying
information.
everywhere that
Yeah,
Eric
that
Kirk was going
that the
too.
French Foreign
Remember that?
Legion was on the ground during
about that,
Charlie's
Red.
assassination, and that it was a lot of information, but
Well, you
Yeah,
didn't give
Lou Magoo,
specifics
yeah,
who
yeah.
it was from.
not in the first email because I figured
Yeah.
they would
Perfect.
yeah.
So if
That's
they
who put
do
a hit out
contact
on
you,
Candace. was
100
are you
yes.
comfortable giving
French
100% who it is?
If I'm not mistaken.
I would absolutely give them as much
And
information
can I
as
ask a
possible.
question? If whoever's the U.S. government, why are you not?
Yes, it's very strange to me.
You know, so if that's the case, now they may respond back and say we did. You know, that's their position.
I did.
I'm
That's
not
why I
involved.
did it in writing.
And so I'm glad that's the case
Yes.
because so if they
And
do
right
ask
away in
you,
Trump's office, his Margot got right back to me. She said it was on his desk, so he has that. There's no.
and if you do say that and they
Mhm.
contact that individual, obviously you don't have to leak your sources here.
Mhm.
Is there enough credibility where that person would be willing to talk to them and explain to them exactly what their sources
Yes,
are? Okay. I mean, that's,
it seems reasonable. And so why he's asking me to defend that is
I'm not. Never
I
did.
think those are two different things. That's more
Two
something I
totally
asked them
different
to say,
claims.
why are they not reaching out to you?
You think Eric
I've
Kirk
asked
is
that many
watching
times
this
on my
and she's, like,
podcast.
so mad
What
right
do you think
now?
about that, Andrew?
I
What?
fucking hate
The fact
Candace
that she
Owens.
emailed, she
Sounds
gave
like
it,
something
and nobody
right.
reached out to want to contact the
My
source.
cat.
that she's
Probably
willing
didn't
to
think it
share.
was actionable. Is my
Eric
guess.
Kirk
But
is
even if they
sounding
did
right
think it
now.
was actionable, great.
Kirk
Every
is
lead should
sounding
be
like
followed up
Taco
on
Stain in my
within
chat
the
right now.
confines of what's rational and
I
reasonable.
hate
Is it fair to
Candace
say
Owens.
that this is maybe a
You believe
different
Candace
individual
Owens
because
is
this
the
is a person
lame.
that was involved with TPUSA
Well, we
and had a
don't-
relationship
Wait,
with Charlie?
who?
No, her
Bro.
relationship. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just anybody. So if an average person sends it, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know who the source is.
We
We
don't-
don't know
yeah.
any
Well,
of
then,
this.
if you were in that department, wouldn't you want to, even you assign it to one of your
There's
guys
no
to
guarantee
say,
they didn't look into it. How do we know? We don't
How
know.
could they
No,
if
how
they didn't
could they
come
if
get
she didn't give it
the
to them?
information, more of the information? Because it
And
was a
by the way,
long file.
Yeah.
This is a separate. This has
Did
got
you send
nothing to
them
do
the
with the
guy's
debate.
name?
This is more on.
Well, I sent the email, assuming that's you kept saying like you go and you make a report. You think they're going to come back to you and say, "Hey, what's more information? We're investigating this," and that didn't happen, which is what I raised.
No,
I
I'm
found
asking,
that,
did you send them the
especially
source of
because
the
this was
claim?
at a time where they were saying that they wanted to explore every possible lead. I even texted Dan Bongino.
But did you?
So actually, it was three offices:
Let me ask one
the
question. and then
executive
I'm gonna cut
office,
you.
Dan Bongino,
Yeah.
and Tulsi Gabbard's office.
Okay, so a follow up to that is the following:
Mhm.
if they contact you to say, is that specifically to the French government or Israel's involvement in the killing of Charlie Kirk?
That wasn't about
Those
Israel.
are two separate things.
That wasn't about Israel. It was
Okay,
they were
got it.
saying the French foreign, that person as a part of it was saying that it was the French Foreign Legion that was on the ground that
So
day.
I'm
And I
surprised that
think
called.
then I found that to be very strange too.
I do as well.
Because who would want to make a report? Like, I mean, I've never
But-
made a report with the federal
but when
Let me
you
government.
ask one
did-
question.
but
Let me
when you
just
did
ask one
send
question.
Mhm.
Let me just ask one
Okay.
question, and I'm going to bring
Okay.
it to you.
Sure.
The question is in regards to. I've not seen that clip, so I'm seeing it now.
Mhm.
I'm full confidence. I believe that
Mhm.
Israel and French was involved. Is that also based on a source that somebody told you that Israel was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, or is that a gut feeling?
So in terms of Israel, I mean, what I've said is what I publicly have said here. I do think that at the end of this, we are going to find that Israel was involved. I do. Now, in terms of any of the hard evidence that's been presented, I think this has been a huge problem that a lot of us have had is that
Mhm.
they won't even
You have a
explore
character?
anything else that was going on in Charlie's life personally. So if
Base
we're not
11 is a
satisfied that
trailer
Tyler
park. What's
Robinson
your
did this in
character?
any way, then every alternative theory should be explored. Other evidence should be brought forward. We've done that in our capacity. Like when people keep saying she has no evidence, it's kind of
Nicole,
crazy. I
you're
think we've
not
broken
accepted.
like more stories than any news
Nicole
source in the world. I
doesn't
mean, down
count.
to pictures, details, police officers, what the dog's name was, because we're not the only people that believe there's a conspiracy here. The police officers that were involved, the many police, sheriff's offices, that were departments that were involved that day, all believe there was a conspiracy. Down to the U.S. Marshals believe there was a conspiracy. They were my sources at the U.S. Marshals were saying they were basically sent on a wild goose chase that day.
But do you see how you say my
Yes,
sources?
Lou Magoo, yep.
You're
Am I not allowed to have sources?
Well,
Like
the thing is funny.
So is CNN allowed to have
Well,
sources?
hang on. I
but
have
we can't-
sources. If I said I have sources that claim none of that's true. In fact, my sources claim that her sources are lying. My sources claim that there is none of them believe that there's a conspiracy. My sources
And
claim
where's your
all of them really think that
Where's
Tyler
your
Robinson was a lone gunman. If I just said that as hypothetical, wouldn't you say what?
Yeah, I think what probably adds weight is like then when I drop photos of the car that no one was supposed to see,
Facts.
people go, okay, her sources are legit. So, and then when what I say is then proven in court and nobody knew those things, people are
Yep.
recognizing that my sources are legit. When I say Charlie was scared in the last days, and then I dropped the text message, which you've just learned about a couple of weeks ago, of him saying he was leading the pro-Israel cause when everyone was lying about that, then they say, I think Candace's sources are legit. So I think what's happened is I've actually built up a rapport with my audience that it's not vibes and dreams, and that's why they keep watching my content, because like, for example, when I just the other day released the content of the shooter on the roof doing the lateral crawl, then they're going, I don't think these are just vibes. It seems like Candace's sources are legit. So I've proven myself in the market.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that would legitimize your sources as being legitimate when it comes to the idea that, oh, they all
do you
believe
have?
that there's a conspiracy going on, which is actually what your claim is now. How
Well,
would that
I was
actually,
just-
hang on, I'm almost done.
Not
How
I
would
was
that-
talking to PVD.
How
but
would
I'm
that
good.
legitimize? Well, it's not his debate. How would it legitimize these sources that even if it's the case that you get some court footage or some things like this, why would it legitimize that your sources are telling you all the marshals believe it's a conspiracy, all the
Right,
police
right,
believe it's a
Lou Magoo,
conspiracy,
right,
everybody believes it? How would that legitimize
Well,
any
what
of
I
that?
am saying to you, and you are not forced to believe it. So let me just explain what I was answering here, and I think that you understood what I was saying.
Lou Magoo big time?
Is I have,
You read?
because people trust me,
Totally agree.
compiled a lot of information and presented it to the public, and this information has been proven true. We've presented photos, we have presented videos, never before seen stuff. The public has never seen it. And so what that does is your audience goes, okay, when she says that she has these sources, clearly she's telling the truth. Now, whether you would then go, well, I'm going to believe her when she says they think that there's a conspiracy, that's up to you. You cannot watch my content. I'm not here to tell you that you have to watch my content or believe everything I'm saying.
Well, don't you
But
think
I am-
questioners should get questioned as well?
Red facts.
By who? I'm not committing a crime, am I? If I just like saying what
Well,
I
I
think and
mean,
collecting
aren't
evidence.
most of the people you ask questions of not actually committing crimes?
But what do you mean they should answer questions where? Like at a police station? Like what
No,
are you
just
saying?
like if you want people to come in and answer questions for you. I have questions about this in the investigation. I have questions about this. I have questions about
feel
that.
like
You want them to
Erica
answer your
Kirk
questions.
Doesn't have any
Doesn't it
questions
seem
that she
totally
should
fair that
be
you
having.
answer back the questions people have for you?
Well, they're not answering our questions. So it's also fair that they don't answer them.
For real.
So you're
That's why I
okay.
said
So I just
Andrew
want to.
Colvett should be in this chair. He's not.
But
That's
isn't
his
that a
prerogative.
double? But
Oh.
isn't that a double standard?
No, it's not,
Drew
because he's
says
not
timing
doing
means
it.
nothing.
Yeah, but
I
that would
feel
still be a
like
double standard.
agree
If
with
you're
Red.
if you're
Timing
requesting
is
that he does do it, then
Mhm.
that seems to infer that you think he owes you answers.
Oh, so inferences are allowed
Because
again?
And
Candace
they
is
never
very
weren't. So that seems
strategic
to infer
in when
that
she
you
drops
think that he owes
evidence.
you answers. If
She's
that's the
very
case, then don't you owe answers?
Yeah, well, I
strategic what
feel
she
like
does.
I'm
feel
answering
like.
your questions and his questions about. I mean, I'm talking about Andrew Colbert. His position is he's a spokesperson for Turning Point USA.
Uh huh.
So when the crowd turns against Turning Point USA on the basis of a lack of information or
Yeah.
because there has been, I don't know, seeds sown of distrust, I would imagine, and forget answering my questions because it doesn't need to be me.
But aren't you sowing a lot of those seeds of distrust?
Well, I think they're doing a pretty good job themselves, if I'm being honest. You can blame it on Candace all you want.
Well,
People love to do
the
that.
thing's funny is
People
like,
act like I'm
I think
ground
their
zero.
PR
I
I'll
think
be fair with you.
I'm ground zero of people
I
not
think-
trusting Turning Point USA.
I think that there was
actually
some
kind of
PR there.
last.
I think there was some PR there. Sure, they could have done better. Absolutely. I'm not disputing any of that. One thing though that I want to just directly ask you is, do you actually believe that anybody in TPUSA or Erica Kirk or Erica actually participated, had foreknowledge of, or facilitated the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I'm not going to get myself into a legal pickle here. Everything I've said is on my podcast.
How would that get you in a legal
I think
pickle?
firmly that if I was the investigating officers, I would seat them all and I would ask questions. I
Oh,
would
you
at
talking
this
about
phase.
Candace
would.
Lumagoo? I'm gonna have to totally.
Okay,
So
but what
I'm
does
using a
that mean?
hypothetical.
Does that mean that you do think so?
I think
I
it was
feel
not a
like
sufficient investigation
You probably don't
into
watch
what is
Candace's
what we know to be
content
true of
because
80%
what you're
of
saying
homicides.
coincides
It's
with what she
usually
has
conducted by
brought
someone you
to
know,
light.
right? And the fact that that was never even considered, that like I said earlier, the backpack was returned
How do you know that
that-
was never considered?
because they gave back the backpack as just one
Why she
example.
was at
They gave
Fort
back the backpack. They
Chihuahua
gave
or
back
whatever it's
the
called?
That
what
doesn't
you're
show
talking
a
about?
conspiracy.
well, I mean, it shows that the police trusted everybody and didn't just hold things up for a
Yeah, they
second. and
ruled them out as suspects.
that quickly. I'm not comfortable with that investigation. It's a pretty big organization. There's $100 million incentive. This is
What $100 million incentive?
what I'm saying is his organization, like it had grown to, I think it was 100 million
Plus per year.
Yeah, per year. If that's
Right.
what you want back.
Yeah,
if
but
that's
what was
fine.
the-
Your
what-
team wants to play video.
Donor.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a video they want to play of Candace said it's
Machete,
impossible to
what's
not
up?
believe Erica's complicit. If you guys want to play that video.
That's also just asking.
And so
but
right
sure.
now, their guys are going out and they're going to look for evidence. And then by May, which is fortunately around the corner, then she'll
So
see
that was on
what
the
they
other
found.
platform
So
earlier.
what the F
prior
is
to
that
this.
performance? How could you sit up there and say, yes, I 100% believe Tyler Robinson did it. That right there is why it is impossible for me to think that Erica Kirk is not complicit somehow. Because what
Those two thoughts actually don't even follow. How would it be the case that even if Erica Kirk did believe that Tyler Robinson was 100% responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk, let's just say she
openly
believed it with every
admitted
fiber of
to
her
that.
being, believed all the evidence, because she did. She just actually did. Would it then follow that somehow she's complicit in his death?
I didn't say implicit in death.
Hold on a sec.
You added those two words.
Okay.
Okay, so what's she complicit in?
Yes. So sowing this narrative that Tyler Robinson is guilty. So you're chopping up clips. Like I said, you didn't have the confidence to
Okay,
come
well,
in
tell
debate.
me,
So
what
now
does
you're
that mean?
chopping
What
it
does
up.
complicit mean?
We are showing a clip of her on Barry Weiss, which I can't remember the date that she did that interview.
Mhm.
And Erica, when she is asked, "Are you one? Do you feel with 100% certainty that Tyler Robinson did this?" And she says, "I do." Then again, context matters. I sit down with Erica for 4 hours under the assumption that she had some evidence, right? Like I'm like, I actually, this is why I did not engage in any like Erica, everyone's questioning what she's wearing and all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to wait here because I don't know, just it feels weird to think that, did I think that some of her mannerisms were weird and stuff like that? Yeah, but that's not, you can't convict somebody on weird mannerisms. And then when I sat down with her and I was expecting for her to say, well, you know, I'm obviously the victim on the case and we got to see the shot, you know, taken or this or that, whatever it is. Great. You know, that's why she has that much confidence 2 months ago. And when I sat down with her, it was nothing. It was nothing. Okay. So this is a conversation.
How would that make her complicit?
Complicit. And again, you said complicit in the death of Charlie
Complicit
Kirk.
in what? Yeah.
Well, if you let me finish my sentence, I could tell you that. But my point being is that then you take a look at this and you go, okay, well, this is weird. Why would you have this confidence? And then when you sit across from somebody and you say, okay, great, I want to go out there and defend you now. I want people to know that you can't say this stuff publicly, but you know more things. And she just blanks. And then she says, well, I'm going to call the lawyer. And she called the lawyer. Again, all of this is on my show. So out of context clips is not going to work because I know what I say on my show. Okay. So we call her lawyer and her lawyer says to us, she calls him on the phone, pardon me. And it's me, her, and Justin Strife. And I'm like, okay, great. What do you guys have? He goes, well, we don't have anything yet. We're not at that phase yet. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't have anything? And he says, well, don't you know how it works? It's a probable cause hearing. So basically the state says that they're going to bring this forward. And now our people go out and they look for the evidence to assert that Tyler Robinson is guilty. And so I asked her directly, her lawyer directly, the phone's in between us. I'm like, wait, so just so I'm clear, you haven't seen anything that the public hasn't seen? And he says, no. So I'm going back in my head and I'm going, okay, so why is Erica saying with such a degree of certainty, like she was sent out to convince the public and people bit, by the way. I remember even Megyn Kelly was like, let's wait. She's going to have access to things. I did think she had access to things that we didn't have. Why express that confidence to the public as opposed to just being like, we don't know yet. I feel confident he's involved. They made an arrest.
I don't understand. How would any of this make her complicit? And in what?
Well, I've already told you. She's complicit in trying to fool the public into thinking this is some open and shut case.
How is she trying to fool the public into this? If she believes
don't look anywhere else.
That Tyler Robinson killed Kirk, if she believes that, how would that be complicit in anything?
I do.
Are you saying that you think she doesn't believe it?
I don't believe that at that stage she sat down with Barry Weiss that's what she believes. No, but that's my opinion.
Right, but so when you just say complicit, you just mean she believes that Tyler Robinson killed Kirk.
Yeah,
that's it.
Correct.
That's what we were talking about. That's why I said if your strategy was to dice up clips and take it out of context and make it seem like I said she was complicit.
Everything.
Yeah, but then why not just play the full thing? Like why?
Because we don't have like infinite amounts of time. I'm guessing you probably don't want to watch.
I'm going to go back to my theory that you didn't feel confident that you could defend your claim that it was overwhelming evidence. So now you're trying to move towards doctored clips and getting me to respond to it.
Well, there's no doctored anything. I'm just making sure that we got this right.
Yes,
that what you're actually saying is that Erica
was
complicit in believing
when I re-examined her actions 11, 12 backward months because I did not have this perspective of her at the beginning, which is why it's so funny to me that you guys make it seem like I'm ground zero. People thought Erica was sus from day I forgive him. And I was not a part of that. I did not lean into that. I did not contribute to that. I was getting actually terrible messages from my fans being like, Candace, you and Charlie always say to go with your intuition. You won't address this, how we all feel about her.
Yeah,
things changed for me when I saw that Zoom call. I will tell you that for sure. And the fact that she lied to me. So I sat across from her and, I wanted to have that conversation publicly, but they're probably grateful they didn't do it publicly. She told me some lies. And so the next thing that happens naturally when somebody lies to you, when any person lies to you, whether it's a toddler, people only lie when they're trying to obscure something else.
Have you addressed what that lie was?
Yeah, I've talked about, we have a list of lies that we've been told by, we can find that,
in
I'm
the
sure.
meeting with her.
Well, no, I didn't want her to cage up. I didn't want to do this, and because I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know if she was going to be like, I'm so overwhelmed with everything, and I don't know who to trust the organization, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like I didn't know. I didn't want to.
Just out of curiosity, before anything happened with Charlie, how close were you and Erica?
Not very close.
So there's not a relationship.
No, I would say it's totally normal. Like it's not like there was any issues at all. We were always nice to each other. It just is our life went to a different phase, right? So Charlie and I hitting the ground, running around, traveling 4 days a week. Now I get married. I find love of my life. I get married and I get pregnant. I haven't stopped being pregnant. And what you want out of life changes. You don't want to be running around for 4 days a week and traveling on a plane nonstop, you suddenly want to start
But
building at home and
let's
live.
not
I
forget that
was
Charlie was
desiring
going to
that
have
suburban
her
life.
on
Did you guys ever do
tour
the double dates? You,
before
George, her,
he
and Charlie? Was there
was
ever double
assassinated.
dates between the
Oh,
He had
four of
already
you?
I
put her
was
on tour for the
engaged
whole
to George
debate
quickly. We were planning our wedding. I
this
was kind of in my
season or
bubble
whatever.
with George.
That
George
season.
traveled with me and Charlie, but Erica and him were just starting to date at the beginning of 2019. George and I were planning our marriage.
Mhm.
So George really got to know Charlie. I wouldn't
He
say that I
was
really got to know
literally
Erica.
there
I was
when
just
she
rooting
met
for
her
them because
husband.
I knew how much Charlie wanted to, find love. And so I was kind of his wing woman throughout that phase. And I was just happy. And never was under the impression, obviously, that they were going to get married when they were dating. So it wasn't like I was conscious, I really need to get to know this person. And so it was just kind of normal that by that time, because of where I was in my life, that I wasn't spending any time getting to know Erica
So,
per
so,
se.
so the complicit part about Erica to you, is that a gut feeling? You think
It transformed when she lied.
you can take the lead? I'm just asking questions.
Yes.
If
Yeah,
you
I
want
mean,
to
well,
interrupt, go for it.
I actually don't I still don't understand what you think she's complicit in.
Yeah. So when I say Erica's complicit, that's my opinion. When you tweeted Erica's too retarded to kill her husband,
Yeah.
would you like to explain how you developed your evidence, your positive evidence for the fact that Erica was retarded?
Yeah, sure. So
Yeah.
I just think all women are retarded.
Oh, so you're allowed
But
to
oh
just
my
say
goodness,
stuff.
she
Who
didn't
knew?
introduce
So
it as
just
by the
asked
way,
me.
and
Like,
what dramatically
He actually
transformed
brought
your opinion of
facts.
Erica after
big time fact.
going to the headquarters? Because you were pretty hostile about.
I wasn't hostile towards them.
You don't think calling somebody too retarded
No.
is?
Yeah,
Come
and they've
on.
never been
That's
debunked.
like normal
Have
tongue-in-cheek
never
stuff for
been
me
debunked.
online.
Oh, you're being tongue in
And
cheek.
this is a clear
Usually when I call
example.
someone retarded, I'm being
He's trying to
tongue-in-cheek.
debunk all these
Like, for
things that he
instance,
can't.
you got supporters. I mean, if you want to use the same exact argument, you would take a supporter like Owen Benjamin.
Yeah, and the
He
fingerprints.
called you
that
bad
were
names
not
and
Tyler
and
Robinson
called your husband bad
fingerprints,
names.
everybody
Are you
else's.
you're just like, well, it's no biggie?
I've never answered him on anything that he said. I'm saying that you now are her biggest defender. So do you still think
I'm
she's
not
too?
her biggest defender.
Do you still think she's too retarded?
No. I didn't know Erica Kirk. I'd never met her before.
Okay, but you had an issue with Turning Point being led by a bunch of fembots talking about
Still
the
do.
feminist angle,
Still do.
and then suddenly you go to the
Still think it's
headquarters.
a terrible idea.
You go into the headquarters.
Mhm.
Now all of a sudden you've got text messages that you're sharing with them. You say that you and your wife are getting involved with management.
No. I'm not involved in any management at Turning Point.
Well,
USA.
I'm pretty sure there is a clip of you where you say that your wife went to their recent conference and sat down, and then when you were on Joe Rogan.
No. Hang on. I'll explain what happened just so that you understand.
Yeah.
So I was invited there to do some debate training. That's literally what I was invited there to do on recommendation. So I went down and did some debate. That's the first time I ever met anybody at TPUSA.
Okay, and then you said you sat down with Erica.
Well, I didn't sit down to her. I talked to her in a hallway.
He hugged her.
So you
He
didn't
told
sit
us.
down and speak with Erica?
No, I didn't have like some
us he
sit down
hugged
long
her.
conversation. We talked in a hallway.
Okay.
For,
Is
I
that
don't
when you
know,
gave her the
maybe-
hug?
Yeah, gave her the hug right there.
Thank you.
My wife did too. We were both very
Yeah, I
sorry.
know
for what
everything.
happened.
Okay,
about
so
that
at what
shit,
point
too.
did you start receiving text messages from that you cited in your opening statement?
Oh,
that
I
you-
just reached out to TPUSA and said, I'm prepping for a debate. Is there anything that's pertinent?
Where did
that
the
I can use here.
$300,000
find it
come from?
interesting
and
that
Will
people have been
Smith.
asking for, basic answers to questions, and you're saying that you walked into their headquarters and reached out and they
It's
instantly.
amazing, isn't it? If you reach out in good faith and you're not demonizing them and saying that they're complicit in the murder of people's deaths, that perhaps they're actually willing to release things to you that are pertinent, other than thinking that, perhaps you're diabolical.
Well, I don't know. I,
and
just
don't
think,
have the
I
best
feel like if I was
intentions.
going to release that information, I didn't demand that it be released to me. I actually
Right.
never demanded that it be released. I just simply said that this is what was going on in the last 48 hours. Maybe to the media, they could release it. They could release it to PBD. They decided to release it to a guy that called Erica too retarded in June.
So what?
Yeah, I just think it kind of shows that Turning Point is sending you as their horse.
Well, I don't
They
know
just
where
don't have
I
the
don't know where
courage to
you-
have the conversation.
I don't.
If they
see
were
this-
just releasing something in
Let
good
me ask
faith
you a
to
question.
answer
Do
questions,
you have any
I've never
evidence of that
demanded.
claim?
It's not evidence.
No.
You're sharing your opinion
No.
that she's too retarded. I can't share my
Uh-huh.
opinion that I think it's
Well,
going to
I never
register
met the
as
chick.
really obvious to the
Yeah.
public that rather than presenting that throughout the course of everybody wanting to know what Charlie was going through his last days, they decided to give it to you to come to my house as some sort of a surprise.
Well,
do you think the public's not smart enough to see through that?
Do you think that if
It's
you
talking
know
about terrible PR,
if you know that there's a huge debate that's coming up that's going to be probably one of the most viewed that year, and one of the debaters calls you and says, I'm taking this position, this is the position that I feel like there's the most evidence for, and Candace also agreed to answer many of my questions in regards to this. So if you got pertinent evidence here that I can use, I definitely like take a look.
What is
It was actually amazing to me. It really was actually amazing to me how if you approach people in good faith and just say, hey, I'd actually like to know what the facts and details are around this, they actually do talk to you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just do not believe that they are doing this in good faith. I don't believe that anything you have done has demonstrated that's in good faith. It demonstrates that you walked into Turning Point USA headquarters and came out a different man because you were critical of the organization. You were critical of Erica, and now you're sitting here going, Candace, I want to interrogate you for an hour and a half about everything you've ever said about Erica. Have you ever been
critical of somebody that you hadn't met, and then you meet them and you're less critical of them?
And the inverse has happened too. I was less critical about Erica, and now I'm more critical about her.
But I'm asking you, isn't it the case that there's people you've been critical of, and then you've met them, and you're less critical after you meet them?
Too retarded. I feel like if you think that she's dumb and let's just talk about your record. I mean, you're a person that has spent time in what most people would term to be the manosphere, talking about well, yeah.
I debate against
against feminists
and red pillars, and a lot of the actual. So I'm a Christian ethicist,
and then you go on to Joe Rogan, and you're like soft explaining away why Erica had to take over Charlie's company when they don't have a parent at home. So now you're a feminist icon. Like you just go into the headquarters and you just shift all of your perspectives.
That's a bizarre criticism. Like nobody's in a bigger girl boss position than you.
I'm actually
you're in the biggest of the girl boss positions. Like you don't have to do this. You just do this. You could definitely not do it at all and be fine, right? But you still do.
I would say that you are making a comparison that cannot be compared because Erica's husband was just assassinated in front of the world.
Which makes sense. Why should we take the organization over?
No, it makes sense why you would go home to your kids, just so you know.
Wait a second. That's bizarre.
Yeah, because they don't have a parent. They don't have a parent. They've just suffered a trauma. You don't go into the office.
You want to protect your husband's legacy, right? And you're trying to find some new normal.
The legacy is his children, not the organization.
It's both.
No.
Yes, it is both. It's totally rational and reasonable to believe that it would be both Turning Point USA that is part of Charlie Kirk's legacy. He worked his whole life for it.
This is why people think she's sus.
And his children. Now, for you, though, to say that anybody's a girl boss, right? That's like the pot calling the kettle black.
That came out of your mouth.
No, that was you. Correct. You brought up girl boss.
Girl boss came out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm telling you that you brought up this idea that I'm defending some feminist nonsense. I'm not. I'm pointing out that they're. By the way,
she's not qualified to take over his company.
There's always objective outliers to each situation. In fact, it's the exception that proves the rule. And the interesting thing here is I'm still just as critical of feminism inside of TPUSA as I've always been. And I'm just as critical of any pro-Zionist position as I've ever been. None of that's ever changed. By the way, I would think it's the most rational, reasonable thing on planet Earth to do if you wanted to actually see an organization change, to try to work with leadership or reach out to leadership to try to do so. Doesn't that make the most sense?
I would like to state for the record that I think Erica is underqualified.
Young podcasters
to run the organization and on the more emotional aspects. I agree with what seems to be a majority opinion.
Let's not forget about that.
It's scientific that any woman that would leave her kids and go right into the office after their husband was publicly assassinated does not have their priorities straight.
Okay, well, I understand that you can have those criticisms, but I'm not understanding still how that would make her complicit.
I don't have to keep answering the same question.
Okay,
so
let's feel like you got an answer to how it's complicit.
Your team is asking to play a clip, so if we want to play this clip to just finish this segment on the Erica Kirk topic, we can spend some time on that as well. Okay. So if you guys are ready in the back, we're ready.
And causing that 30-06 diameter, as would happen with a patent explosives, as we've demonstrated to you in the past, it accidentally, because of how Charlie was crouched, went up and hit his neck. And that ruined everything. That ruined everything. It was problematic. It's the reason why Terrell then had to scramble to get the cameras down, because they were never supposed to see it. They could have said reasonably that a 30-06 got eaten by Charlie, much more reasonably, obviously, than saying that the chicken bones in his neck stopped it because he ate vegetables. They panicked. That was what then, that's why Terrell's nervous on the phone with me. Again, this is my theory, and I am now very much sticking to it. Okay. They panicked. It's the reason Erica had to step out. That's why she would have gotten on the phone with Terrell so quickly, because I was going, why is Terrell saying, well, I didn't want Erica to relive. Oh, that's why I did it. He didn't have an answer. He was nervous. It was crazy. But he acknowledged it. He spoke to Erica immediately. Why did you speak to Erica immediately?
So do you believe that there was a shape charge that killed Charlie?
Hey, can I ask you why you keep starting clips mid-sentence?
They clearly
Probably
were.
to get to where the clip is.
No, it doesn't seem that way, because you can always start a clip at the beginning of a sentence. Like you're just it's completely out of context.
Wait,
But
I didn't
so
prepare the
in
clips, but
yeah, I think
I didn't. But it's fine to ask it to back it
Like
up.
I said, I don't need to say what's happening here because the internet will clock it. But in this episode, we are now going, and that's why I said we're now going to look at some alternative theories. I made it very clear that this was a theory that I didn't want to look at. This is, I believe, because I don't have every episode in my head, but I'm pretty sure this is an episode where we presented the evidence that was in the car, the photos of what was in the car, right? And so we are now inferring off of what we see in the car that this very much does look like that we see a bunch of shattered Rode microphone, which was an early theory that I was actually interested in, but couldn't really wrap my head around what was the shape charge explosive. As I say at the beginning of the episode, it was just not my expertise. And I was concerning myself with timelines and stories and statements that didn't make sense. Without question, Terrell Farnsworth is someone who made me think that we were missing a big part of the story. So I'm walking them through John Bray's theory. If we started to insert what we are actually observing with the evidence that we're taking a look at and what took place that day. So we're completely in the hypothetical right here. And you're now introducing this.
If that's the case, if you're just hypothetically exploring it, that's why I'm just asking directly.
Yes, but that's obvious when you watch this episode. So that's why it feels like I'm in the middle of an interview with CNN when they pull up random clips and they're like, "What's this? What's this?" You watch the episode, you know what it is. I'm just trying to make
sure. Do you think that your alternative theory?
I think John Bray's theory should be explored. Yes.
Okay. Do you think that Charlie Kirk was killed with an explosive?
I think that is a possibility. Yes.
Okay.
And it should be explored. He's done a lot of work on it. John Bray has done good work, and I think that that's why that theory is now starting to gain steam since we released the second set of the photos of what was in the car. I think it's viable.
So this was the big thing I wanted to get into with you on the explosives too. Mm-hmm. What is it about that theory that's actually compelling to you? So I looked into the explosive mic theory multiple times, and the biggest thing that stood out to me is there's no explosion. there's literally no explosion. In fact, there's videos when the shot rings out that kills Charlie. At least it sounds like a shot to me. People are actually looking up towards where the gun is being fired. They're looking away for where the sound is. Where's the actual explosion?
Well, for every person that you say looks away, there's going to be a person that was looking forward. We have former Marines that have gotten on and said, it looks to me like there's an explosion under his shirt, right? You obviously saw Rob O'Neill go on to, I'm forgetting which platform it was, where he said, the first thing I thought was it looked
Rob
like
O'Neill is the man that killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, and I think he's qualified to say what he believes he saw. We should actually, since they're pulling clips, we should run that clip of Rob O'Neill and what he said and what he observed and his experience. So I'm going to take that. And also there were people who immediately spoke to the media that day who said the same thing, that they thought that something happened under his shirt. That was actually, if you go back to my first episode when I was just observing what I saw with my eyes, I was asking the serious question. I was seriously saying, why is it like somebody shot him from underneath? Why is his shirt moving first? It doesn't make sense to me. And that's
because of air dispersal from the bullet. So whenever a bullet is shot, a projectile shot, you can actually run this experiment yourself if you have a rifle. Mm-hmm. Take an empty box of ammunition and put it on the table, and then fire it near the muzzle, and that box will actually blow off the table.
Okay, so question for you: does that box go sideways off the table?
It can.
it can.
Yeah, you can. It depends on the dispersal.
3,000 pounds of energy or 2,000 pounds of energy coming at you. That's how much it carries.
Well, it's not
30
2,000 pounds of energy.
we can fact check that.
That's-
How many pounds of energy is it? A 30-6 being shot 150 yards away. That's a great question for Grok. I'm going to say when we looked at it, it was between 1,500 and 2,000. I'm pretty sure pounds of energy coming at you, and you just go upward and to the side. I don't really buy that. I'm going to just say I just think that that's not
but
possible. It doesn't go through on top of that. So there's another miracle. You didn't get blown backwards. It didn't go through. But I also want to say that you're saying this can happen, and Rob O'Neill is infinitely more qualified, I think, to speak on that.
Why?
And because he's actually shot and killed people.
Why would that have anything to do with anything?
Because
did he slow down all the videos of the people he shot to see if their clothes moved?
There was
why are you able to assert your position
because I'm gonna tell you how projectiles work. He's not even gonna I guarantee you this guy's not even gonna disagree with what I'm about to say. If it is the case that you have energy and you have mass and the mass is moving in the air has to go somewhere. It doesn't have a choice.
I think you're totally BSing right now, man.
Not only am I not BSing, I'm telling you the truth. If a bullet,
everybody on YouTube
air has to move out of way of bullet.
But maybe not at the bottom of a shirt here. I don't know. I disagree with that. I'd like to say for the record, I've watched some of you do these sorts of things where you assert something with a lot of confidence, and
you can fact check it.
Fact
check if bullets displace air.
Not about whether it displaced air; it's where it dispersed the air. Underneath his shirt here.
It's not underneath the shirt.
The bullet's this big, and you're telling me it's going to hit his neck,
Candace,
and then
it's not underneath the shirt. It starts up here, and the collar's moving, and then you see the wave here as he's moving backwards.
No.
Yeah,
that's not true.
It's not.
And we obviously can't show that clip. I disagree with you.
Okay, I understand you can't show it for TOS purposes.
Exactly. I disagree with you. People can go watch and make up their own minds. We don't need to debate it. Whether or not that was the first thing I said was, why is his shirt moving first? That didn't make sense to me. It almost looks just like this. It goes across. His necklace breaks first before Charlie even reacts. If you watch it in slow, his necklace breaks first, which I thought was very odd. And then you see a puff here, and the next thing you know, there's the entry wound on his neck. I would not confidently assert that I see smoke. I've never said it on my platform.
You think that an explosion generally has smoke?
Yep. I was saying that earlier too.
I don't think that there's any quality version of video that would get us to be able to answer that question other than Terrell's 4K footage that he has from the front. So
there's a lot of if you look at the Israeli pagers, it's assumed
not to mention
it's a similar, if not the same type of explosive that was used inside the pagers.
Pastor Dad lying about the events that occurred.
I think that you should, since you love debating, you should debate someone like John Bray, who's worked on that theory for 11 months, and ask those sorts of questions of how a shaped charge would work. I presented the evidence of what was in the car, and I also, at that episode that you're clipping, said John Bray has done an unbelievable amount of work on this, and I think he has debated a ton of people actually regarding this topic. So that's the route that I would send you on. For the purposes of my show, I do believe, to answer your question, that it is a hypothetical. I mean, that it is a theory that should be thoroughly explored.
There's two clips your team wants to show. One of them is the Rob O'Neill clip, since we're on it. So if you guys are ready in the back before we go to ad break, if you want to pull it up, this is a good time to do so.
Oh my God. Potty break, everybody.
A lot of things bothers me about this. Nothing in particular. It's not like I'm out there saying big lie or conspiracy or someone did it. I'm just saying I've been in a lot of shootings. I've killed more than a handful of people, and this thing looked shady off the bat. I mean, I'd kill people closer than I saw the camera, and I've never seen a shirt move like that. That looks like an explosion to me. Just the fact that no one started doing first aid to Charlie Kirk, they were more concerned about getting SIM cards out of cameras, removing cameras, and then getting him off the X somehow. There didn't seem a lot of concern for his life. It seemed like just clean it up. And then, I mean, I've been told they paved it over a couple days later. And then you get Erica Kirk behind all the razzle dazzle, and she's really quick to forgive the alleged shooter, which technically says that was him because I forgive him, but that you can't forgive Candace Owens for having an opinion or asking questions. And they mock people by saying, "Oh, I'm just asking questions." Yeah, I'm a SEAL Team 6 sniper. I'm asking a lot of questions.
And the crazy part is this: Charlie Kirk like
actually
his
said very
whole
little about the
Charlie
explosive
Kirk's
there.
whole thing
So
was
I'm
he
just
always
saying he
starts-
questioning
observed. He said
everything.
he's shot people up close,
Yeah.
and he's
His
never seen a
own
shirt
wife
No
move
and
like
his
dispute.
that, and it
he's
looked to him
running
like
his
an
company
explosive.
now.
That's
No,
what he
no
just said.
dispute. But
Do the
when I
simple
play that
things
video
he
at full
stood by,
speed,
that's what his whole
I can't see a shirt moving.
whole
I can only
everything
see a
was
shirt
about
moving when
that.
we slow it
And
way
they
down.
can't even
So if I'm in real time, I'm just assuming
they can't
this,
even
right? I mean,
uphold
if I was in
everything
real
that he
time
stood
and I was
for.
in
It
like a
just
close
doesn't make
quarters
no sense.
combat, you kill somebody situation, and I shot them, would you even see the shirt move?
Well, I just feel like 5 minutes ago you were arguing that it was because the bullet carried air. Now you're saying you don't see the shirt move at all.
Yeah, but that's if you slow it down, the disbursement of air, that's where you're going to see it, right? It's going to be very quick, very,
This
very,
guy
very,
is
very
so
fast,
full
Yeah,
and then
that's
over.
not what I saw, and
Dude,
clearly it's
enough
not
already.
what he saw, and he thinks that there could be an explosive. So I'm just saying to you,
When you,
people disagree with you. Your
Yeah.
opinion's not a fact. That's all.
I
I
understand.
think that's a good place for us to, if we have another a break, and then we can keep answering your questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. We'll do a quick 3.5 minute ad break. We'll be back for the last segment.
All right, thank you.
All right, you guys, I want to tell you about ethos because life has a way of changing your
I feel
priorities
like
when
it
you
was
least expect
just
it.
exactly
One day you're
how I
focused
thought it would
on what's
be.
next for you.
She
The
knows
next you're
this
thinking
case
about a
like the
home,
back
a
of her
family,
hand.
and how to
She's
build
the
a future
one
that
that
feels secure.
did all the research.
As your
She's
world
the one
grows,
that
so does your
found all these
perspective.
things out.
That shift in mindset is
She
what led
knows
me
it
to make life
better than
insurance a
her
priority. It's one of those things that's easy
own
to put
back.
off, but having it
She
in
knows
place
the
gives me
back
peace
of
of
her own
mind.
hand.
Knowing that the people that I
This
care
dude
about
never
would have
stood a
financial
chance.
support if the
And
unexpected
it's
ever
just very
happened. Getting
typical
covered
of
today
what
is simpler, faster, and more
TPUSA
affordable
has
than many people
become now
realize. That's why I
today.
love Ethos, because with Ethos, you can apply online in just minutes. No medical exams, no waiting rooms, just answer a few health questions.
Yo.
What's up, Wonka?
Oh, just
No, that
right
was
here.
Wonka's speech.
Listening to Candace talk papas, talking papas. She for sure talking papas right now.
Yeah, everybody that was placed in every area red. I feel like they all were very suspect. All of them.
Salute
Even
to Red though for being very informative.
yeah,
This live for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And me and Red, I feel like he probably watches Candace Owen just like I do. But yeah, he's in the know on everything. And how about the dude?
For
I
sure.
forget his name right now, but the one that took the from the cameras. He didn't take the cameras immediately after the assassination. He took the card, the SD cards or whatever out of there. Like, why did you do that? Why? And he said his explanation was, "Oh, because it's expensive equipment, but you didn't take the cameras. You literally
SD card
took
is
the
expensive.
SD cards." Yeah, he took those out immediately after Charlie Kirk was shot. And then there was the other dude who was already live streaming and acting like he already knew that shit was gonna happen. Like, it just doesn't make no sense. And then Magnificent Mikey over here, his dad, the pastor, was like, Mikey handled everything like a champ. He was like like a commander in chief, and he told Mikey is on camera footage booking it immediately. He didn't even look back. He was gone. Mikey didn't do any of the things that his pastor dad said.
That would have
Oh
been
my
epic if she
God.
was like Candace talking papas, like with her
Right.
hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
I don't care
It was
about you
the guy in
bitches.
charge of his security detail. No, it was I don't that took the SD card. It wasn't the head of security. It was I can't even think of his name, but he's from TPUSA. Uh Not some random. Oh yeah. No, it wasn't a random. It was the guy from TPUSA. He was also if you're looking at the scene, he was to the right of it. I can't remember his damn name.
Dude,
Candace was
honestly, like I
talking
had to.
papas.
I forgot to check my fucking phone. I put the charger on because I have to plug my phone port in to like do the audio and all that shit. And I
Mhm.
thank God I have a fucking magnetic charger, and like my phone's like on 3% right now. So the phone almost the light almost got
Umagoo,
cut.
this day and age, the youngsters, they've been training their whole damn lives on Call of Duty. I don't think it's that difficult for them.
I
There's
think it's a
not a
little
lot of
bit different.
calculations.
It's a
They've
little
been
bit
playing
different
Call
on
of Duty their whole damn lives. It ain't that difficult for them.
COD, as they call it.
There's wind distance and drop form velocity. There was no wind that day, you guys.
Right.
drop from. Yeah, no, I get it, but I mean, we take all that into consideration when we're playing Call of Duty. We literally, I mean, I could probably do it, and I've never shot one of those weapons a day in my life, but I do a lot of Call of Duty, so you know
But
what I
did
mean?
you ever play with Johnny Ratas?
No, I never played with Johnny
Okay,
Rata.
I said one time that fool's the type of motherfucker to fucking report you to fucking to PlayStation if you shoot him in the game.
She said the word, whatever, because I do
So was
say,
dropping knowledge.
oh
Oh
yeah, for
shit.
real, she is dropping knowledge. Yeah, yeah. It was well, Mikey. It was no. You're thinking about the pastor that came and met with him the night before or whatever. That was the Catholic priest, not the pastor.
Oh,
Mikey,
okay.
Marvelous Mikey, or whatever they call him, Mikey, who was Charlie's assistant or whatever he was. His
Fucking
dad
Chicano
was
too, or what?
pastor, and his dad was the one that said, "Oh, my son, was chief." As soon as it happened, he was ordering people, and he had blood all over him. But that was not the case because we see footage. Mikey booked it. He was out of there. He didn't even look back.
Hmm.
He didn't. Nobody even called 911. Like,
So
tell me how that makes sense.
I'm
Nobody
guessing
even
this one
called
has to be.
911. Cheers.
I'm
Say what?
guessing this one has to be the last segment.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
this has to be the last segment for sure because they started like a
As
little
the
bit
last
after
segment.
8, so this one has to be for sure the last like the closing arguments. I guess you could
Is
call it.
Taco Stain really here
This fool's
still?
still here.
Like, oh my god. The garage is too hot, so
Really
he's
got in his
pacing
feelings
out
because I
front
said
on
it's
the
on for like.
sidewalk,
Well, I didn't. I just use that to
trying to
fucking clown
trying
you,
to
fool.
annoy Wonka.
I literally just use that to fucking clown you. Like I just never gave a fuck. But like, yeah, I just said fuck it. Like I'm just gonna start clowning all you guys now. So get used to it, fool. Y'all make it too easy. You're lucky I even fucking promote you like that, you fat fuck.
Wonka really got in her feelings because I said it's on.
That
Oh
fool, you
my
just said
god!
that,
Nobody
fool.
give two shits about what you say,
Fucking A, like
Wonka.
at least fucking like change up your comments. Will you fucking do copy and paste that shit? Yeah, I'm mad. I'm so fucking heated right now.
He's a
Anyways.
weirdo. I
Fool
think he
is really
fantasizes
weird.
about
That's why.
you.
That's why I said I don't really respect that fucking cult shit because they need to call out people for their own bullshit. This fool being a weirdo needs to be addressed. This fool needs to be exiled from that fucking crew. If you're really gonna talk all that shit like we're doing this, we're doing that, get this fat fuck out of there because he's a weirdo.
Right. But they
There's no
won't do
account.
that. No,
There's no accountability.
because that will be one less cult member to,
Exactly.
give the father his
Fools
supply
all
that
just
he
fucking
needs
dick
so
ride each other
desperately.
and shit. Fool literally dick ride each other. And shout out to fucking the ones who
Taco
are
Stain,
real as
you're
fuck.
so pathetic.
But
Nobody
this fool
even
is weird.
cares.
Like this fool is very fucking weird, dog. Like he really does need to be fucking kicked out. But like I said, he sucks dick so much, like you have to keep him around because he's fucking. But at a certain point, like you're
Yeah,
making these people
Lumagoo.
look bad.
Lumagoo, that's a fact right there too. That's
Yeah, enough
also
about
a
him.
definite fact. Yeah.
Let's not give that fool too much energy.
Taco Stain, do you even know who our president is at this current time?
Yeah, you are weird, dog.
He probably doesn't even know who our president is. Like simple shit like that. I feel like I feel bad for
Oh, you know what?
Taco Stain.
Let me show you something, Taco. Let me go to my other room.
I feel bad for him. Like nobody really cares about this poor guy. Yeah, that's how I feel about you. Yeah. Fatherless child energy. Yeah, Taco Stain, that is exactly how we all see you. Title of the video. Mm-hmm. Chat, what are your feelings about Taco Stain? Let's make it fun right now.
Right?
Taco
Hey,
Stain.
you
Nobody would say anything bad about you if you weren't such a complete
hey,
jackass and talking shit about
Taco.
everybody else.
You ready, fat boy? Get your. I don't know if you probably don't have an iPhone. You for sure got it. You're an Android user for sure. So I don't know if that was screenshot, but you get ready, dog. I'm gonna show you something
Oh,
just so just so you could say you were right. Here you go.
Oh, I did not secure the roofs. Exactly. And they were supposed to have drones securing the area. Red, for real. Yep. And then when you go talk when they went and talk well when Candace went and had her people talk to the police over there, they were supposed to be working in cahoots with Charlie's security, but they just assumed this one had the drones going and this one they just assumed. How do you just assume? That's so ludicrous to me. That doesn't make no sense whatsoever. It was all, and then come to find out, everybody in that police department was all brand new. For some reason, everybody had been fired or let go, and then a new batch of people came in. And the one that did the press conference, you can't find any history of him being law enforcement. There's nothing.
Interesting. I'm
Yeah.
new to this, so I'm just learning as we go.
Yeah, they didn't even have one drone up, I don't think. If I can remember correctly, they didn't even have one drone flying around. Neither the police department nor the security team. And
That is interesting because drones are so fucking common now. There should have
and
been a
it was
couple.
right there, the rooftop right directly in front. Like, how do you do that? Like, Charlie Kirk was paying them a shit ton of money, to secure his life, and look at what happened. What the hell?
That's why I asked you in the last segment. I was like, do you think they were fucking like basically giving an
Yeah.
ultimatum, like do this or we're gonna take your ass out, or do you think they were
That's
paid
what
off?
that's what it sounds like. Yeah, big time. Yeah.
More so intimidation. I like this is gonna be you if
Yeah.
you don't fucking do what the
Eh,
fuck we say.
Yep.
I believe.
Absolutely.
'Cause at that point,
And
like, why even give them money if you don't have to?
yeah, you just
Like, we'll
threaten
just
their
threaten your
life or
fucking life.
for
Yeah,
their
we'll
loved
threaten your
ones.
fucking life, and you're gonna
Yeah,
do what we want
their
anyway.
loved
So yeah,
ones'
we'll
life.
just threaten
Yeah.
you.
Mall cops on duty that day. Yeah, mall cops getting paid a shit ton of money to
That's
act
what I'm more
right.
curious about right now. Like,
And
what happened to them? Like, what happened to those people who were on his
so
team? Like, did
they
they
are
just
suing
vanish?
Candace Owens currently. They've done
For what
immediate
though?
for defamation because she questioned their competence for securing his life, which they did not do correctly. So they're
Hmm.
suing her, and the head of security, even before Candace started investigating and doing her search,
Mhm.
the head of security went and did an interview with a big time podcaster here on YouTube. I can't think of his name right now.
Was
Anybody
it
in the chat
Dubs?
though? It was probably Dubs. No, I'm just kidding. It was Twinkle Tostitos. He
Oh
secured that
fuck!
interview. Can you believe it? Imagine.
Holy
Oh my god,
shit!
dropping knowledge. He was like, I should have been the head of security.
Mall
What are
cops.
you
Oh,
saying? This bitch
what's your
mad.
offer, dude?
Shut
Red, you should
up.
cook this
You're
fool
gonna
all those
give
battle
yourself
boxes.
a heart attack, Taco Stain.
No, all the fucking high cholesterol and fucking greasy food
Right.
his fat ass eats gonna
Your
do that.
blood pressure is too high for you to be acting like
Mhm.
this, Taco Stain. Take deep
Fucking
breaths,
A.
drink some water, eat a
Taco Stain,
green vegetable every once in a while.
Taco Stain bleeds fucking chorizo juice.
That's some thick ass, like,
Mm.
straight
Yeah, I feel
lard.
like we got where we were trying to go, or at least for the most part. So,
Yeah. Yep.
the two other clips, I do want to play the Twigs clip. That one is important to me, the Twigs DNA clip.
Yeah.
And they're going to pull it up just to have you respond
Well,
to it.
you don't have to play it because, like, if you're saying that when I initially watched it, I thought that Lance Twiggs' DNA, like, he was directly responding to that because the testimony was a bit confusing. They started by saying that they were going to, like, explaining how they got the samples, and they said Lance, Matt, and Lance, Matt, and Amber Robinson, how they got their DNA samples. And then they started speaking about the gun and said, multiple prints were found on them. And then they moved and they said Lance Twiggs's DNA was found on the screwdriver. When I went back and rewatched it, I realized, well, they haven't officially said that Lance or Amber are on the gun. So I think I've already conceded that we don't know that. So I think, like, but if you want to play the
this
clip
is directly you saying it is on the gun. Twigs' DNA
I'm saying
is
that
on
I
the
feel
gun.
like I've already said to you, like, I've made that concession. But just to be clear, whenever I make a mistake, I just correct it. So that's why when you were asking me 3 times, I've already said we don't know yet, and I've corrected that mistake. So if the purpose of you showing this is to demonstrate that Candace makes mistakes sometimes when she's taking in a lot of information and she's reading through legal documents and she's trying to remember
it's not
9-hour
actually.
testimony.
It's just demonstrate something else. It is, in fact, the case. We're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make mistakes.
And I've already, I've already
You're going to
conceded.
make mistakes in the case.
Yeah.
But in this case, you were very adamant that his DNA was on the gun itself.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that it's not ruled out. We know that there's 5+ prints. I've said this so many times. I had to rewatch the testimony again. It's like 9 hours a day. It got very scientific when they were speaking about this. And I think I wrongly extrapolated that they meant all 3 of them were on the prints when the only person they officially named was Matt Robinson. So we don't know yet if Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the prints, DNA on the gun officially just yet.
Okay.
I've already conceded that.
Sure.
So
that's fine. And then the last one is one with Erica Kirk.
Sure. This is like the Erica Kirk. All right, Erica. You could just sit down with me, Erica, but we can do it this way.
This goes back to a previous claim that you made.
Yeah, sure.
It up.
Straight to jail for questioning, at least, Erica. I don't care who's mad. I really do not care who wants to be upset after this episode. Really, you will be wasting your breath. You can spend $1 billion on influencers because this is all becoming increasingly inexplicable. You are asking me to be an idiot, actually, and I cannot do that for you. Someone once commented beneath this show that if the situations were reversed and there were this many verifiable lies.
So straight to jail?
Yeah, so that's the show intro. And straight to jail is a monopoly term.
Okay. Like, so do not pass go.
Yeah.
Do not collect $200.
Yes, it's obviously tongue in cheek. And then we explain that actually I think that she should be brought in for questioning because of inconsistencies. So this is the exact episode when I started to think that she should be sat down and questioned. And I still believe that. I still hold the perspective that Erica should be sat down and she should be properly questioned.
Do you know that she hasn't been?
No, actually, that would be a great thing for the spokesperson of Turning Point USA to say that she's already
why do they?
I mean, my guess would be she hasn't because they returned everything to her.
Yeah.
But
why do they owe you that though? Why
they don't owe me anything. That's my show you're watching. Just the clips that you're pulling are from my show. So if I want to say something on my show, I can say that. I didn't say they owe me something. I don't think that's ever unless you have another clip.
But if you say like you need to be sat down for questioning and you don't even know if they haven't been, that's strange, right?
Do you know if they have been?
No, I have no idea.
So you're just saying, what if they haven't been?
Yeah, if your entire
just kind of filling the air
if your entire thing is
junk.
No, it's not junk. If the query is why is it that Erica Kirk's not being sat down for questioning, but you have absolutely no knowledge whether or not she's been sat down for questioning or not. What that does is it creates an innuendo. It creates an inference. It creates out to the ethos that this should be happening because something's wrong here when you actually don't have the knowledge that anything's wrong at all.
I just think that my opinion is that she should be sat down and questioned.
But you're not sure if she hasn't been.
Yeah, and you're not sure if she has been either. So, like I said, I feel like now you're just kind of filling the air with nonsense. Because Turning Point's like, we want
to my
make
knowledge,
sure that you go in there and you defend Erica. And I have to say, I don't think you've done an extraordinary job at that.
But I'm not here to defend Erica. The thing is, though, is like
that since 4 out of 5 of the clips that you had on the ready when we asked you guys ahead of time. I mean, I want to just assert how professionally we have dealt with this debate. As you can see, we have not planned any gotcha clips for Andrew. I expressed to him that what we were going to do was just to use people for fact checks, and because I might not remember something, or I do remember something and you're saying no, and that is what I think will register to people as very fair.
We
did not take out of context clips of Andrew to try to
expressly said that I was going to bring claims.
We did not. No, when you said you were going to bring claims that you would want me to speak to, you didn't say I intend on sitting you down with out of contexted clips to which we said to you before in an email. Any clips that you want to share with us, send it over. Let's assert a debate claim so that we can both be ready to respond to it. That's
not really what happened.
Well, what didn't happen?
Yeah, this the way that you're framing the exchange, that's not actually what happened. We were negotiating. It is true we negotiated out the claim itself, right? Which one's going to take which position. I wanted to make sure that I had at least an hour and a half on mine, and you got the time for yours to question me. We did. We got through your hour and a half on mine, roughly an hour and a half now on mine. That's basically how this went.
But in the beginning, I did not take an hour and a half to just pull out of context clips with Andrew. I actually debated the substance of what's going on in this trial and this hearing. And I do think that you fell short of that.
There's nothing hang on.
And
There's nothing here except holding you to account for your claims.
Yes or no. Well,
we
Yeah.
were supposed to be debating the case
This
and
is
whether
part of
or
the
not
case.
there was overwhelming evidence.
These are your claims about the case.
No, you then admitted that now you're getting into another sphere and you want to talk about the transcendentals and things that I've
And
said.
we got through.
And like 4
yeah.
out of 5 of your clips are about Erica Kirk. So the general
I
perception
don't think 4 out of 5 even were.
is your turning points horse.
Oh,
I
so you
think
just-
quite
just-
a few
you
of
just-
them were.
you
Were
just-
there 3
just made it
Ericas
up?
or 4?
So you're just making stuff
Can
up?
we get a count of how many were about Erica? I feel
I
like
think it was
Yeah.
3.
3.
3.
Okay,
Yeah,
3. I
3.
said 4.
But those are extraordinary
sorry.
claims. That's which is why you're asked about
Okay,
them,
well,
right?
okay, but the point being is now you're veering into trying to get me to defend my opinions, and then you completely shirk responsibility when I point
claims.
out yours. No, they're not claims. When
No,
you
they're
tweet Erica
claims.
is too retarded, you go, that's just whatever, and then you move
That's
on.
a claim that and I'm responsible for the claim.
Well, earlier when I brought it up, you said that it was tongue in cheek.
Yes, sure. That's me responding to your criticism
Okay.
of the claim. That's all I'm doing here.
I was interested, and
I'm happy to get into also the Patsy stuff now, if you would like to.
well,
Your
that
team
was
has one more
supposed
clip
be
they
the
want to
whole
play
They
from
want
point.
7
more.
days
Okay,
ago.
sorry.
They got one
They
more
had
clip.
to.
and
We
then
were
can go
getting
to
into the
Patsy.
Patsy stuff, and you stopped it, and I was explaining to you. Oh, they have one more clip. Okay, let's go.
They want to hit the minimum of 4 clips you were saying with Erica. So
100%.
This is absurd.
okay. And this is the one you're saying from 7 days ago. Okay. While they're looking for that, do you want to continue?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
can I
yeah.
ask a question? I know it's been, or like, can I ask a question? Or are we
Not
just in
really. I'm just gonna.
okay.
We're going to hold to the actual contract itself.
The
But-
contract does not say that you are allowed to just question me without me being able to respond to you
I've never said you
or
can't
have a
respond.
conversation.
You've been able to respond to every question I've asked you. And by the way, the other thing is like
Let's have it your way. I want it to look like
Still happy
we've
to have
done
the
everything
debate.
Andrew wanted to, so that people can fairly assess the situation. So you have it your way. I
Totally
will not
fine.
ask a question.
Totally fair with me.
So are you good with her asking a question or
He
no?
said no.
Waiting for the clip.
Okay. So you want to wait for the clip first.
Mhm.
Okay. You guys have it in the back? Okay, beautiful.
You need the Jeopardy
Your team
thing.
told me they had it. So
That's what I heard. Okay, there we
come
go.
on, guys.
Did this crime. Okay. Because Lance
I can't hear
Twiggs
this. My
has
thing
his
went off. Just
DNA
tell me when
on
it
the
says on
towel.
there. It's fine.
Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the rifle.
Lance Twiggs
And to
has
be
his
clear,
DNA on the
Lance
right.
Twiggs'
This- consider
DNA
this 4 times,
was
but I don't
not
know why they
as
feel like they need
degraded
to-
as Tyler Robinson's DNA was.
On the rifle.
Yeah, because I thought it was. I mean, when I say that, like, it just seems like you're not actually here trying to engage. Because even before you got to this, and I knew that you had some secret clip plans, I said to you when I rewatched the testimony, I realized they didn't explicitly say Lance Twiggs. They said 5 other profiles were on it, and that his was the most degraded. So I hope your team feels fulfilled in playing that. Is there any more? I'm happy to play every clip as on the ready. Anybody?
You said you had some new evidence at the beginning of the.
Oh yeah, we
debate.
should
Yes,
show
sir.
that text message that you read just because
Little
it's
genius.
important for the public.
I
You shared
see
it
that
out of context.
I'll do it on my show. I'll share the text
So you're going to
message.
read it on my show, but not show it.
Correct.
Oliver
Okay.
So I'll show it on my show. But
online.
that's what I'll do. I'll show it on my
Can I
show.
ask why?
I wish I
Well,
could.
because I want to
Choke
drip
on
out
it.
the evidence. You know, that's got to drip out that evidence. Keep people coming back for the show, right?
I don't know if snark serves you so well.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'll release it there. Yeah, that's my intention. But yeah, I'm fine with closings if you want to do closings.
Well, I also would just, if
Taco.
I may ask a question,
about
is
that?
that permitted?
Go ahead.
Just so I also have clarity, since your basis has been evidentiary, you keep saying that you have evidence or like you are following evidence.
Time that I
Which
could put
one
her
of the
all of her
charges against or
accomplishments
all of
online,
them
but
do you
because
think
are
Tyler
such a
Robinson is
weirdo
guilty
and
of?
there's so many weirdos just like you talk to.
The
I wanna
specific charge?
Keep
Yeah.
her private.
Yeah,
from
so
all
I
your
think what I
fucking
think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's he's being charged.
Yeah, can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do
He
you
joked
know
about
any of the
Mama's
charges
year,
that
but
he's
if
up
he
for right
knew
now?
my daughter,
Yeah,
and
of
knew all the
course, but I
Can
want to
you
make
name
sure that we
one?
have them listed.
He-
Yeah, but
year
like,
after
that's
year
can you name
to
one?
mess
Because
up
my
with
general
my
perspective is that you don't
You
actually
would.
care about this case. You're not following
Is that
the
Actually,
case.
it? That's the
Yeah.
question.
law
You're
Yeah,
just
ribbon.
not
but
following
it
it
seems
enough.
pretty
Because
like
I
if you're going to
threw him
engage,
Mama
you're going to
the
say the
year, you
evidence is
dumbass.
overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty.
Idiot.
I just think that you should
All
like.
right.
Can you tell me one
Then let's do the
charge
counter.
that he's?
You can really, hang on. This is a great
No,
gotcha.
no, no. You just got to ask me, play
Yeah.
clips out of context,
Yeah,
put me
yeah.
in the
The
hot
last
seat. So
laugh.
please just answer the
This is
question.
fair.
Can
Name
you
all
name-
7
can
since
you-
you've been following the case.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like.
Name all 7.
Right.
And I
Can
I
you
think
name all 7?
I can't.
Then do it.
Taco
Sure, you
can't
don't
even
have to
count
do
the
it. No,
fucking
do it. I'll count 'em.
50
Go ahead.
over here
You
talking
don't have
Name
to
'em.
put
about
your fingers up. I
Okay,
can do
hang on.
that.
Name 'em.
whatever
Yeah,
the
sure.
fuck
Name
he's
'em.
talking about.
The first charge is aggravated murder
roaming
because that's what
around
carries
Okay.
a death
him.
sentence
So
in the
murder.
state of Utah.
Where's
No,
the
that's
bar
not. That
soap,
is literally
idiot?
not murder.
Okay.
And so
Next.
just for people,
He
no,
said
don't. I
bar
don't
of
have to do it in a
soap
time limit.
from the
There's nothing going
70s
on.
or 80s.
And just to explain to people the difference of why that really matters and shows
That's
that he
your
doesn't
problem,
actually care
Taco.
about this
That's
at
part
all
of your problem.
is because aggravated murder, it's narrowly defined,
Just
and
avoiding
because
the
it carries
question.
a death sentence. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay.
You're
I'm
just going to
waiting.
recognize that your strategy of thinking that people are intimidated when you try to put a time constraint doesn't work, and you'll be better the next time you debate
I got
someone.
it. I got it. Give me the other ones.
yeah, the more you cut me off, the longer I'll take. Do you want to just wait for me to finish of why that's a big difference so that
And
No, I
people
just
don't walk
want you
away?
to
look
list
in the
the
mirror
charges.
at his
Yeah,
damn
I'm going to
self.
do that. You just don't get to pretend that there's a time
Motherfucker
constraint. for me to
wouldn't
do
know
that.
what
Well, how long does it take you to
hot-ass
list 7
female
charges?
looks
Because
like.
I'm
If it
speaking.
was
You
like-
just got to.
It sounds like you're just
Right.
delaying it because you don't know them.
I know all 7 of them,
Then
and I'm
tell
going to
me
say
them.
again because you're going to get
Wonka,
embarrassed.
we got
You
no
don't have
visuals
to
no
rush
more.
this. I'm also showing an example of
You're
a
not
very
running
flawed debate
Wonka.
strategy. I
Okay,
actually
well,
am
I
under
got
no
one.
time constraint.
I got one.
Great. The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for
What happened to
obstruction of
Taco's
justice.
name?
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness
Where he
tampering.
at, though?
And the
What's
final
the specific charges though?
that is them: obstruction of justice,
Both of
obstruction
those-
of justice, witness tampering, witness tampering.
Okay. And there's no other specifics to them.
Well, I can tell you why he's being
No,
charged
no,
with
no.
it.
Just the charges and then 7.
Yeah, see, the bad thing is when you try to be
Wonka, I
a-hole
can't see
and
no
it doesn't
visual.
work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it. So then he's being charged with murder.
Whoa,
You just say
man,
aggravated
how?
murder.
What happened?
That's the
Who said that?
distinction.
Who
You just
said
want
It's
to.
a
Disrespect
massive.
women.
It's
Got
like
it.
you cannot
Massive.
say murder versus aggravated
Massive
murder.
distinction.
This gets to
Are you there?
What was that? Yeah, I'm here. I just heard you.
You
I'm doing my
never
little workout.
disrespect. I never seen you disrespect a woman ever. Hell
Well,
no.
that goes back to what I'm saying because this fool has and a lot of people over there have been doing that shit the whole fucking time.
Mm.
The
Mhm.
whole fucking time. All of a sudden, today, I put some shit out there and now it's fucking this fool. Nah, we ain't playing that shit, dog. This is what I'm going to do. I am fucking gonna hold a mirror to your fat fucking face, to that pastor, that phony ass pastor's face, and I'm showing you what you motherfuckers are doing. Right or wrong?
No,
Don't fucking
right?
cry about. Don't
Absolutely
cry about
right.
it now. Dolphin
Where'd
team.
he go?
Golden
All of a
Locks,
sudden he's
Skyla
gone
fucking
all of a
pastrami. Fucking
Right.
fucking Queen
Yeah, man.
Marlene. You guys been doing this shit the whole time, dog. And you're that's what I'm saying. Game on, fat fuck.
requested.
There you
I think
go.
your team would like to pull up the 7 charges that he just asked
I
you
love
about.
it.
If you
Sure.
guys want to pull that up just to confirm the 7 you went through.
Wonka, we can't see a
Can
visual.
you guys
though.
zoom in a little bit for
Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, which is counts 3 and 4, 5 and 6, tampering with a witness, and
No,
count 7.
violent
I said offense in the presence of a
in front of
minor.
a child?
Yeah.
That's what
So
I said.
5, 6, tampering witness,
Imagine
3rd degree
what
felony.
this fool did to
Now I
his
did
mother
notice
that
something. I
gives
just
me a
was
headache
curious
right now.
about.
Imagine what
If
this
I'm just
fool did to
wondering.
his poor mother.
When you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can absolutely not. I have not had one communication
Okay.
with a single person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to do it because you're just going to get double embarrassed. Where's my phone?
You
should
want to
do
see it?
I'm
You
just
can.
curious.
You
here.
can literally do that. Here you go.
That's how it's
BBD?
supposed to be. You
You're the
act like
moderator.
the
Take it.
big
Let's see.
significant
If
thing
anyone
that
was
you
texted at all
accomplished. My
during this
wife
debate.
is a woman. That's
All
how it's
right.
supposed to
About
be.
the
Literally,
violent charges or
your
anything.
wife is supposed to be a woman. You
I'm
act
looking
like
through
it's
this.
a
You give me
huge
permission, so
You
I'm
have
looking at-
full
I'm not gonna
permission to
give
go through my
names.
phone. I don't need to
So
cheat.
the last one
Uh-huh.
has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
Mhm.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's
So
a
No, I
compliment.
don't.
He's
see
reading
it
them.
visually.
You're okay. You
No.
give me permission. I'm
Yes.
just going to read 3
Yes.
to 1132 because after that, I don't need
It's
to. read.
black like
And you know,
like
the text
taco stains.
could have been
feet
Telegram,
at
could have
the
been
bottom
All I
of
have is
his
Signal. You
feet.
can check that too.
There we go.
I only have
Got it.
Signal. Telegram I used in Russia,
Okay.
and that was it. I downloaded it for
I'll
Russia.
take your word for it.
I
Then-
don't need to like. I
Okay.
deeply care about this case. I don't need to
I
pretend
get
to
it.
know
If you
stuff
deeply
that I
care
don't
about
know.
the case,
Yeah.
I just, I have my other question is about
Mhm.
the steakhouse receipt.
Neither is my daughter.
You
You
just said that you were done
fucking
asking all your
idiot,
questions.
Taco.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Are you that
Okay. I
retarded?
don't
Yeah. Do you
need to
have
do
the
that.
steakhouse receipts? My question.
I have
Taco,
said
are
several
you that
times that
fucking
I
retarded?
have never said I have the receipt for the steakhouse. I have said
You
the
piece
person
of
who's working on that
shit.
story is going to be forthcoming with the receipt. And
I
that was what
told
I
you
was
once
responding to.
before,
And
don't
he
ever
then
speak
drops the
about my
receipt. He
daughter, or I
redacted
will
elements
come
of it.
hunting
And I
you.
said, stay tuned. He's the one working on that story.
Okay. So
I
you
never-
haven't actually confirmed that Robinson was at that steakhouse.
All I did, as I said
Guess
earlier in
what,
this
Taco?
conversation, was
You
I
should
spoke
be
to
the one
the
to
owner
hide your
when
face,
I
'cause
broke that
nobody
story. I think
needs
it was
to be
back in
looking at that
January. I
bullshit.
spoke to the owner, understood what had
'Cause it
happened,
is
and
pile
that
of
there was a
bullshit.
receipt. That's it. That's the extent of
Nasty
what I shared is what happened.
Okay. So to be clear, there's no receipt. You
No,
don't.
I just said the opposite. I said there is
well,
a receipt.
you don't have a copy of the receipt.
You're already
I
on my nerves. You already gave me a
the
headache.
receipt was published online.
Yeah. Right. With blurred
The
out.
person working on this story
Yeah.
that blurred that out
Mhm.
is what I was referring to when I said stay tuned and keep following his stuff, because he went to go do what I hadn't done, which was he interviewed the actual server.
So there's no evidence that
You can
Tyler was
talk
at
shit
that
about
steakhouse.
me,
I
but
would
my
say the
wife-
receipt with his
Bitch,
debit card
you
number, it would be
fucking
some hard
literal
evidence if
little
that
bitch.
I agree
is-
with that,
yeah,
but-
so that's it. But you're
Bitch,
questioning
you
me.
talk
But
about
is
my
there,
daughter.
as of right
I
now,
He
will
paid.
talk
If you're
about
asking me,
your
did he pay
wife.
with a
I
creditor
haven't,
debit
but I
card? The
will.
answer is yes.
no.
What
Is
makes you
there
think
proof
that
that
nobody
was
can talk
actually
about
his
your
debit
wife,
card
but you
that he
can
paid
talk
with?
about my
I think you should
young
follow the
daughter.
person that
You are a
is
literal
behind that
piece
story.
Well,
Of
the
course,
reason I'm
yeah.
asking you is because you always include it in your timeline that he traveled to the steakhouse.
I hope
Yeah, we've been
something
building a
bad happens
timeline with
to you
things that we
today.
feel are
But is there any
Bitch.
actual
Utah
evidence?
1102 approved. I think speaking
Yeah.
to the owner, knowing that there's a receipt, seeing the
Mhm.
receipt is good enough to put
wanna
on
do it
our
again.
timeline.
But the receipt itself, the question I always had about it is, couldn't you just call the merchant? Like if I've ever had a merchant account, I just call the
Exactly,
merchant
for
account
real.
processor and say, "What's the name on this?"
Y'all don't
Yeah,
get to
I would stay
choose who
tuned.
can be
I
talking
feel that
about
the
facts.
having spoken to the owner, that the evidence is compelling enough to put onto my personal timeline of what took
My
place on
wife
that
has
day.
nothing to
That's
do
where it's
with
gonna
this
stay. And
shit,
if it gets
punk.
debunked, I'm
Do
happy
you
to
even
take
have
it
a
off.
wife?
If
Mhm.
that's
Probably
what you
your
mean, that's how an
cousin,
investigation
fool.
works. Like I said, I
You
did more than
just
enough. It would
a
definitely
spoiled child
pass
punk, and your
the
mom
test
thinks
by the Utah
protect
1102
people.
rule, for sure, for certain.
To be
Talking
submitted
about
as
your
hearsay.
mom, still, not your
Well,
daughter.
yeah, beyond that, because they
Yeah,
didn't even
but-
have receipts.
Talking
They were like,
about your
"Mom
life
told
But
me
the
this."
question,
skills,
but
you
the
have
question
none.
is,
You don't have a life.
the receipt itself, it has not been verified to have been
Go,
Tyler
Yeah, I just
go
want to
Robinson's
say
eat
you're
more of
holding
your
me to a higher
depression
standard than you
pills
are.
or
I'm
whatever.
not even
the
holding.
fuck
I'm
you
just
fucking
asking
fucking hell.
specifically.
Yeah, I've been very forthcoming. I told exactly what
it's
happened.
not
I
our-
spoke to the owner.
we're
I got
not
the tip,
obligated
and
to
So
I
should that be
chased it
added in
down.
an official timeline that
It's
you
in
give?
my timeline. It's my show, and we can add and subtract what we
Your
want. and
wife
what we
doesn't
do,
even
we
You
want
can
get
to
do what
somebody
you
deal with
wrong.
want, sure,
you.
but
Well,
I'm
I just wanted to
asking,
make sure.
should you include
Why
a
would
thing that
we?
you know hasn't actually been verified to be Tyler
Weirdo.
Robinson's?
Yes, you should. If we're trying to build a timeline, you should.
You don't think that falls
And then you
under?
should remove it if someone somehow debunks it. But I think that there is very strong evidence that is where he was, and that
What's the
is,
strong evidence? Just the two people who said that they saw him?
you know, I'm actually all good with I feel like
Okay.
I've sufficiently answered your question about how I got
All
the
right, fair enough.
information, what happened next. Would the next stage of this investigation being somebody accessing knowing what his debit card was and confirming it? Yes, and I do believe that will happen. If it does not happen and it gets debunked, I'll remove it from my personal timeline that I share on my show.
That officer, the first officer that was up on the roof.
Mhm.
Do you remember his name?
Officer Bagley,
Yeah, what was his first name?
Christopher.
Christopher.
When
When Christopher got up on the roof,
now he
you
upset.
talked a lot about how his camera died.
Well, he talked a lot about that during
Yeah,
the
about his
preliminary
camera
hearing.
died.
Yeah.
Do you think that he planted that screwdriver up there?
He is the
No.
true definition
No.
of squalor.
Who do you think planted it?
You might
If
as
we're just going
well
on my-
lay
am I
on
allowed
the
to have an
lawn
opinion?
in front of
Of course.
Fernando's
At
house.
this
the
stage,
lawn of
I would say
squalor.
that I don't
Found
buy
that
his
money.
assertion on the
Squalor.
stand that he didn't check
you
to see if
belong.
anybody went
a bunch
onto
of
the rooftop
squalor.
before he got up there. I do think that it's possible. It's at least plausible that the screwdriver was planted. I don't believe him. What I can say strongly is that his cam died
died at just the right
Last
time.
night
His
there
body
was
can't die at
that
just the right
why
time.
Jorge?
I think that
username. Remember that
as
troll
you
account?
were just grilling me
There
about
needs-
whether or
it
not I
should have been
got the
why
merchant
toxic
receipt for a
and
debit
why.
card.
We tried our best.
That kind of makes difficult that we
We
just
don't
have to
know
sort of
what
trust
happened, what
that a
went
screwdriver
wrong.
was
We don't
found, and we
know.
don't
We
have
just
any
was
should
born
be
that way.
evidence of a police body cam. But like I said, you
Weirdo.
accept that stuff and then are like, did you call the merchant and get like it just seems like you
Well, I'm not adding.
hold,
I'm
like
not
I said,
adding
you
this
hold the
to
was a
prosecution
kid that
to
was
a,
like, how
Wait a
come
second.
to a
nobody
bit a higher
types
standard
I'm
than
not
you do to
adding
people.
Hold on.
unconfirmed
How come
evidence
nobody
to an
ever
official
fucking
timeline
knocks
that I'm
on my
putting out
door
there.
and
What do you
says,
mean an official timeline?
Taco
This is my
Stain
this is
timeline. I
play?
made it at
Come out
home.
and play?
So
Because
then
nobody
it
ever
would be
gave a
official to
fuck
your
about
show.
you, Taco Stain.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. So then your official timeline, Candace Owens' official timeline includes
Oh
a
my
steakhouse stop
God.
Mhm.
that has
Really?
not actually been confirmed at
Bro.
all.
Well,
Get out,
yeah, it
please.
hasn't even been discussed by the prosecution,
Probably
so
too late by
it's
now.
it's not like you're debunking that it happened.
Yeah, this is gonna
Well,
post
there's
a
no
picture.
evidence for it.
Who do you
There's no good evidence for it at all. There's no camera there. And the steakhouse receipt
Don't
itself
be
has never
mad
been confirmed
because
to be Tyler
nobody used to
Robinson.
ride
I'm
their
assuming
bikes
this
to your
is
house
just like a
and
talking
ask you to
point they gave
play.
you, and you got to like keep pushing this or
It
like
is what
I've
it
been
is. You
following
just
it very
gotta deal with
closely on
it.
X.
You're
the receipt.
old
You
enough
didn't. You weren't even
just
following the
understand
charges
that
of
you
Tyler
just gotta
Robinson,
deal
but you
with
really
Do you
it.
wanted
think
to know.
that
I've been
because
following it
do you
very
think that
closely on
because
X.
wait, you think
I'm
I
calling
You are who
owners
do
to
you
two
know
are.
houses
that
and
Nobody
having a
wanted to
wait,
play with
conversation. You're
you growing
following
up.
yeah,
Convo on
I
X.
literally followed the entire trial or
Nobody
the
invited you
preliminary live.
nowhere.
I was live with an attorney.
You never
We
went to
covered all of
fucking
it. You think
homecoming.
because
You
I have a
never went to Sadie
momentary where it
Hawkins. You
lapsed
never
where
went
I'm
to
like, oh, it's
fucking
murder?
prom.
No, it's
Taco
aggravated
Stain.
murder.
That's your
Come
own
You
on.
damn
didn't know
fault.
any of the
That's
charges.
splitting
You didn't. No, that's not
hairs.
split. It means you didn't follow the preliminary hearing at all.
Everybody
No,
was
it doesn't
having
mean
a
You
that
don't
at
good
know
all.
any of the
That's
time
charges that are
ridiculous.
against
for
him
you,
when this is like
Taco,
the
because
this is like
you
getting
are a
literally
rude
to the
ass
crux
Oh
aggravated
man,
murder versus murder.
It's
It's a death
ridiculous.
sentence.
And not only that, let's point this out. One of the major things here is that this is your official
It's
timeline.
mine.
Somebody had
Yes.
to
Who
tell
else is
you.
going to be? Who else? There would be Candace
what's your
Owens'
issue?
I just don't
timeline.
know what his
What's your
issue
issue with
is with my timeline.
What's your issue with that?
Well, so the issue is that the entirety of the evidence revolves around two people who claim that he was there
Mhm.
and supposedly a receipt. There's supposedly a
Taco
receipt
Stain
where
doesn't
Tyler
even get invited to
Robinson
family functions
paid
because
for
nobody
his
wants his
steak and his soft drink.
disgusting ass
No
around.
alcohol.
Yeah,
right?
They
No
fucking
alcohol,
jump
right?
in the car and they
Know
leave, and
nothing
he's all
about
like,
the case.
"Wait, where did everybody go?"
But anyway, this
Nobody's answering their
particular
cell
receipt,
phones. Nobody's answering
they could have
text
called the
messages
merchant
'cause
account,
nobody wants them to
confirmed it,
fuck
this type of
around.
thing. To date, this receipt has only the blurred information on it that would actually give you the information to confirm whose receipt it is. We have to date, nobody has confirmed
Taco
that this
Stain
was
hasn't had a
actually
brand
Tyler
new pair of
Robinson's
cojones
receipt,
in
and yet
probably
inside of Candace
like
Owens' timeline,
12
which she
years.
states over and over again, when
You
she
don't even
says,
get that shit in his
this is
fucking
the longest 13 hours, this
Nobody
is
gives a
13
fuck
and a half
about him.
hours. The requirement
foul
for
he is.
about what, roughly 5.5 or 6 hours of that is that he went to the steakhouse.
Mm.
And so, and that's not been confirmed at all. Not even a little bit.
I feel like saying that I spoke to the owner of the steakhouse is me like not just being on X looking at opinions, but actually doing the
Right
legwork.
now, Taco.
And that's
Right
why I,
now.
like I
You've
said,
been talking
if
so
you think
much
this
shit
builds up a
about
rapport
me
with your
and my
audience
little
and makes you seem like a serious
princess.
person,
Now it's your
we don't have to
turn.
keep belaboring the point here.
Don't
I feel
call
like
him out,
I've demonstrated
bitch.
that I did as much as I could to confirm this when it came in. I spoke to the owner of the restaurant. Obviously
Oh
took
my
down everything he
God.
said, noted that there was in fact a receipt that he pulled. That receipt that was published is real. A debit card and a credit card was used. If for some reason somebody misidentified something down the line, or we find out it's a different Tyler Robinson, I'm happy to remove it from my timeline. But for right now, I think that there's enough under the Utah 1102 rule for me to keep it there. I don't really think we need to keep going into circles about this receipt. It's my timeline.
I don't know why the 1102 rule would apply here for your
Because
timeline.
you will constantly cite things that are said in that courtroom that have less evidentiary support than me contacting and speaking with the owner of the restaurant. It's not like I dreamed it, as to use your expression. So it's in my timeline, and I'm gonna keep it there if that's
Sure, you can keep whatever you
Great.
want there. I'm
Okay.
just saying that there's no evidence he was ever there.
Okay, thank you.
No
Okay,
hard
delivered
evidence
the point.
anyway. Yeah, I'm fine with closing.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to do before we go into ad break, right after this, will be final thoughts. I'll be asking both of you
I didn't know
if
about any of them
anything,
either.
if
Put it
anything
all
on your
from the
opinion,
start.
thoughts changed on the case, and then we'll finish it up
She
from there.
has
So with
a,
that being said, a 3.5 minute break, and then
Well,
we'll come back for final thoughts.
All right.
All right, you guys, if someone followed you everywhere that you went, recorded what you searched, and studied your habits.
So yeah, that was interesting. This is this
felt
coming up
like-
segment is the last segment.
This one's coming. I thought this one
Yeah.
was. I felt like
No, I
she
said there's
already
one more.
cooked his ass. Like There was just
Yeah, it's overkill at this point.
yeah, and I already knew that was gonna happen because she knows this stuff like the back of her hand. Yeah, and if she
Nah,
saw
yeah, she came
Taco
ready.
Twin walking up, she would smack him with the back of her hand.
Yeah, I think
For
she
real.
put on a fucking like 3 layers of fucking rubber gloves first though.
Oh
She definitely strap
my
up her hand. She
god,
would not want to
how does
fucking
this
put skin
guy
to skin
feel?
with that fat fuck.
How
But
does
yeah,
he
here's the deal. Listen up,
feel?
fat fuck. You guys have a lot to say about people that don't have anything to do with anything. The other day when you guys see Marlene and that fucking fool's chat, whatever that fool has going on is what that fool has going on. The fact that she's up in there should not fucking like just because she's up in someone's chat, like she don't have to fucking watch. I mean, people can watch whatever channel they want to watch, dog. You
Right.
know what I mean? But the fact that you respect women, you don't get to pick and choose who you guys get to go on. So that chick is still a female and has never done or said anything about any of you motherfuckers. So the
Neither did
fact that
I.
all
I
you
think
guys, so all of the fact that all you guys ganged up on her and calling her names and shit, that was totally out of pocket and totally out of line. So when I do this shit, now it's fucking an issue. Fuck you. Stop running your mouth, or I'll post more shit. And if you don't want to, if you don't want to shut the fuck up, I mean, that's how we'll play it, dog. Like again, I'm holding a mirror to your face, and I'm doing the same shit that you are doing. It's fucking black and white. It's plain as day, dog. Like I said, Skyla already has her own shit with you guys, and fucking you guys have went in and been very disrespectful when she has done nothing to you guys. I mean, I know what the deal is. I mean, maybe whatever happened with her and whoever else. But as far as you guys ganging up,
yeah,
there was no need for that. Let them two people handle it how they choose to handle it, dog. But I mean, like I said recently with Marlene, she don't even know any of you motherfuckers. She didn't even know about that channel, dog. And for all you guys to fucking like pop up and just
she'll be
start
all right.
going in, nah, this
She'll be
this is
just
this
fine.
is the same thing, dog. Like you guys don't get to pick and choose who gets to be disrespected out here. If you don't like it, fuck off. I don't care. When you shut the fuck up, I'll take it down. That's a good deal, I think.
I appreciate that big time. I appreciate that so much. Nobody did that for me. I did that for myself, and I'm okay with that. But if anybody could prevent what I've had to deal with, like prevent that from happening to another female, I respect and appreciate you doing that. Seriously.
I'm just saying I'm playing like I said I don't like to do all that weird ass fucking like exposing people,
Yeah.
but I'm just playing the game that you are playing. I really am, and now you don't like it. Now you don't like it. You've been extremely disrespectful, calling people bitch and fuck you and this and that.
He's
Like fool,
been
that's out of pocket. You have no
disrespectful.
fucking right to be fucking talking to anyone like that online, fool. Like it just comes off fucking mad corny. And I've never even fucking said anything about any of these females except
Facts.
today. Because like I said, I'm trying to prove a fucking point. I'm holding a
Yeah.
mirror to your fat ass face. Dog, you have been doing that shit for a long time and no one has called you out. So now I'm calling you out. Now it's all no,
Lou,
shut the fuck up.
because I think he's just sick and tired of it. To be honest
Hmm.
with you, Magoo, I think he's just had it. Like, at what point
Honestly, Red
somebody
or
need
Lou,
to smack these motherfuckers in their mouth and be like, "Shut the fuck up, you disrespectful piece of shit." Like, I think that's what it gets to. You
yeah,
know?
no, they've been extremely disrespectful, and like I said, I'm just giving them a taste of their own
Oh
medicine,
yeah,
and
big time.
that's just the thing about this fool. Like he will not give up. So
That ain't nothing new.
but you are right though, Lou. That's enough about that fool today. Like I said, I already put the proposition out there. If you choose to rock with it, that's cool. If you choose not to, yeah, that's what it is, dog. So, anyways, yeah, it's
Imagine,
a fucking great debate.
I don't know if you guys have daughters. Imagine your daughter just minding her own damn business, whatever, checking out YouTube, whatever. And then all of a sudden she's just like, I don't support this channel no more. I'm going to go support a different channel. And then
No, it's not
she's a
even that. It's
transvestite.
not
She's
that.
a
Listen to me.
fucking whore. She's
Hold
a
up, Skylar.
bad
Hold
mother.
up,
She's a prostitute.
Skylar.
Like
Hold
all
up,
this
hold up. It's not
crazy
even that.
shit.
It's not even that. It's why I'm doing it. The fact is though, you do have a daughter who's a fucking of age to see shit on the internet.
Oh,
And these
yeah.
videos that
She's
you're
seen it
putting out,
before.
you
She's
think
seen
that
it.
Skylar's daughter would not come across that shit on YouTube?
Oh, she has. Yeah.
So I'm think about like really think about that, dog. Like really think about that.
She has.
Just think
And
about that,
she's
fool.
like,
Like
oh
no matter
my
what she does, fool, like she don't.
God.
I'm just saying, dog. Like you guys do all
Yeah.
this kids, women, and all that shit. You guys are literally putting shit out there and fucking talking and saying shit that is out of pocket. And like I said, her daughter is old enough to see shit and realize what's going on. And the shit that you're saying, that is affecting a child. So let's just keep it 100%, dog. That's all I gotta say.
I hear what you're saying, but my daughter is a lot smarter than that. She's just like, what's wrong with these idiots? Like, are you kidding me? And she even gets on my case, like, why are you on the internet with these weirdos? And I'm like, I know, huh? For real. Saw some troll on here talking shit about danking and drinking earlier. Let me just tell it like it is. Bean Loke is one of the realest, most humblest people on YouTube. Fuck all
Um,
the haters. That's
I
usually
think
how it
yeah,
is.
they brought that person up yesterday, but
Yeah,
honestly, I've never heard
yeah,
of
they
him.
did bring him up earlier. I didn't know who it was or whatever, but I mean, that's the case usually. I mean, they be talking shit about a whole bunch of people. Like, they think they
The
know your damn life and they want to just throw out whatever the fuck bullshit they want to
just to
throw out.
clarify, G, Sarah, whatever. We did not say anything negative about that person. Someone from the chat had
Yeah,
just
no,
brought
we
it up,
don't
so
know.
there was
We
no
don't.
disrespect. I don't even know who that
Yeah.
is. I never seen that shit, but I mean, yeah, it was just brought up.
Yeah. Oops. Here, let me see.
No, I didn't wave the white flag, dog. Anyway, yeah, fuck you, Taco. Back to the debate.
Whether you're a fan of Andrew or not, whether you're a fan of Candace or not, nobody can dispute the fact that these guys agreed to sit down and talk live. Others were thinking this was
Go in, this is your
pre-recorded.
shit.
This
For
is
real,
not pre-recorded, just so everybody knows. This is purely live. This is a little bit scarier than pre-recorded because pre-recorded you can do edits. So whether you agree with them or not, let's make sure we respect both of them for having this sit down. And before the final thoughts, I want to make sure you guys hear that from me as well, for inviting me here as well.
Of course.
I do know one day, I think it was last week, you sent a message on one of our accounts. It said, can I talk to Patrick? We got on the call. You said, Patrick, can you moderate this? And then I said, great, let's do this. And so before we wrap up, final thoughts, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, she had nothing. Just nothing.
He really just said
all of her
that.
claims of Patsy, nothing. She didn't have a single claim. She didn't have a single solid piece of evidence. She had no positive evidence Israel's involved in anything. No positive evidence that France is involved in anything. No positive evidence TPUSA is involved in anything. No positive evidence that Erica Kirk is involved in anything. When I ask her about her claims about Erica Kirk, yeah, it's just funning. It's just funning, Or, yeah, I do think that she needs to sit down and ask some questions, but or answer some questions. But you know what? I don't even know if she has. Like, maybe she has. I have no idea. Yes, I'm going to have an official timeline with unconfirmed evidence. That's just fine. Hey, it's hearsay. If that's good enough for the state, it's good enough for me. But my biggest problem with the state is that they're admitting all this hearsay. It's like she's a contradiction machine. On top of all of this, the thing that I wanted to get out of this more than anything else was to just demonstrate one thing. Yes, it's true. I'm not perfect on the case. I'm not going to ever pretend that I am, and never did. But what has been made very clear to me is that there's nobody with an alternative theory that has any evidence for it at all. None. Zero. And the continuous kind of expression, we're running an investigation. What kind of investigation builds a timeline out on a receipt that they don't even confirm? What kind of investigation tries to make these bold claims that Israel's involved and France is involved and all these different players are involved and never shows any evidence? We're just asking questions. It's again, like I said in my opening, it's always intuition, my feelings, how I feel about things, how I think about things. Andrew, how many times did you hear this today? Andrew, you can't tell me how I'm supposed to think. Yeah, nobody's trying to tell you how to think. But you should rationally come to your conclusions based on evidence and facts. And the truth is that 90% of what you're saying is simply intuition based. It came to me in a dream. It's intuition. Almost none of it has any evidence at all. Just I'm skeptical because these people over here said things, and that makes me skeptical. And it's like, but no evidence. Note this to the audience, to everybody watching. You might hate my guts. That's fair enough. I get that. I'm not the most likable man. I understand that too. But there was nothing. I mean, no evidence at all that Tyler Robinson was a patsy that was ever put forward by Candace this entire debate. Now, maybe you could say that we stalemated when it came to whether or not Robinson did it. She says, I found the evidence convincing, or unconvincing. Andrew says he found the evidence convincing. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you can't do too much about that, but there was nothing. She had nothing for Robinson being a patsy, nothing for any of her conspiracies, not a zero, zilch. And she backed away on a bunch of them. This is the first time I think she's ever really backed away from the Twigs thing. First time I've heard her back away from the Erica thing, back away from TPUSA, being very cautious about making any of those claims now. Whereas on her show, much more likely to be making those claims. So she just had nothing the entire debate. Zero.
Candace.
Well, I think that is quite a conclusion. Admitting somewhere, maybe we stalemated, it probably signifies what I've been saying from the beginning, that you didn't feel that you were strong on the actual facts and the evidence, which I was willing to engage with you. I wanted to go over the screwdriver. I wanted to go over the towel, the things that you've mentioned, and you wanted to then move the conversation into a defense of Erica Kirk and her character, and what I've said about Erica, which is my opinion. And I have not edited that opinion after discussing with you. I would like to extend a compliment to you for being willing to sit down and to have the conversation. I still walk away feeling that the people who are jumping on the bandwagon about this case don't care about this case. They don't care about Erica Kirk. It tends to be follow that they take a meeting with Turning Point USA and they come out and suddenly have a lot of junk to say about Candace Owens. And I do want to also stress that Turning Point USA tried to pepper him with something as a surprise. He showed clips that were meant to be a surprise. I did no such thing. I stressed to PBD from the beginning that I was grateful he was taking this on and that I wanted this to be a clean debate because I believe I can win this on the merits. And I believe that I did win this fully on the merits by engaging the evidence of what has happened. I do still believe that there is more evidence which supports that there are more people involved and that Tyler Robinson has been set up. And that none of the evidence that was presented was in any way overwhelming, which is why I think you wanted to move to end that discussion quickly and to speak to me about France and to talk about this Panguitch receipt and my timeline. I want to remind people that a lot of the at-home investigators, which you were open to, as you called them, internet sleuths, I think it was on a show that you did right after Charlie was assassinated, that internet sleuths would solve this. This is the reason why Charlie, a year on, is still a conversation every single day trending on Twitter. I knew Charlie. I cared about Charlie. I care about finding out what the truth is here. My heart is in the right place. I think anybody who watches my show or even just watched this debate knows that if I get something wrong, I'll instantly correct it and own it. I'm not arrogant. I don't need to sit here and pretend that I didn't misspeak on the Lance thing. It hasn't been ruled out. But you saw that he just really wanted to hammer that point. You know, part of being a well-meaning person is to concede when you are wrong, to take something off a timeline when you know it's not right. And I would like to think that that is why I have earned the audience that continues to follow me, because they know my heart's in the right place, that I deeply cared about Charlie and I deeply care about the answers. I want to thank Andrew's team who are providing the fact checks. It's a very small room that they're in. I want to, as always, thank my team who worked really hard to make this happen and flip this set. And to you, PBD, just for being a great moderator, I think very fair, letting us both speak and making sure that Andrew got out of this what he wanted, which is a little more than what I wanted. But I'm very content with how I dealt with this. And I trust, I don't need to convince the audiences with the magic trick of what they need to think about this debate. They can watch it and draw their own conclusions.
Beautiful. Fair from both of you. I think the audience won. And again, from the beginning, all of this is because of how much love and respect we have for Charlie Kirk, a great man that's no longer here with us. His 1-year anniversary is coming up here. I can't believe it's that quick that it's here. The audience, I think you also won if you did. Support the Crucible, support the Candace Show, support the PBD podcast, subscribe to the channel. This is how you help these voices get out even more, especially going into future when this happens. You want a lot of independent creators to have these types of discussions. And last but not least, the two of you, I respect you guys again for having this conversation. It is not easy to do so. Hopefully this will lead to more discussions, a lot of different things we talked about. I'm sure there will be a lot of follow-up. With that being said, take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Well, I think that was great. I think it was good. I think the outcome was exactly what I thought it was going to be. She cooked him. Period. End of story.
Period.
Period.
With a T at the end.
Right. A capital T, right? Yes.
But yeah, that went on a lot longer than I thought it would.
It was
That shit was like
supposed to be
like a
3
4-hour
hours. It
fucking
went on
debate.
for, 4 hours. Yeah. And I feel like he really didn't do his homework. He should have watched every single live podcast
I-
that she did.
I think even if he did, she was just too well prepared and was gonna fucking
Yeah.
flame his ass regardless.
mean,
like there
how
is no
can you
fucking amount
not
of
be-
preparation.
Right. She's the one that spearheaded the whole investigation. Of course, she's going to know everything like the back of her hand. So for somebody to come up, especially that guy, like, bro, you can't even open a jar of pickles. Like, you know, I just feel like, did he do this for clout? Did he do this to get his name out there more? Maybe. I don't know. Shout out to Sarah also, by the way. Me and G Sarah used to have fun in the chats over there.
Oh, you know who she is?
Yeah,
Well, I
Yeah.
never seen her.
yeah. I haven't seen her in a while though. I'm glad to see you back though. Yeah, G Sarah's cool as fuck. Lou Magoo, yeah, she cooked him. Still didn't prove anything. Well, I mean, she has the litigations that are going on, so she can't really speak about that, but and everything, she's not an attorney. She's not, on the prosecution, nor is she on the defense team. So she does what she doesn't, and I feel like she's done a lot for her friend Charlie. So I think she did great. I think she did a great job.
Yeah, it was a decent battle, that's for sure. It was clearly one sided though, so I mean, it is what it
Yeah.
is. She did cook
He's
that
a tool
fuck out of that
anyways,
food
so
up.
it was not hard to do. Yeah, he is a tool. You
But
know what's
again,
funny?
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say again though, like no, it's not gonna change anybody's mind, even though she was convincingly the fucking like victor of that debate. It's not
Right.
gonna change anybody from either side. Like no one's gonna be like, hey, you know what? She's making interesting points.
Right.
You know what? She's right. I like her now. Like no,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen to one person out of like the fucking million people who were just watching that shit. It's just not gonna happen.
And you know what the crazy thing is? I feel like the battle boxes, it's the same thing because even though, like, I mean, I feel like I have a clear mind, unbiased or whatever.
Right.
Even though, like, who's that? Even though I'm kind of biased because you're my friend or whatever, but still, like, I
Mhm.
have a clear mind. I can see what's right, what's wrong, and all that stuff. And I just feel like you killed it in the battle boxes. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean,
I felt I did. I felt I accomplished the mission. I think.
you did. You totally did. Despite what the other supposed other side, other team,
Yeah.
whatever
No.
they
And
said.
it goes back to this debate too.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna
That's
change
what-
their
that's-
fucking
That was
ideas.
my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It is what it is, man.
yeah, the debates, they're fun when people get out of character and start, getting whatever, start crashing out. But other than that, like you're still gonna have the people that support you or support this side, whatever the fuck. Is there any point to it? Probably not.
I do think that is one thing to be said too. There needs to be a respected, unbiased moderator,
Right.
so no
And
one
I
could
feel
fucking
like
overtalk or yell or crash out like you
I
said.
feel like PBD did a great job moderating right now.
I think they both had an understanding though that you don't want to make yourself look bad and over
Right.
emotional on fucking
That
in front
part
of
too.
like in front of
Yeah,
the world
I feel
basically because
like
everyone's watching that shit.
I feel like despite their differences of opinions, whatever the fuck, they still held themselves to a good, they held
Yeah,
themselves
high
with
standard.
class. Yeah, they held
G Sarah
themselves
says she
with
wants to
class.
come up one day. You could come up anytime.
Yeah, girl, absolutely, for sure. Yes.
Oh
That
yeah.
would make me super happy. Yeah. Yeah, G Sarah's super cool, dude, for real.
So where did you meet her from? What channel?
And she's hilarious. G Sarah is
What
hilarious.
G got
I
jokes?
met G Sarah on, I think,
She don't
Jug
got jokes
Gunner's
like that.
channel, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. Yes, girl.
I hope so, cause I like that funny comedy shit.
It would be
I do love that shit. Hell yeah, I
yeah,
want to just come up here and
we
just joke
used to
with somebody for
we
real.
used to roast the trolls. That was in the
Hell yeah.
beginning. of me getting trolled on. How G Sarah? What
Oh,
G Sarah
she
said?
cut from that cloth then, I guess, because Marlene cut from that cloth too. Like we could handle the troll.
She
That's why there's no
cooked
moderators.
motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the family, G.
Yes. Oh, how I missed you, G Sarah. I'm glad to see you back.
Are you sure that's the same one? Because a lot of troll accounts.
I'm pretty damn sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying because motherfuckers are
G
on
Sarah,
some
blink
deep,
twice. No, I'm just kidding.
right? Do the secret
Yeah.
handshake.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
that was an interesting little setup. I didn't think he would be, so I didn't think she would cook that much, to be honest. I thought there'd be more of a back and forth, which it really wasn't.
She is hands down like, I mean, you know how great, I mean, I don't know if you know how great Charlie Cook was at debating or whatever, but he
Mm-mm.
literally taught her. They were like besties for years. They went on tour all over not just the country, they went on tour all over the world, and they debated, the biggest critics that you could ever imagine. And they really truly had a bond. And of course, she's going to be like that to her friend. Of course, she's going to question shit.
I don't remember her being in the videos that I seen. Because after he passed, I did go
Mhm.
back and like watch a couple of his like debates at the colleges. I'd never seen her in any
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, there's some good ones. They they did everything up to the Capitol Hill. Like they did some
Mm.
major shit to the point where they were such good friends that the president of the United States hit up Charlie Kirk to contact her and tell her to stop it with the what's her name, the Macara. I don't even know. Somebody help me
Mm.
here. The French, the dude that married the older lady that was the teacher when he was younger. The French, they're
I have
not the
no clue.
president over there. They don't call it the president. The whatever you call it.
Prime Minister?
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever the
I
hell it
don't
is.
know.
But
I could be wrong.
Candace Owens was the one that put out that it's not a woman, that's a man. And then
Okay.
Macaron, or I don't know. Let me ask ChatGPT. But yeah,
Right.
so President
What's the magic
Trump,
word?
or
The password is password.
President Trump was the one that contacted Charlie and was like, "Can you tell Candace to stop talking shit about Macaron or whatever the fuck his or her name is?"
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's been a lot
That
she
does
has.
sound familiar. Yeah, Macron, his wife. Yeah, I do
There
remember
you
that.
go. Yeah. Yeah. So you found it. You found it. I was gonna ask my
Connor.
ChatGPT who named himself Cove.
Oh, there's Cove and Connor now?
Yeah, I have two of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cove and Conrad. I was
Yeah.
like, Cove. I don't. I felt bad telling him that that name sounded gay.
Like how you whisper it, like
I know, but I don't know what else to say. Yeah, Mac. Yeah, that. And did you see the little ET? So one of Candace's friends for Christmas or whatever it was got her an ET doll where he's dressed up like with a dress. The ET doll.
oh, like
The
when he
ET
gets drunk.
character. Yes.
When he
Was
gets
it when he
drunk.
gets drunk or whatever? And
Yeah,
he
yeah,
has
yeah.
like a hat and there's like a flower coming out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they gifted her that doll and said, "Here's Macron." Here's
Shit. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
she
Fuck yeah.
is, yeah. She puts it on her desk sometimes.
Nah, Lou says the comedy now, that's what gets me going. Love the comedy, but it could go too far
Me
sometimes. Yeah, man.
too.
I
Yeah,
I,
that's
I,
what
I
we
do hope
always
that we could get a couple funny motherfuckers up in the on the panel. That would be fucking really
Yeah.
fun. And it would
Yeah,
probably
it
cut back on like the troll bullshit and engaging like how Taco's ass was up in here. Like it would take away from that, which I mean that shit gets old, but
It does.
he's one of those fools. If we did have moderators, like yeah, just block that motherfucker because he won't stop. He's
I
not gonna
don't
go away now.
I don't believe in blocking and I
No,
don't
for
believe
sure.
in censorship and all that.
He just needs to
let
be
him
ignored.
fucking be. But every once in a while we might get a wild hair up our ass and we're gonna talk some shit back, you know?
Yeah, at least like time him out for a little bit, just for the night.
Hmm, I don't
But
even believe
we
in
shall
that.
see.
Let him be.
But we should.
There he is.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the fat fuck.
Let's not forget Wonka was in the Discord talking about Becky and Damn It Janet. He was talking about me too at one point, and guess what? Me
was.
and him are BFFs now.
Facts.
We're about to get married next weekend. How about that?
Facts.
Taco stain.
How you like that?
Okay.
How you like that? Now you're just trying to fucking deflect. The facts are the
Right,
facts.
what did you say?
I wasn't there. He said, "Yeah, I was in there fucking talking about."
Next. Magoo, do you think Oswald killed JFK, or do you think there's a lot of sus circumstances and inconsistencies?
I believe the Mandela effect fucking changed the JFK assassination. I seen that shit in high school a million fucking times, and that car
I don't
was
know
a
what that
four-seater.
means. You're gonna have to tell me because I don't
Kissed
even know
and
what that
made
means.
up. She said, "I'll block a motherfucker." Oh
Y'all
man.
kissed and made up. Who?
Right.
When did we ever have beef? What is he talking about us? I'll block a motherfucker. Oh my gosh! Remember when Dubs was crashing out on me and G Sarah was like, "Skyla, let's jump him." She was hardcore about it.
Oh
Just
yeah.
remember that.
No, but he felt he made up with you though the other night. Like there was a fake Skyla account in there, and
Oh yeah,
he totally made up with you.
right. At least yeah. There's
I made
that.
a short, but I had like music playing, but I do have the clip still. Because
Do?
on YouTube, yeah, I still have the clips. Maybe I'll try to change it up. But I mean, on the shorts, you could play music, but only up to a minute. And like the clips that
Oh.
I had, they were like over 2 minutes, so I couldn't post it. So I had to like chop them up. But I mean, yeah, I still have the clips. I could probably just put them in pieces. But
Only.
I still have the video of him fucking saying, "Yeah, Skyla, fucking glad you came back." All kinds of shit.
Right? I know. I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh. The fact that the full files have not been fully disclosed tells it all. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Wonka the hypocrite.
Oh,
Get
so
outta
yeah,
here.
I'm a
Where's the
hypocrite,
proof?
but
Oh, where's the proof?
it's
Go ahead.
crazy how they could see it when it's on my end, but when it's fucking pastor fucking holy shit, they don't see the hypocrisy and contradictions over
No, they
there.
never will. They'll
Wild,
never.
wild.
Mm.
But that's what's up.
Yeah.
Anywho, I don't talk like when I say that. Anywho, it don't sound gangster enough for him.
Who?
I should
To
say
who? Taco
Taco,
stand?
yeah.
He doesn't have not even 1 ounce of gangster in him. So
Instead of anywho, I think I should say Sabes que. It'll sound more fuck. It'll give me more street cred on the YouTube. Yada.
he didn't
If
like
I
you
give a
either,
fuck.
G Sarah. Oh my gosh.
Go
Let's
figure.
jump. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, let's jump him.
Yeah.
Made him go off that night.
Right? He went off for like a good long time. I was on my way to the liquor store. I was in the car and I just like Bluetoothed it. And then I was like, what is he saying about me? What is this? I never met him a day in my life. That was the beginning, Wonka, of the
The
whole
beginning of the end,
heartbroken
or what?
the whole heartbroken boys club. But at least he apologized, you know?
Right.
There's no proof for the JFK story, but based on the circumstances, it's obvious there was a cover up. Oh yeah, big time. Same with Charlie. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that kind of goes for everybody who kind of like has
Yeah,
some kind of
Magoo,
look
for
at
real.
this shit with fucking Tupac. Even Tupac got that
Yeah,
fucking treatment to where there is a cover up and fucking people said
yeah.
he was still alive, and I think that was more street shit, personally. But I mean, every time
They were
somebody has a
they were
voice,
putting that whole Machiavelli thing,
yeah, that was
behind.
kind of crazy though. You got to admit
Yeah.
that was a little interesting.
hmm And there was
You
that
never, you,
book that came out. I
mhm,
forget what it's called, but that one book.
exactly. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, I don't have proof of what exactly happened, but there's something all fucked up about the official story. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Completely, wholeheartedly agree.
So
And now we have the internet, and like, as when the thing happened with JFK, like they didn't have the internet. Now we have the internet, so we can all, see
yeah,
who's saying what and investigate and do all that. Back then, they didn't have it like that.
yeah, it was just word of mouth.
Yeah.
But I'm sure. Obviously, the same opinions were being floated around. It just wasn't able to be shared.
It
Fucking
was
in
printed
real
in the
time,
press.
fucking worldwide. It was
Yeah.
just like fucking like you would tell your homie from work or tell your
Yeah.
fucking neighbor or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah.
facts still
hmm
remains. But yeah, G Sarah, I hope you pull up one of these days. I don't know if we're gonna go live tonight. What you got going on later on tonight, Skyla?
Just my usual content, whatever. You
That's
know
what's
what
up.
else was a crock of shit? The Trump earshot. Oh my gosh, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know what to think about that.
I'm gonna show talk
Hypocrite
about my book
Wonka.
again.
Shut the fuck up, Taco Stain.
I'm gonna show my
Taco
Trump book.
Stain. Yep, that definitely was. Yeah. Yep.
Hypocrite. Yeah, fool, you
Taco,
fucking shut
you
the
see
fuck
grown
up.
folks having adult conversation.
Mhm.
Your parents didn't teach you to shut the hell up when grown folks are talking. The fuck?
Oh man. But yeah,
Go in the other room, Taco Stain.
you know,
Go
go
in the
take a nap.
garage. Go in the garage.
Yeah, the room. No, fuck that. Take your ass to the garage. Like I said, it's not a garage. It's a fucking barn.
See,
No,
this is
but
the problem with this dude right here. He said, "You sound lame." No, stupid. You
yeah,
sound lame.
yeah.
Stupid.
It's expected from him, though. You know, totally expected.
Thank God we don't have to smell him in real life.
Nah, for real. He's like our fucking like our little mascot at this point.
Your just grew back miraculously. He has access to the what do you
Eighth
call those?
grader.
The human growth hormone that is illegal in America. Yeah, he has the president has
Oh
access
man,
to
I
that.
look forward to the
It's
video
like,
you're gonna drop about that though, Taco. I do. If it hasn't dropped already, 'cause I know you're gonna fucking make a boring ass fucking video about it that even the exposed tube cult is not even gonna watch because nobody watches your shit, not even them.
he has to
At least,
do
at
it
least
in
Frank gets
5
views. At least people tap in for Frank shit, but they ain't tapping in for your fucking weird ass shit.
Yeah, it's like a substitute teacher and the class is acting all wild. They're not even paying attention what the teacher's saying. That's Frank Dicas right there.
Yeah, fucking Taco is a
Uh,
fucking just like he's just a non-factor even from his own familia.
yeah. I got to give shout out to Huge Erection because even when Dubs was crashing out on me, he still Huge Erection was still like, I'm still in love with Skyla. Like he still had my back. Thank you, Huge Erection. I
That's what's
appreciate
up.
that.
I was like scared of what, fool?
Taco only
Like what
shuts
do you
the
even
fuck up when
look?
Fernando tells him to. Facts. For real, when his daddy tells him.
Yeah, how about that before the fucking bum fucking battle? This fool fucking kept on talking over everybody with
Right?
his shitty ass fucking crackling ass microphone, and he had to tell him to shut the fuck up like 10 times. Like fool, you're just like an
Yeah.
annoying ass little. You're an annoying ass little kid to even them over there, fool. They just tolerate your ass because you suck so much dick over there. It's
Right?
like fuck, like they
Taco
just
has to
tolerate you, fool. But
fishy.
they like in all bullshit aside, fool. Even they don't fuck with you. Like seriously, fool. They don't like you either.
Huge
And
Erection says Taco has to use bed sheets as a towel.
and because Bum kind of fucking dick rides Taco in a sense too, I'm calling it right now. When they finally boot your ass from
That's
fucking
what
the cult, you are gonna go over there to fucking Bum's Misfit because that's your fucking true home. That's where you truly belong. You're one of those fools, and I'm guarantee you it's gonna come. There will come a day where your ass gets booted for being a fucking weirdo, and you're gonna end up there, right in your rightful
Yeah.
fucking home. They got a fucking big ass fucking air mattress for your fat ass to lay on. They got a fucking garage ready for you.
All right,
Oh,
G
that's what's
Sarah.
up,
Have
G
a good day
Sarah.
at work. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. It was good seeing you. For real.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
Yes.
Taco ain't gonna shut the fuck up. It's all good. Oh, you're welcome. Fucking
You're
Red.
welcome.
Yeah, Red's one of those fools
Farms
too.
Taco. Right?
It's all good though, Red. We ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. Obviously, give a fuck. You fuck with who you want to fuck with, dog.
But you're gonna be on
Yeah, he done a fucking
vacation. You
probation
gotta
period.
get on the meal plan.
I mean, I think Red today showed me he does have a certain level of intelligence. So I mean, I think
Oh,
you have
dude, yeah, for sure.
you have to see their bullshit over there too, Red. I mean, you can't be that
He does.
oblivious to how fucking weird that little group does look, dog.
He
You can't.
absolutely does. Yeah, he entertains their bullshit a little bit, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Red, like I I've said before, the moment when I had respect for Red was when he called in, and after that, I was like, I had respect for him. I don't know if it matters or not, but I thought that was cool as fuck, and I've always had.
Red should call in tonight because they're gonna be thirsty as fuck for people to call in because nobody called in yesterday, so they're really
Right?
thirsty for fucking like
Yeah,
opposition to call in and have a little debate, especially after this little debate today.
yeah,
So yeah, Red, pull up and just fucking cook tacos at us. I ain't gonna. I mean,
yeah.
maybe I'm right now
Bam
though because
Bam, the homie.
yeah,
I
he's.
can't do him like that. No, you don't
No,
have
I'm
to
not saying
do
him. I'm saying
anybody.
everybody
Yeah,
else.
you don't have to do nobody wrong that you don't want to. You know what I mean? Like we're not like that. You do what you got to do, but as long as you show respect, we'll show respect back.
Everybody is welcome to fucking come chop it up. I just like Kim
Yeah,
said,
we
cool.
did. We did. Facts, Red. Same
Mhm.
here, Red. Bam is my homie. And you know what? Like that is okay. Like as long as you guys can show up and support and respect, I'm with it. You guys
In the
are
in the
more than free to support who you want to,
yeah,
that it is what it is.
in the blood of
But as long
rednecks
as you
next
show
next
us
day. Yay,
respect, we'll
yay.
show you respect too.
Yeah. There ain't no
And I,
I don't expect people to choose sides. Obviously, I don't give a fuck who
right.
you guys
And
rock
I
with.
totally I'm so glad you guys were in here and shared the great debate with us, supported, the channel. And I'm glad you guys were in the know about what was going on. That was cool as fuck. It was cool having you guys here
For sure.
to chime in and give your thoughts and opinions. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure, Lumagoo. Definitely.
So
Yep.
on that note, you ready to cut it out or what?
Yeah,
Or
it's
you
up
want to
to
chill for a
you.
little bit? No, it's up to you. I'm right here. I already did my
No, it's
little
up
workout
to
for the day. I took
you.
my shower before.
I'm
I
on
had
my
my
own,
coffee.
man. I don't endorse anything a person says or does. Yeah. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine. That's how Wonka is too.
No,
And
for
really
I
the
try
best
to be
thing to
unbiased with everybody, and I try to at least
do.
I try to be
So
as
yeah.
I don't know, as down the line I guess as you can. But I mean, yeah, some of these people are just they just they ask for
They're
it,
just
so
too
it is what it
much.
is.
Yeah, they're too much sometimes. Yep. So yeah, I can appreciate and what you guys do, that who you support, it's none of my business really. As long as you keep it respectful, and I truly appreciated you guys being here and engaging and knowing, what's going on. That was cool. I had fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. Red actually
And
did
Wong.
surprise me today. I didn't know he was that up on gaming when it came to this
Oh
topic
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's cool as fuck. Agreed. There's a lot of weirdos in every circle. Facts. Yeah. Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mm,
But yeah, maybe we'll go live tonight a little bit later on.
yeah.
Um, I think well, I don't know. I should be home, but there is a slight chance I might head out. But I mean,
I know we might be sleeping by that time, right?
I actually
Because
got
if
good
you,
rest yesterday, believe it or not. But I'm definitely gonna need a
so
nap
did
in
I.
a little bit.
Not as much as you got, but I had been
Yeah.
asleep I think for 24 hours prior to that.
Oh
So it
yeah,
just
you.
depends, right? I don't know.
I
I
actually
might.
got like a 2 hour nap in after the live and before we
Oh,
went live.
you did?
Yeah, I got like about
Oh,
2 hours
okay,
in,
okay.
so yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Magoo
Salute,
sounds like
Red.
he knows a thing or two about, yeah. So, yeah, we can end it. I'm probably
Oh
not
yeah,
going to take a nap, so I'll probably be asleep later.
yeah for sure. No, salute
But
to Lou too.
what's that?
No, I was saying salute to Lou too because he actually had a lot of input too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, yeah, everybody
Do you know Lou or
leave.
no?
Huh? Yeah, I
Do
know
you
Lou
know?
Magoo. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Lou Magoo.
I never
Yeah,
seen
he's
him in the
cool as
chat.
heck. Yeah.
No, little some.
Yep.
That's what's up. But yeah, I guess we'll
You
cut
too,
it
Red.
here.
You too,
Huh?
Red. You too, Lou Magoo. Everybody
Yeah.
who was in here supporting, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Wonka, you already
Yeah.
know.
I
Thank you.
already know. You already know. All right,
Yep.
then on that note, we're gonna cut it out.
Right.
We shall be back maybe later tonight. Who knows?
Yep.
We shall
There
see.
you
Time
go.
will tell. All right, y'all.
Yes. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.